What was this?
Oh, there's a fly. There's a
fly.
Okay. We are live. All right, so we're gonna have a dope podcast for you. We got the gang back together. We got Kevin, Denton, i.e. Karisma King, and Kyla, i.e. NotsoErudite. And today we're gonna do something new. So we're gonna have an open debate panel. So we're gonna open up the panel. Anyone can come on and debate anyone on this panel, right? And we'll try to keep it fair. It won't be like a 4-on-1. We'll try to make sure that everyone gets equal speaking time. But we actually, before that starts, we have a Blackpiller. This is Muktaw Dictionary's friend. I debated him in the past, who emailed me, and he wants to come on. So he's going to come on in 10 minutes, and then he's going to debate me, and I guess everyone else on the panel. It's going to be fun. But first, let's get pumped up by listening to my not-so-new trailer. How do you feel about big dicks? We got Sarah J on the casting couch.
Yes.
She's never done this before.
You are allowed to have sex with other girls, but she's not. Fuck that shit.
What are some of the biggest mistakes you personally
Shoulder fuckers.
Boom. We are back. I think that was your first time seeing my trailer, Kyla.
It was. That was amazing.
I know, right?
That's exciting.
Some dude in I think Hungary did it for like $200. Like the cheapest fucking service ever over there. But yeah.
Are you making like a fresh and fit? You're having like Miami girls on and stuff like that?
Yeah, but with some differences. One, I don't seek out the most ratchet bimbos. Two, I don't kick them out. Three, I don't try to get them drunk beforehand. Four,
they don't do that anymore. Ever. Yeah, not at all.
Four, I generally try to be respectful to people that come into my house. So yeah, there's some key differences like that, but okay, cool. So yeah, so I think we're gonna have a really fun discussion today. It's been a while since I did debate actually, because I've been doing all the speed dating stuff. So what I was telling you, Denton, before is what's been really cool is that there's some guys who've been like, I've been doing the speed dating thing for about a month, and there's some guys who come on every single time I do it, and I've actually been able to see their transformation. Like one of the guys was just like stuttering and so awkward in the beginning. He was like, he was just like freezing up and having a panic attack. But like by the last one or the second to last one, he's actually like, I wouldn't say his game is great, but he's like actually solid now, where the girls are like, yeah, I would go on a second date with him. So that's been really, really cool to see.
Denton, you're muted. You're muted.
You're playing the trailer, and I don't have my headsets on right now. I was really impressed with the guys that that have never done this for a living and just decided to put their face out there like that. Like those guys are really fucking brave. Like those guys are really fucking cool for doing that. Like no complaints from me. That's really cool.
You know what kind of sucked? You know what kind of sucked last night? So there's this guy. He did pretty good, I guess, or whatever. And then he decided to play like a celebratory song, and then he played that song for 10 seconds. I got copyright struck.
Oh my gosh!
Rough
for 10 seconds.
10 seconds, bro. I didn't even know what song it was.
That's pretty fucking gangster of the guy to do. He just planned that out too.
Yeah, that was a fucking douchey move of him. Fuck, I mean, he didn't know, to be fair, but like, I'm like, fuck. But so it's all good. But yeah, I think this. Let's kind of Kevin. Let's explain to Kyla and Denton who this person is. So the context is me and Kevin debated them. This guy named Scribe and his buddy Muktaw Dictionary on their channel. And then we were supposed to do a part 2 debate, which was agreed upon beforehand on my channel. And then they just bitched out last second, and he just kept making excuses after excuse. He was like, oh, well, why don't you come on my channel again? I'm like, dude, we already went on your channel. Why don't you come on my channel? And he just like bitched out, had like he fucking spurred out. He didn't want to do it. So it was really interesting when I got an email from his friend saying he wants to come on my channel and do the debate.
Yeah, it is. And so this is Scribe, right? So in Scribe's defense, he's not the one that, because we were back and forth with Muktaw Dictionary. We weren't in contact with Scribe. So as far as we know, maybe Scribe was totally down to do it. And then MD, for some reason, didn't want, Again, I'm gonna try to not be ad hominy and stuff, but let's say something came up. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and then he couldn't do it. There's no implication there that Scribe maybe didn't want to have a discussion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't blame people for their friends.
Yeah,
I don't think that's fair, even though people constantly do it to me. But yeah,
yeah. What are his general beliefs? Just black pill stuff?
Yeah, he believes like game. I mean, I'll get him to explain his positions again, but he believes game doesn't exist. It's all looks. You and I, Denton, were complete frauds that were probably faking our whole lifestyle because you and I are average-looking guys, so we're not banging chicks. There's no fucking way. Kevin, forget about Kevin. Kevin is actually not even a real person. He's a hologram. So there's no way Kevin could exist. Erudite, she's like she's a bot. She actually lives in Thailand. We paid for her to come on and validate us. She's not a real person. She's actually a hardcore feminist. Yeah, like
I did get double vaccinated, so I am a bot, according to some.
double.
I know. Bot.
Total bot.
Bot.
Total bot move.
Double.
You know that's how they control you, right?
Yeah, that's why I got it.
Yeah.
I can live life on easy mode now.
Wow.
Kyle,
So you just want to get taken care of by the Matrix, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Kyle, if you had to pick between being blue pill or red pill, which one would you pick?
I haven't seen all of the Matrix movies, so I in the movie itself, or are you asking like dating strat?
Dating strategies.
I think overall I still lean a little bit more blue pill, but yeah, still more blue pill.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
It's because she's part of the gynocentric social order.
Oh yeah, you're part of the
That's why.
gynocentric female order. You guys actually run the world. In case you didn't know, Kyla.
Yeah.
Good. It's time.
Even if you don't think you're part of it, you're still a part of it because you're female.
Kyla,
It's part of the innate female solipsism. You want to get it.
The reason I'm not successful in my life is because of you and women like you who keep me down. I'm just a up and coming white male, and I'm trying to make it in life, but I can't make it with all these women keeping me down. So,
how many subs do you have on YouTube again?
It's an irrelevant question.
Okay. Yeah.
Why are you so against men's rights, Erudite? Why do you keep upholding the gynocentric social order?
See,
you know
I'm
you're
not
doing
against
it too.
everyone having rights. I'm ready for the AI overlords, okay? I want the AI overlords to come in. I want them to take over. No human rights, just AIs telling us what to do. I'm ready.
This should be fun. I actually want dog to take over. I want my dog to be in charge. My dog's big on like fucking sleeping and doing nothing all day. This would be what would be life like if my dog was in charge of the world.
Be hungry too. No one would provide.
Yeah.
Better have him in charge than the bots, which Erudite clearly is in favor of.
I am a bot. Mm-hmm. I am.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Here's my thing. The red pill, blue pill question is a fucking great ass question, though. I think that's something you can make a video about, like an entire panel, red versus blue. Which one's better?
Well.
Go ahead.
Well, it's like, how do you define? Because the red pill is a combination of differing ideas. So it's like, I think the red pill is synonymous with a Rolo pill. So it's basically just the shit that Rolo pulls out of his ass. But if the red pill is about the truth, then I think everyone's like, yeah, I want the truth. But it's not really. It's just their version of the truth, which is mainly based on Rolo's version of the truth. So it's like, what is actually the red pill? It's a combination of different ideologies. It's like, which one? I agree with some red pill shit, but there's a lot of things that they also get wrong.
And also just think about how arrogant that statement is to be like, oh, I'm the red pill. I am the truth. Like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, it's no wonder that guys within the red pill, they adopt the moniker of red pill, which is supposed to be synonymous with the truth. And they start to develop some sort of God complex, and I think a lot of these problems within the manosphere will be ameliorated or could be ameliorated if they actually just like studied some philosophy. They don't need to become some nerd about it, but even just knowing the difference between, let's say, descriptive claims, prescriptive claims, the is-ought distinction, just little things like that. The red pill wouldn't be so cringe if that was the case, but yeah, whatever. I'm of the position though that, because I used to just like shit on red pillars, I think instead, because I used to be very much like part of the red pill thing. I think it's just part of being a young man in his 20s for a lot of guys. I think it's more just like a phase, so just kind of let them go through their phase and then hopefully they get out of it. Hopefully they don't adopt too toxic of mindsets while they're in that stage. I think that's the best to hope for, rather than just fighting against the red pill all the time. Yeah.
It's healthy at a certain point, but if you get locked into it and stuck in it, it's fucking unhealthy massively. I think the only thing that sucks about the red pill is the fact that one, they don't focus on solution orientation. They're also really negative towards women. There's a lot of anger towards women, which I don't like, which is why blue pill is also a little bit enticing because it's more, I think, emotionally freeing and liberating because you're coming from you're slightly a little bit more delusional, but in the delusion, you're also a lot more of a positive entity, a better person to be around up front. A red pillar, like a lot of the guys that, like what you mentioned, people get into like pickup, they get into red pill, they get into all this different stuff because they want to have this like false sense of superiority. And so they get into this and like, I know this shit and they don't. Look at all these other fucking losers. It's like the Neo the Matrix. I'm Neo. I found a way out of the Matrix. These other fucking losers are still in the Matrix, which I think is the wrong way of looking at it. That's just so if you're getting into this stuff, to like absorb the content and not actually improve, and to feel narcissistic or some kind of narcissistic high. Yeah, it's good at a certain level, but you definitely have to grow past it and use it for growth instead of stagnation.
Yo, your local curry cell, are you going to come on for the debate? This is the perfect time for you to talk shit. Yeah, you know what I think is cringe? I think it's really cringe when these communities try to exclude girls or discourage girls. Like, we don't want girls in this community. Like, the whole point is to like understand what women want, but you're like, don't want women to come in. Like, I think that just gets super cringe. There he is. Yo, what up, buddy?
Yo, what's going on?
How you doing?
Doing good, man.
That's so interesting seeing MD's logo and then seeing you. I guess do you guys like share the channel now or something? Or
just
what?
represent. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much doing the channel more. He's doing other stuff, and that was the reason why he couldn't. We couldn't do the other stuff because we're in the middle of. He was in the middle of writing a book and all this other shit. So it wasn't any bitching out or anything like that. If that was the case, I wouldn't be here. So.
Well, okay, Scribe. I'm gonna push back on that. We were supposed to do, and I'm not going to blame this on you because I don't think you're responsible for your friend's actions, but to say that there was no bitching out is just not true. We were supposed to do a 2-part debate. We agreed on that. The first part, I, in good faith, agreed to do on his channel. The next one was supposed to be the next week. And then when I was trying to confirm for that, he just kept like basically flaking. And then what he said was, oh, well, why don't you come on my channel again? So he kept trying to get me to go on his channel instead of holding up his end of the bargain coming on mine. And then, which makes me think that he's a massive pussy who doesn't want to debate without a home field.
Well, I wouldn't say again. I mean, I'm not gonna. The fact I'm here, we're going to talk about that. I didn't want to get into any of that stuff because that was out of my control. I mean, I didn't know exactly what went on. I was in the middle of some shit too. I mean, even that debate night, I was out, with a girl and came back later. I wasn't even know if I was going to make it in time, so I wasn't like involved in any of that stuff. So I don't know exactly what went on.
No, look, that's fair. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Like, we can't blame you for that. So
yeah,
past is the past. You're here now, which is what matters.
Yeah, it's like there's no reason to even worry about them. We're here to talk about the game and shit. I mean, he might even come on, later in the show. So there's no, bad feelings or any of that bullshit. So I mean,
I would love to see him come on. I don't think he's going to, but I would be totally in favor of that. Okay, fair enough. We can get into. I do think he slandered me majorly on some streams, but fair enough.
He did say that you guys blocked some channels or you did some strikes or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know the whole story, but you did, your roommate or whatever. They said somebody, your roommate, I guess he got mad and he started trying to, report it on YouTube, whatever. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's not exactly what happened. My roommate copyright struck one channel and then I apologized for it. And I offered that person that we will pay for his StreamYard premium membership so that so he can get that video back. We apologized. We retracted it. It was a mistake. But no, that's not the problem. That's not the thing I had a problem with. He made two basically claims that I remember. One is that I sexually assault girls, and two is that I'm buying subs, which I think are pretty crazy claims to make with zero evidence. So I don't know. I just found that pretty shitty.
Well, I mean, it's not too far off to think if a channel looks inflated, then, there's something probably going on there. But again, that's not why we're here to talk about. We can, that's water under the bridge type of thing. I'm not even, again, I wasn't really involved in all that stuff. So I'm just secondhand information I'm going by. But
why do you say my channel is inflated?
Well, you have to go by, over 100,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah, I've been on YouTube for like 4 years, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Bulldog's got he changed his name of his channel. That's what happened. He had over 200,000, and he's got much less than from what I see you're getting. But I'm just, again, this is not a debate about if your channel's inflated or anything like that. So it just appears to be a little on the lower end. So people could make assumptions. Well, maybe it could be this or that, whatever. I mean, again, I'm not.
I don't know. I mean, if you take a look at the analytics for the what's that website that does it? There's a free website. You can see that my channel. Yeah, Social Blade. My channel has grown by about 100 subscribers every single day for like 4 years. So like a channel's inflated when you see a big jump in subs. Like anyone who wants to do the basic amount of research can see that my channel has just like very steadily been growing by about 100.
No, I'm just talking about user retention. User retention as in if you have 100,000 subs, you should be getting around 50. If it's a really good user retention, you have really good content. It usually stays. Because MD's channel, Smash TV, only the 4,000 subs, and we still get about as many people watching as you do. So there's definitely some inflation going on there. If we had 100,000 subs, we'd have a lot more people watching.
Also not have loyal viewers.
Yeah, live viewers on a live stream doesn't mean that your channel doesn't have an audience. My videos get routinely about 10,000.
Well, again, this goes back to user retention. You want to debate the analytics? We're just going.
All right, let's forget about this. Let's debate about. Hold on.
Wait, hang on.
The moderator's coming in. Let's debate about the Blackpiller. This is like running in circles.
My channel has been inflated. I don't know. Like we can.
It's all right, Alex. It's okay. If the content is not up to par and you're not getting the numbers you want, it's all right. You don't have to get mad over it, and it's cool.
It's like one step above being like my dad can beat up your dad. Like let's talk about
Blackpiller. Yo, your channel is inflated, but we can move past it. But you're probably lying, but you're not really lying. I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
I'm not going to judge. I'm just looking at the numbers, bro. I mean, dude. I mean, it's not. There's no reason to get all bent out of shape over that. I mean, it's all right.
Do I look like I'm getting bent out of shape?
Yeah, you're getting a little bit emotional about it. It's cool. Don't worry. I'm not here to talk about that.
That's a nice gaslighting attempt, but no, I don't think so.
Well, I'm trying to move on, and it's like you keep on trying to bring this shit back. So it's like, okay, cool.
Well, because you keep echoing the talking point. You're like, well, it's a little inflated, but okay.
I'm just going by the metrics, man. It's like the metrics. The metrics don't lie, man.
I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking.
I never said that. I'm just saying you don't hold user retention properly for the amount of people you have. That's what I'm saying.
So my channel's inflated, so I'm probably buying subs, right? That's the assumption.
Oh, well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's, it could be the content's not up to par or whatever, or you're doing something else. I don't know. I haven't studied. I mean, I could go and review your site. I actually have expertise in that particular market where I know how to, analyze channels and websites and see where the traffic's flowing, how many people are actually, all that bullshit. So I'm not here to do that. Again, I'm not really worried about that. It's not my place to even care about that. I'm just here to represent, Smash TV and see if we can carry on with these debates to get more, to the truth of what's going on with men and why, sexual inflation so messed up and all the rest of it.
Okay, so let's just get down to it then. So yeah, Alex, I guess you can intro it. That's fine.
Well, let's start off by clarifying your position. So you don't believe game exists, is that correct?
I don't believe game exists as a tool for men to attract a woman that is obviously out of his league, or there's something that he could possibly do. Like in your case, I know you like to use, your dog as a extra ingredient to where when you meet women, what a cute dog, whatever. I mean, I just see it as if you have to use all these extra tricks. You got to have the gold chain, you got to have the nice car or whatever to build that illusion of being that man when you're not really that guy. You're just kind of posing and saying, well, I'm this and that, and I hope she likes me. It's like that might work for the first day, but if you even get her interested, she's going to see the real you. It's like, why would you do that to yourself? It's like, why would you pretend? And that's what they want to call a game. And I'm saying that is a desperate attempt, a sad attempt. And any woman, we have a woman on the stream tonight, and I can ask her, any guy that's trying too hard to get to her and he knows that she's not attracted to him, but forces it anyway and tries to pull all these, rabbits out of the bag or whatever to make her change her mind, it's just not going to work. I mean,
I don't think bringing your dog out with you when you go out is part of game. That's just something I do. So let's clarify this. So are you saying that you don't think I could get girls if it wasn't for my dog? Is that the claim? Or
I'm saying that you reek of desperation, and women can easily sense this, especially if you're out there waiting for a woman to walk out the store. I did see with some of your infields, and I got to say I was a little bit shocked, and I thought it was going to be at least somewhat mutual, but you're kind of like following these girls into the store, and you're waiting outside with the dog, waiting for her to buy her stuff and come out, and then like kind of just jump on her right when she comes out. It's like that's not
Wait, what infield are you talking about where I'm following the girl?
Dude, you have an infield. There was an infield that I saw. That's one of the first ones. I only saw that one. All the other ones I didn't really care. But basically, you had the dog and the chick went into the store. You're waiting for her to come out, and then when she got out, you tried to throw your game or whatever, and obviously she was leaving, not in the not in a position to even be looking for that. But that was your intent, and she knew that. She sensed that.
I don't think this infield exists. Let's pull it up. I want to see what you're talking about.
Well, it's the one where you're waiting outside the store with the dog, and then the second one's your roommate goes up to this chick, and she's sitting down, minding her own business, and he walks up.
Scribe, can you pull it up? I want to see what you're talking about.
Can I pull it up? I mean, you've done this so many times that you can't even remember which one what.
No, because it doesn't exist. There's no infield where I'm waiting outside the store, waiting for a chick. So I want to see if you can actually. Pull it up.
I even did a review on that. I was going to use it on Patreon, but I never did it. But
okay, so you should have no problem finding it.
I mean, we can pull that up. I mean, it'll take me a little time to go back because that was several months ago. But that's when
because it doesn't exist. There's no infield where I'm waiting outside the store for the girl. Just try to find it.
You really want to show that right now?
Yeah, because you're pulling that straight out of your ass.
I'm pulling that straight out of my ass, dude. I made a video about it. We can play the video.
Okay, play the video.
What does Denson want to say? What?
Play the video. I want to see the video.
Play the fucking video, dude. Jesus.
All right, keep going. I'm going to dig through it while we're doing this. You guys want to put me on the spot right now, but you asked me what it was about your infield.
You brought up a piece of evidence, and I want to see this evidence because to me it sounds like this evidence doesn't exist. So it's not me putting you on the spot. That's me challenging the claim that you're making.
Okay.
There's an infield where I'm hanging around the store waiting for a girl.
Yeah, let me dig that up.
We lost Kyla. This conversation got too red pilled, and her blue pill gynocentric mind couldn't handle it.
I want to see this.
Yeah, keep going. I'm looking for it right now because that was several months ago, and I did make an archive.
I mean, we'll just give you time, dude. I want to wait. I want to pull this up. I don't want to move on to a different thread.
Well, I mean, if you want me to, yeah, because again, that was several months ago. Give me a few minutes. I will go here and check it out and see where it's at.
Should we talk about the black pill while you're looking at?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So can you tell us a bit, Scribe, about like what do you view the black pill as, and more specifically, how do you view the black pill in relation to what we call game?
How do I view the black pill in relation to what we call game?
Yeah, just more so because like the last time we spoke, it was like I think almost a year ago. So we have a lot more new people watching. We have, Kyla's audience too. So I think a lot of people are just kind of unfamiliar with what, you and MGTOW Dictionary stance on the black pill and the stance on game, just so that everybody kind of has an idea. And so that we're kind of reminded so we can have a discussion from there. Yeah.
So, I mean, basically the black pill, there is a lot of stigma attached to it because, a lot of the, we have a new term, we call them inkwells now. So basically in that situation, it's like they've gone out, they've gotten rejected over and over and over. And they didn't realize later that it was about, their attraction, their looks, their height, their genetics, all these different things. And they tried, all these courses, they spent money. They tried all the pickup lines. They tried all the approaches, the cold approaching, all these things. And all it got them in the end was, rejection, their psyche gets messed up. And so they're looking for, the truth because they realize that all that stuff was just, pure BS. And we're trying to explain how true attraction works when it comes to the opposite sex. And a lot of this stuff has been convoluted. And it's almost like they're trying to, like you guys are trying to make women as if they don't have this sensory that they're already born with, that they have to have for survival mechanism to choose the proper mate for the offspring in the future. So you're trying to bypass all these complex sensory that women have already built in to their psyche, and you're trying to figure out a way to gain that. You're trying to figure out a way to get around that to get in her pants, right? And I'm telling guys that it's not like that. In that level, you don't have any game. She has the game. She's the one that has to put on the makeup. She's the one that has to get all the tight clothes. She's the one that her whole basis is looks, right? And that's what attracts the men to come to her. But if you don't even, meet the threshold of the looks, at least the looks and the height or something, if you come up there as a, 5'1" dude, and this chick is obviously way out of your league, and you're trying to pull some game, that's not going to look really good. And also, if that's a woman of the high stature, if she's rolling like that, she's got other guys around, and that guy might get messed up by walking into the wrong woman. So
now,
Brad, you believe it's all? I just want to clarify one thing. So you believe that attraction that a woman has is solely dependent on looks for the man? It's just based on the man's looks?
Looks is the entry level, is the entry fee. She ain't going to mess with you unless she's attracted to you at all. If she looks at you and like, no, I'm not even, there's no way, there's no chance. Now, it depends on the girl. If you're dealing with a woman who's, gold digger or something like that, then she might bypass that if she sees you got a Lambo or something like that. But then again, that's obviously not the type of girl you want to be with. So if you're trying to get with a genuine girl and you're looking for genuine attraction or genuine relationship or something real, then the looks is the entry level to even get to that. To even, like we say, to even play her game, you have to have at least that, and then you have the height.
So it's a prerequisite.
Yes.
Okay. But so what happens after looks? What are the other components?
There's not much. There's not much after that. If you both mutually have that attraction, there's not really much. It's almost like both of you will find a reason to keep the conversation going to the point where.
Do you think women look at guys the same way that guys look at women? Like it's just purely looks. Like so, nothing else.
No. I just said it's the entry. It's your ticket to admission.
But yeah. Well, I get that part. But are you saying that when a girl looks at a guy and sees that he has nice biceps and all that kind of shit, it's the same way that it's the exact same thing as when a guy sees a girl that's super attractive? Like it's the same exact thing, right? Like it's no different. Or is it is it different? But is it?
Well, I mean, attraction's attraction. I mean, it's a mutual attraction. Or if she sees herself as being at a higher position than him, or vice versa, I think that's how they're going to be. How one's going to treat the other.
Are you looks maxer, or are you like a give up type of guy? Like if you're ugly, just give up.
Well, see, that's where our channel deals with a lot. It's like we're trying to say, look, the signal with the black pill is that a lot of guys who are in that unfortunate position are saying, why is it I can't get a 5? Why is it I can't get a 6? Why is it I can't get a 7? So they're focused on this thing to where they feel entitled that they can get these women, or they should be able to get these women because these certain people say you can if you do these certain things or say this certain line. And it's basically blind entitlement to the point where it's like, look, it's over because I'm not going to get what I want, and I'm not going to settle down for a chick that's a point lower or someone that's less than what I should be able to get. So then, therefore, they're going to look at it. Oh, that's a doomer thing. That's, it's not fair and all this other shit. I'm like, dude, the scale exists for a reason. And if you're trying to go outside,
from your perspective, if you were like a 5 out of 10, what would you do? Should you give up, or is there something that a guy could do?
No, you don't be delusional. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to try to get a 7 or an 8 or something like that.
Up?
No, it's knowing and understanding. First of all, what type of women are you dealing with? It's understanding.
You guys give me practical advice, or is there any practical advice behind your YouTube channel?
Of course, it's practical. That's the whole point, man. We're trying to distinguish here why game doesn't work. Why there has to be.
Brad, I think the question he has is, what is the advice? Like, what's the advice you're giving to that guy who's a 5? Like, what can he do?
Like, stop being delusional, and all you can really do, all you can really do is work on your money, work on your, your body, your intelligence, and everything else that you have control over. Obviously, you can't get taller. Obviously, you can't. There's certain things you can't do. You can't change your face. So all the stuff that you can do.
Things outside of looks matter. Then, if you would recommend that they work on other things, you're basically suggesting that other things outside of looks matter. Yeah,
that's all they got. There's no other remedy for that. So all you can do is that. And at the same time, don't be so delusional to think, well, since of this, I can get this. And when it doesn't happen, don't be pissed at it, because that's the black pill. That's the truth. That's really what's going on. But the game and all that says, no, man, if you do these other things, or you have these better quote unquote strategies, like Alex always loved to say, it's like you can have all the strategies all in the world, but it doesn't guarantee you're going to get that type of girl. Because,
well, of course, there's no guarantees, but one of the things that you would recommend for the guy to work on would be his social skills?
Yeah, I mean, that one's a tough one, because if a dude is already kind of in that position to where he doesn't really have friends and he's not really used to that, and he's mostly online and doing all that kind of stuff, All he could really do is figure out how to get into a circle of friends to where he can actually communicate with real people.
What percentage of attraction for women do you think is related to social skills?
For
Guess. Like,
women,
I'm not going to nail you on the number. Just like I'm just trying to like get a picture for what level of weight you think it would hold for a woman's attraction.
no, really nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
it's not really for
Like,
when it comes to when it
2%.
comes. I mean, that you see, that's coming from a woman's side that she's on more of the lower scale and she's trying to get with a guy that's out of her league. You see,
No,
now
we're just
you're
talking about for a guy. For a guy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. Like for a woman, what percentage of attraction is going to be carried by the guy's charisma?
by the guys. Well, that's a whole nother thing. You know, the
so you've got a
charisma.
5, and you've got 2 5s, right? 2 dudes, they're guys. One is like the most charismatic Giga Chad you've ever met. He's funny, witty, quick. He just always knows what to say. He can get girls laughing super quickly. The other guy is super, super awkward. Who's going to do better?
And they're both similar looks.
You see, you guys like.
Exact same. They're twins. They're identical.
Yeah, I knew this twin bullshit would come up again. Well, I mean,
it's funny because we brought up this twin situation before.
yeah. Let me explain something. So you said Giga Chad. You said they're both 5s.
They're both 5s. Yeah.
She
One
was
is.
wrong.
Giga Chad is out. It's not even.
Hold on.
They're
Don't
both
get
fine.
pedantic. Just answer the question. So imply what I mean when I say Giga Chad, right? So I'm talking about somebody who's super charismatic. Identical people.
No,
who's doing
Giga
better.
Chad goes by looks.
Okay.
Let's
you
say
can
like if
remove
there
the
was a
word
Giga Chad personality. Yeah.
You know what she's getting at.
Wait,
You know what
Giga
I'm
Chad
getting at. Rather
personality.
than- Well, don't pick at the words. Focus on like the idea that I'm communicating. If
Well, then
it-
don't say him because you're confusing. You're conflating the issue here. Let's go
well,
ahead. Do
I'm
it.
assuming that you're intelligent enough that you can like follow if I like
No,
use
we
the word
have
that's
to
slightly
distinguish. You said Giga Chad, and a lot of people in chat are like, she said Giga Chad, and you're saying the guy's a 5, but he has some crazy charismatic ability.
Scribe, they're both
Yes,
okay.
they're both
they're both
5s.
they're both
One
5s.
is very charismatic. The other is not charismatic. He gets like super pedantic about words and stuff like that.
It's going to help him. It's going to help him, but in the end, if she doesn't find him attractive, it's not going to really matter. I mean,
Both 5s, and they're pursuing a 5. Who's
the guy could be a clown and he could pull out magic tricks and all that, but at the end of the day, it's not going to really matter. Honestly.
so? How do you explain Austin Summers?
Austin Summers? I don't even know.
Yeah, he's the biggest artist on the space. I would say he's not super attractive. He's not unattractive, but he's not
Well-
like the most attractive. But man, does he pull girls like crazy? 'Cause
Well, that's
he is-
status. That sounds like status.
No, he's a pretty small YouTube
He
channel.
doesn't have status. though.
Bradicus too. Bradicus was like a small. So Bradicus had like a pretty fucking small channel. He had no place to live. He always wore stained clothes. Bradicus, I love the fucker. I think he's a cool ass guy.
He's ugly.
And he's not attractive. But I gamed with him, and he was like the very first set of girls that we approached. He was making out with a tiny little Hispanic girl that was like 5'3". We actually have it on video. It's on my YouTube channel. It was the very first, like I approached one girl before this. I got her number, and then I see him glance to my right as we're passing by this group of girls. We approach them. He starts making out with one of the girls, does a selfie, and I put it in the very end of the video. I can actually, you might pull it
Well,
up.
you see, just by you saying that he's making out with this chick he just saw off the street, right? Like he's literally like how soon was this? Like just went up to these chicks, all of a sudden he's making out with her. Is that what's going on? Or?
We were talking for about 10 minutes or so.
Okay,
what do you
so
mean?
basically that girl right there that you're talking about is unfortunately a hoe. If a woman is making out with a guy in the first few minutes of meeting the guy off the street, that is automatic hoe.
Or the
And
guy.
after-
Wait, so that means game works on hoes then?
Yeah, so these rules of looks only don't apply to hoes, right? There's an exceptional
Yeah.
class of women called hoes for which the Blackpiller.
If that woman is going up to a guy within 10 minutes or she's drunk or whatever, that's the classification I'll put her in. I'm not going to respect the woman that would want to make out with me within the first minute of
whether
seeing
you
me.
respect her or not is totally irrelevant to the point. Does she not count? She's a woman, right? So is she an exception category to the rule?
No, sometimes you have to know what kind of woman you're dealing with. You're dealing with a gold digger, yeah, she'd be sucking your dick within the first few minutes. If you give her a ride in your Lambo, then yes. But if it's a respectable woman,
So you're
she's
saying
actually
okay. So you're saying the rules of Blackpill don't actually apply to hoes, right? Is that correct?
well, they're in that gold digger category. It depends because most men are trying.
No, hold on. There's a difference between a gold digger and a hoe. Gold digger just wants money. A hoe, by your definition, is
No,
somebody
Alex was asking,
make
but
out
yeah,
with.
right.
No, but a hoe, by your definition, is somebody who would make out with a random guy within 10 minutes. That's different from
Yes.
a gold digger.
Well, obviously, I gave the other example. I'm saying we have to distinguish what kind of woman we're talking about here.
Okay.
So does game work on hoes and gold diggers then? Or let's put gold diggers aside because that's a whole other mess. Does game work on hoes? Your definition.
I wouldn't call that's a transactional, exchange going on there. So that has nothing to do with game at all.
Where's the transaction?
What's
It's not. I could see a transaction with gold digger, but not a hoe.
Well, with the hoe, again, you're dealing with someone who sleeps around and kind of just doesn't really care. And at that point, these type of women are extremely damaged, and nobody, would you want to be hanging out with a girl like this? I mean, if you know she's doing stuff.
That's not what. Stop. You're adding extra bits to the narrative. We're just asking, does she not count? What makes her an exclusion?
Does she not count to the rules of the
game works on hoes? How are you excluding her from this?
No, I never said game works on hoes. I never said that. I didn't say that he didn't do any type of game to get this woman to just make out. She found him attractive enough to say, look, I'm going to make out with a guy where she was drunk enough or whatever. Well, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. I'm just saying she's willing to do that.
Redacting what you said before?
About what?
Well, before you basically said that he was able to get her through game, and you said, well, she's different. She's a loophole because she's a hoe. Now you're saying instead...
I never said...
No, in the hypothetical you were given, it was clear that he got her through game.
Your auto response was she's a hoe, so it doesn't count.
So it doesn't count. So you basically said, well, yeah, maybe he did, but it's because she's a hoe. But now you're saying he actually didn't get her through game. Now it's actually just back to looks.
No, you're confusing the situation. You're asking me, did he use game to get this girl that he made out with in a few minutes? Is that a question?
I'm actually just checking to see if you're redacting the previous statement, because you've said now two mutually exclusive statements, right?
The point okay, let me kind of rephrase it for you one more time, Scribe. Maybe you're legitimately confused. So the point Denton was making is he has a friend who's not good looking, who he was out with. This friend met an attractive girl. Like, what would you rate the girl, Denton? Like, was she like a 6, 7? What was she?
7.58.
Okay, 7.58, right? Let's just assume Denton is being generous and just say she's a 7. This guy is a 5, right? So he meets this girl, he talks to her for 10 minutes, and then he started making out, right? That's the analogy. So that would go counterintuitive to what you were saying earlier.
How tall was this guy? How tall was he?
6.
6 foot. And she's little tiny, 5'3" chick.
Here, man. Take a second. Look up Bradicus right now. You can type him in Google.
He's not attractive, bro.
No, but at least he's not 5'1".
Dude, take a
okay,
second.
so at least he has the height. At least he has the height. So maybe that was enough to push him over the edge. Not this. Is he extremely ugly, or I mean?
Yeah, he's not attractive, bro. I can pull up a photo.
It'll save us a lot of time.
Well, he had the height, and that was enough for her.
Okay, right. But if it just assume the premise is true that this guy's a 5. Just for argument's sake, assume the premise is true that this guy's a 5, this girl's a 7. They talk for 10 minutes, and then they're making out, right? So, assuming that he's a 5 and she's a 7, that would be counterintuitive to your example that a 5 can't get a 7. And when
no, I'm saying the scenario you're telling me. Obviously, the chick had beer goggles. Obviously, there was some form of she was definitely not in her full.
Like dozens of videos of him taking girls home in the day when they were sober. Like, you can actually still find this stuff. I actually have a few of them on my channel.
So how many of these girls has he stayed? Was it just a one-night stand thing, or what? You see, you're not giving enough information. You're going by what happened to this guy.
Why would that matter? If he's able to pull the girl, why does it matter about the longevity of the relationship?
To see what type of quality he's getting. If he's just going around, just going after whatever bottom of the barrel type of chicks that don't really care about, it's just... Why
would a hot girl go for a 5? If she's easy, and I'm sure you would agree probably that women are more gatekeepers of sex. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Exactly.
So if she's a 7, maybe an 8, why would she ever, if she just wants sex, why wouldn't she get a more attractive guy if she mostly selects off of attraction?
That's precisely right. That's the normal thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the scenario you're giving me where he picked up this girl. What's going on there? You're just saying this happened.
Just assume the premise is true for argument's sake.
I'm saying the exception isn't the rule, man. So, okay, I see this one dude over here, ugly as a motherfucker, but somehow he pulled a 10 or something. You could say that all day, but I'm like, dude, that's not majority of men. That happens so rarely.
Oh no, but isn't the argument that game is the thing that's going to help you not?
How is it going to help your attraction?
Wait, so Scribe, you're revising your argument. So you're saying that game doesn't work most of the time, but sometimes it works. Would that be correct then?
No, I said the exception to the rule, as in if the dude that's ugly but he's tall, happens to get with a chick that's cute and she's short, then that's an exception to the rule. That happens, but it's the exception to the rule.
Wait,
And we don't have
okay.
all the details on it.
What if there's a guy who's short and less attractive who gets with a taller and more attractive woman? Does that exist?
That happens too. There's guys that are like 5'1", the chick's like 6 foot, a foot taller.
Yeah,
And
what's happening in that situation?
Because these women have a really tough time trying to find their looks match.
What about a guy who's like 5'6", but he's dating women who are like 5'7", 5'8"?
Again, he has to. That doesn't
What's
look
happening
good.
there?
I mean, if she puts on high heels, that's not going to look good in public.
Well, I'm not asking if it looks good. I'm asking, in your worldview, how do you reconcile that?
Reconcile that.
How does that exist?
Again, it's the exception to the rule. You keep on saying, "Well, this is the standard."
Well,
We're saying, "No, that's not the standard."
The issue is, what
seems
if
to be a lot of
we come up
exceptions to the
with 20% exceptions?
Look, a girl that's 5'6", 5'7", she's in the good range. She's gonna be going after guys above 6 foot, right? If she settles for a guy that's shorter than him, there's a problem. There's
What
a big
problem do you think's going on?
No woman in this world wants to be going out with guys that are shorter than them. That's just a
So my husband's shorter
biological.
than me.
Well, then you got some issues then, because I mean,
What issues do you think I have?
I mean, when you wear high heels, how much taller are you? I mean, do you wear high heels?
Sometimes, yeah, I'm about an inch taller sometimes.
An inch with high heels or without high heels?
I would be an inch taller for sure with high heels. Sometimes like an
So you're
inch
not
and a half.
taller. Then you're not taller than him. Then
Yeah, I am.
you just said an inch. I mean, how regular high heels, or I mean, with stiletto?
I don't usually wear super high heels because I've got like a
Who gives a
fallen
shit what
arch.
kind of high heels she makes? Jesus
Because you don't want to embarrass your man. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
wore
that's not
regular
true at
high-
all. I'm very comfortable. If you want to know, I've worn platforms that are about 4 inches as well. And
Okay,
that's
so have you
fine.
gone out with him?
Yeah, we
And
went
he's
to a
got
wedding.
you, and that shit don't look awkward, right?
No, we looked great.
You might think that, but anyone that looks at that is gonna be like, that's because there's lots of guys that are much shorter having to go
Wouldn't
with
guys
girls.
look at that and be like, holy shit, this guy's fucking pulling?
Yeah.
Dude, I'd feel sorry
What
for
do
the
you
guy. It's like I don't want to be going out with a chick that's 2 inches
What do you
taller
think
than me. It's like, we're
happened
gonna be-
that I went for a guy that was shorter than me and slightly less attractive as well?
That's all you could get. I mean, unfortunately, that's all.
Really?
That
Do you
was
think
all.
that that's all that I got?
You think Erudite can't get like literally thousands of dudes on Tinder every single day? Like, you really think that Erudite like couldn't get anything else? That's your argument?
No, I'm saying in her case, she chose this shorter guy because that's really all she could get.
Is that what you think?
If she could have gotten 6'2" Chad, you think she's still gonna be going out with a guy that's shorter?
So I
mean-
actually was dating a guy who was 6'2" beforehand, and I did break up with him and ended up dating my husband now.
So did you dump him or he dumped you?
I dumped him.
You dumped him. So I'm gonna go get a shorter guy now.
Well, I didn't actually think that much about height, to be honest. I care mostly about like charisma, values, things like that.
Well, then again, you're the exception. Most women are going after guys that are taller than them. That's just how it
Scribe,
is.
there seems to be so many exceptions to your rule. This rule is just literally nonstop examples. Did you find the infield yet? I want to see this.
Well, I was.
Wait,
until
let's
you-
not talk. Wait, hold on. Let's not.
No,
Let's stick to this
no, I
topic.
wanna-
Let's not talk
I
about the
wanna-
infield.
Now he
We'll bring
wants
up
to
the
change the
infield a bit
subject.
later.
I want to call
Yeah,
Scribe
we'll bring up the
bullshit.
infield later. Hold on.
Okay.
So I think it's important to stay on this because the entire idea of game, especially the types of stuff that like Alex and Denton teaches, it's like, okay, well, yeah, we acknowledge that the 6'2" Chads are inherently going to have an advantage. But the thing is about game is that helps to shorten the gap a little bit, right? So that you actually have a chance. You know what I mean? Those are and things like charisma, things like having courage to actually go up and
Well, charisma is not game. Charisma is not game. That is how that guy is.
What do you
No,
think
charisma is
charisma-
absolutely
Well,
a skill that you can build.
Yeah, can you build charisma though? That's
absolutely
How
not.
not?
Absolutely
How not?
cannot. You
How
absolutely cannot. Because
How
I have
not?
tried to help many friends of mine to do that. Exactly
Wait.
that. Supposedly build charisma.
Okay, wait, hold on. Rate your
charisma king.
charisma.
Look, can I
Rate your
talk for a second?
charisma for me, just to understand. What's your
Rate
charisma?
my charisma? How
Yeah.
the fuck am I going to rate my charisma? Someone
Well,
else
I
would
don't
have to
know.
rate
Give
that.
it a point scale. Well, you said that you teach your friends, so that implies that you have.
No, I
some
tried
enough-
to, and I realized that they're not going to listen. That they're just wired the way they're wired, and it's not going to help. And I'll have to like make them look good.
Maybe you're just not good at teaching charisma. Have you ever thought of that?
Dude, it's not. It's like saying, look, don't be thirsty. Don't do these basic ass things. They cannot do it. Okay, it's just how they're wired. It's not something you can biologically change about a man or a woman.
Is there
There
anything
is
that
not.
you can change about people?
Well, you can make more money. You could looks max. You could
Well, what about
travel. You could.
personality?
Well, what about school? Do you think if you go to school, you
Personality
get like more
bullshit.
educated?
Hell
You
no.
get
Schools for
you get more
for people who just don't understand how to
Sure,
teach
but like
themselves
I
knowledge.
imagine you'd assume like if I had a child and they were born at age 0, can they read?
Through reading, you can teach someone how to read.
Okay, yeah, I would agree. And do they know how to
But
talk?
you can teach them how to talk too. But
Okay.
outside of that,
And
it's not
how
going
do
to
they
get much further.
learn? How do they learn which language to use, though?
Depending on what country and what society they live in, I assume. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. And then how do they learn like the social norms, like to stand in line?
well, to be a slave, yeah. I mean, that's
Sure,
how
but how do they
society-
learn these social conventions? How do you learn them?
What does that have to do with charisma? I don't understand your
Well,
point.
think about it. What is charisma?
It's how a person is. If you have that charismatic vibe to you,
Wait, so
and
your
people
definition
like
of
you,
charisma is how a person is. That's your running definition.
as in how they're wired. Why is it this person is
Wired in
able
what
to?
way?
Their biological, how they were born. It's like their genetics.
Born
you
in
can call it.
for what? What are they doing with the charisma? What is it?
What are they doing? Again, you have this desperate thing. I mean, the
Why would you say
charismatic
desperate?
thing.
I'm asking for a definition of charisma, and you said it's a thing they're born with, but also people are born with hands, and I doubt you'd say hands are charisma. So
Dude,
what's charisma?
Whatever you're going to rate it is subjective to you. You're saying, oh, this
Sure,
guy has a lot of
but
charisma. He has a
just
lot of
hold
this.
on. Just go back to defining charisma. I just actually want to like get a working label for us. What is charisma? To you.
You want the actual Google definition. I'm saying charisma is
Just a
something that
definition for
cannot be
you.
taught. It cannot be taught.
What is it
What
though?
To me, I would go back to when they asked me to define game. I was like, well, it's a dude that has, the swag, the coolness factor. He just is sure of himself and who he is, doesn't have to do all these extra things, doesn't have to use any supposed game, doesn't need all these extra, crutches to be like, well, I'm this person. He's just chilling and people compliment him. That's why I feel that the whole charismatic thing is about like this guy's charismatic. Something about him. He doesn't speak much, but when he does say something, it really, resonates. There's something about it. Again, that's subjective. One guy could be charismatic to one person, another person, I don't like that vibe. I don't like the way he is. He's just an asshole. I mean, it depends how you take it.
Yeah, sure. It is somewhat subjective, but there's also people that would be like, okay, like Brad Pitt or George Clooney, universally charismatic, and some people who are like, not.
You know why they are? Because they're at that level. They are allowed to be that way.
So
Okay.
haven't you just defined confidence for us?
Well, like it's in
Haven't
the
you
Black
met
Belt.
somebody who's like an overconfident idiot?
Well, you have morons that are like that, and that's kind of what the game is.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Would you say
like
that they're
how
charismatic?
Every answer to your question is just like an insult of pickup artists, but okay, keep going.
Wait, so Scribe, is your implication that charisma is like directly or inextricably tied to your looks?
Biology.
No, man. I mean, the whole charisma. I mean, if the chick is into you like that, the charismatic thing would be a secondary or third thing that she'd be like, oh, he's he has these traits. But when it comes down to it,
Okay, wait. So you're saying that charisma is secondary, but that's a different claim than saying that you cannot develop your charisma. You just think that charisma can't help with attraction, but do you think that charisma can be worked on, or is it something that just you're static and you're born with?
man, if you're a goofy motherfucker, that's it. There ain't no helping you with the charisma and all that. This is how you are. You have a certain deficiency in how you speak or whatever it is. You can try to help that a little bit, but in the end, it's always going to be there.
So
Okay,
mean,
so Scrap.
I was going to ask,
Go ahead.
have you ever worked in sales?
No, that's what Alex usually likes to go to, the sales thing. And I don't know why you're like over here trying to like ask all the questions when this is kind of between Alex and Kevin
Well,
from
you
the
don't have
last
to get
stream.
defensive. Just
Well,
answer if you've
I-
ever
no,
been in
I'm
sales.
Just wondering why you're trying to ask all these questions. We're trying to talk about the
I'm
game
here.
stuff.
If you don't
Wait,
want me
why
to
can't
ask
you ask
questions, you could tell me why.
Because we're supposed to be debating, the game thing, the Blackpiller and all that.
You don't think charisma is intrinsic to this?
It's not it doesn't fit the barrier of interest. Because
Well,
if the
of course
guy
it does. Well, hold on. You're in a debate where you are arguing charisma doesn't
I'm not
matter.
arguing, you're arguing fucking charisma. I'm saying that doesn't really matter.
Listen, stop and listen to my words again. I just stated your position. You would argue that looks matter most and charisma doesn't really matter. Game doesn't matter. Correct. That's your position, correct?
Again, you're mixing these things up. I'm saying the charisma thing would be a secondary or third thing that would be a cool benefit, but the game has nothing to do with any of this stuff. I mean, the fact you're here as a woman even supporting the game, it's like I got to scratch my head. That means you have ulterior motives because
Hold on, this isn't about me. No,
the game is an
This isn't
insult
about
to
me.
women.
Hold on.
Erudite, I
This isn't about me.
called
Then
it.
why are you here?
I called it.
I'm
Oh,
here
you
to
knew that.
debate you on your idea. I'm not here to debate you about like my personal predilections or anything like that.
I'm just saying the fact that you're here.
That
trying
doesn't
to-
matter.
trying to
So
be
if we're
pro-game.
here
Are you
talking about
pro-game?
two ideas, we're
Are
talking
you
about two
pro-game?
ideas. Hold on, listen. We're talking about two ideas. Your idea is that basically looks matter most. Charisma is maybe tertiary. The people that we're arguing with, including myself, would argue charisma and other things like this are going to matter a lot more. Looks matter too, but charisma can do a lot of heavy lifting. Wouldn't you agree that in a debate that's fundamentally about this question of charisma and game, that we should probably define the word charisma?
Look, the charisma does help, like what you're saying, but I'm saying it does not equate to the game side because the guys that are trying to pull the game are going to artificially try to pretend that they have these qualities, but when she gets to know the guy, she's going to realize he's not that. So
Okay, so your
basically-
opponent would argue that charisma and game are linked. So Alex, I would ask you, is charisma and game similar, related to one another?
They're very much intertwined completely. And I would ask this. So Scribe, if you believe that charisma cannot be developed, it's something that you're born with, how would you account for me and Denton, which are two guys who were very uncharismatic when we were younger? We used to suck with girls. I don't know about Denton, but lost my virginity when I was 19. I was very socially awkward. And then we're both guys who worked on our charisma, and now we're doing quite well with girls.
Dude, you're still socially awkward, man. I saw your infields, man. It's like, what are you talking
Wait,
about? You
is
haven't
this
changed
the
at all.
Is this
You haven't
the
changed at
infield
all.
is this the infield that you still can't pull up after half an hour?
Wait, how are you telling them that he's uncharismatic if you say that it's fully subjective and that you can't rate it? How are you determining that he's uncharismatic?
I'm saying that is from what I see, that's my personal opinion from what I saw.
Sure, I'm asking you to clarify what you're looking for. Yeah, what are you looking for? When you say Alex isn't charismatic, what are the metrics you're using to determine that? Is it just your feelings?
That he is going by a script in his head and he's trying to pretend all these things to get this girl to respond or get the right response out of the girl.
No, I'm asking you what you're perceiving that makes you believe. So is he stiff? Is he awkward? Do the girls react poorly? Like, what are you actually looking for?
All
as
the
your
above.
cue
All
that
the
is
above.
uncharismatic.
All the above.
All of the above. So you would say charisma is some mixture of how people react to you, your ability to kind of move smoothly between like ideas, to transition well, to make people feel comfortable. Would you agree that charisma is at least these three things?
Look, you can say that. I'm just saying that when it comes to attraction, the charisma.
I'm just trying to define.
is
No,
part of
stop.
that.
You're weaseling again. I'm just trying to get you to define the word charisma for us so that we can actually move the conversation forward. I don't like. You can define it any way you want. Just give us a clear definition.
Is she the one with the balls in this situation here? Because I can get down to that, but it's like you're just trying to focus on this charismatic. You're trying to get away from the real discussion here. We're talking about attraction, and we're saying that charisma.
Why would we have to jump in and talk when Erudite's single-handedly destroying you right now? I'm just sitting here just enjoying the show. So
No, we're talking about.
let
She
you
wants
guys
to
have
focus on
discussion.
charisma bullshit. It's
Because
like that's
charisma-
fine. We can talk about that, but that's
charisma's
not
part-
going to be. Go ahead. man.
Charisma is directly related to this.
Directly what?
Charisma is directly related to what we're talking about. You cannot be good with women without having charisma.
And I'm saying you don't have that. So how is it you're claiming that the game and all this stuff's going to happen in your favor?
Okay, so how would you account for like the hundreds of receipts that I have on my website and my YouTube videos? Like you're saying, like it's all fake, or what's your claim for that? How would you account for all that? You're saying that I have no charisma, so I should by default be bad with women. So what about all the receipts that I've shown? Like how
Dude,
do you
you're going the predatory route, and again, it's the law of probability. The law of probability. Eventually, you're going to get a woman that is weak-minded or whatever that might accept that, but in the end, you're not going to get anything of quality whatsoever. They're going to look at you like a clown and be like, "What's this guy? He's trying to get this dog and trying to make me, give him compliments because of the dog and all that stuff." It's like you're giving off this really fucked up vibe, and women can instantly notice that. It's like when I saw that, it's like the chick is like trying to get away from you. You're still trying to go after it. It's like, dude, it's like you don't understand that.
Scribe, you still
hold on.
can't pull it up, right? You still don't have it.
Wait. Based on
Anytime
what you
I'm
just said,
talking about you want to
Hold
pull
on.
up the video. I'm going to pull it up.
Based on what you just
You've
said,
been
then
working
are
on
you
for a
willing
half an hour.
to? hold on. Are you willing to concede, Scribe, then that game could possibly work on what you perceive as lower quality women? It just doesn't work on high quality women. Because based on what you just said, I mean, that would leave one to conclude that that's the conclusion that you.
If you want to be a predator and you want to go after weak women that might get, you know, whatever, but that, again, that's a short-term thing. If she does accept it, and then she realizes what your intentions are, and she doesn't have that kind of attraction for you, you might be able to take her out, get coffee or a date or something like that. But that's the full extent. She's going to see who you are and how you're going to try to pursue her. And if you're pursuing her and she's not asking you questions of interest, it's not going to work.
So how would you account for my girlfriend of 2 years? You said it can only work.
Oh, you mean the one that's an open relationship that she's hitting other guys while you're, you know, doing your thing?
Wait, what? She's doing what?
You said that you guys are in an open relationship, right?
It's a one-way open relationship. She's exclusive to me.
And that's not the way you said it.
No, that is the way I said it. She's exclusive to me. I've said that like publicly a million times.
Okay, so you're saying that she allows you to do this stuff and it's okay with her and she knows what you're doing. She's been on your show, right?
Yeah, she's super supportive of what I do.
Yes, that's more of a business transaction deal, you know, kind of like.
Wait, what is she getting out of it?
If she's on your stream, something's going on.
So wait, so because I bring my girlfriend on my stream occasionally, that means it's a business transaction, even though I'm not paying her any money?
I don't know what you're doing on there. That's what I'm saying. You could say all these things, but I'm saying the fact that you're going out there thirsting on women, using the dog as a.
Wait, hang on, no, stop deflecting. Address my girlfriend. So, how do you count for my girlfriend of 2 years if I can only get women short term?
Again, I don't know all the details in that. You could be saying that and that she's good with you and you're going out smashing all these women and she's okay with it. And she's been on the stream and she knows this stuff. You know, there's something obviously wrong there. There's something that you're not saying. There's something, you know, hidden in the background. I mean, you could say that.
What do you think? What do you think is hidden?
Who knows? I can only assume. I can only make assumptions. I don't know. I'm just saying you're making this claim, right?
Right. This is a really bad faith argument. Because basically what you're saying is, well, it could be the case, so therefore it is. So this would be like me saying, Scribe, you're a serial killer. You're like, Alex, why am I a serial killer? Well, I don't know that you're not a serial killer. I don't know that last night you didn't go out and murder people, so therefore you could be a serial killer. It's a very bad faith argument because you can make that literally about anything. You're
going to an extreme there with the serial killer.
Well, you have absolutely like zero evidence for your claim that like there's something shady going on. You're just assuming.
You're making these claims. I don't know the full facts of the situation. All I can say is the way you are when you are in these infields, from what I see, I don't see any woman of value that would ever, you know, deal with that. It's like you don't have anything to offer. You're just pursuing in a predatory manner, and that's the thing. That's what we talk about the black pill. That's
okay. Let's say really quickly that let's just put aside the predatory thing. I'll accept that premise, even though I obviously
I do not accept that premise.
No. Hold on. Just for the argument's sake, okay? Would you be willing to accept that what you perceive as predatory, whatever Alex is doing, that would in some cases help him sleep with more women where otherwise he wasn't using that at all?
Yeah, if he was not doing the predatory chasing stuff, he would at least look like a normal person. And if he did go out to an event with friends and he was introduced to women and he didn't try this game desperation technique.
No. But what you perceive as the predatory, because what you call the predatory chasing stuff, Alex would call game, right? So in Alex's worldview,
having a normal conversation with a girl.
Yeah. Okay. So, but in Alex's worldview, that helps him get more girls. In your worldview, does that help him get more girls?
Hell no. I mean, you can make the claim. You can make the claim that he's getting all these girls. I'm telling you, that's definitely not going to be the case.
Okay. So how did hold on. Wait. So Alex said before, right, that when he was younger, he lost his virginity at like 19 or something, and then now his body counts, I don't know, like in the 300s or whatever, right? A lot higher. So what changed? Like what changed that allowed him to have that much more success with women during that time period?
Did he have that much more success? That's what I'm saying. I don't know the whole entire story. All I can tell you is that if he's getting with all these women, it's going to be low tier stuff that he's not going to want anyway. If
clearly he wants it. I mean, he went after it. So
my girlfriend, of 2 years, I
It's
don't
gonna be
have
stuff he can get. That's what I'm telling you. He's trying to get these other ones, but they're gonna be rejecting them. You know.
Okay.
So-
Let's just for argument's sake, again, Alex, I'm not saying this, but for argument's sake, let's say that Alex only got low quality women. There wasn't a single high quality woman in his entire body count. Okay. That's still better than him having a body count of 0 when he was 19. So what changed from going to 0 to, again, I don't actually believe this, but from 0 to a bunch of low quality women in your world, what changed?
He got more desperate.
Okay. So,
Wait,
so
can
you get
explain
more
to me what
desperate, you get laid more.
Yeah, what's a high quality woman to you, like in your worldview? I don't actually know. Like, what do you value in women?
Okay, number
Low
one,
body count?
obviously she can't be, single mother. Secondary, she obviously has a good relationship with the parents, especially the father. Third, she's not hoeing around. She doesn't have all these Instagram body pics and all this where she's focusing, on that. Someone who obviously very low body count.
So are you Christian or like religious?
Wait, but my girlfriend would fit all that criteria.
Wait, are you Christian or religious?
I'm Christian, but I don't, I don't go to church and all that.
Okay. So why don't you just date a nice Christian girl? It sounds like that's kind of what you want.
Oh my God, is this coping? I mean, this is what they all bring up. Why don't you just date a nice girl? Do you know what year we're in? We're in 2022, right?
Are you saying that every single Christian woman is just lying?
No, I'm saying those type of values are no longer instilled. You have women that supposedly are Christian, but they're on Instagram showing their fucking ass, or they're on OnlyFans.
Are you saying that there's no women that are
very small percentage that are
sure?
actually
Yeah, let's grant you that maybe the high value women that you
just go
seek
find
out.
a girl, bro, and at the church or whatever. It ain't like that anymore. It's not this. That was our parents or grandparents.
Well, part of the issue is it sounds like you're not going to church, so even if they're there, you wouldn't find them.
Well, because if that was an option and I had a circle and I see that that's the case, then maybe, but I don't. That doesn't exist nowadays. I mean, as I say,
I want
very small percentage.
I want to get back to what you were saying. So you listed what you classify as a high value woman, and honestly, my girlfriend falls under all those premises. She doesn't show her ass on Instagram. She has a good relationship with her family. And what was the first thing you said?
But she's with a dating coach that has an open relationship, right? That right there is a massive red flag.
You didn't mention any of that. You just said that you said 3 things. You didn't say anything about a dating coach.
No, I'm saying your case, you're saying that your girl's a good girl. She doesn't have these things, but yet she's dating you. A dating coach that is a predatory guy.
Okay. Let's explore that. I love these claims. Why am I a predator?
Dude, you're the one going out there equipped with a dog trying to chase women. I mean, what else is there to say?
So wait, hang on. You think going out with a cute dog to meet girls is a predator?
That is so cringy. That is so desperate. I don't know what to say.
Okay, is it cringy?
If that works for you, cool. I mean, I'm not going to put you down for that, but
is it cringe or is it predatory? Because there's a difference between those two things.
All the above, man. You're acting in a predatory way. When the girl sees you and how thirsty you are, it's cringe as fuck. You're following women into stores and stuff. You're trying to get a reaction out of them. You're trying to ask them things when they're trying to do day-to-day stuff. They haven't looked at you, haven't given you any type of signal whatsoever to say that this woman's even remotely interested in you. You're just going to go up there and hope the dog is going to help you out. I mean, your dog has more game than you. I mean, honestly, I got to really put it down to the truth.
Knowledge game exists.
His dog does. For his dog, yes. Because the dog is actually a cute dog. His dog actually
game exists, but only for dogs.
Only for dogs.
In his case.
I think you don't actually understand the definition of predatory. So I want to hear how do you define predatory?
You are the one going up to women in a situation.
Stop. Don't use me in the definition. Just explain what the word predator means.
As in, that is your intention. I'm going to go out tonight to the club and I'm going to talk to as many women as I possibly can to get as many phone numbers as I possibly can. And I don't care what it is. I'm just going to go after whatever, and hopefully I'll hit something.
What do you do instead?
Okay,
what do you do instead?
Hang on, Kyla. Sorry, let me just finish this live questioning. So you think the definition of predatory is going out to try to talk to as many girls as possible? That's your definition of predatory?
It's a desperate predator. Yeah, that's the position you're in. That's basically the position you're in, because that is something that you're saying, well, I don't have any value of my own, therefore I have to physically go out and chase this stuff because I don't have any value that any women are going to notice about me. I do the opposite. If I'm going to go out and do stuff, I'm not looking for it. I'm not doing anything. I'm not showing my charisma or any of this shit. If she's attracted to me, she's attracted.
You
But
have
she's
The
the
zero.
girls
one-
approach you. Is that your strategy? The girls approach you.
Wait, hang on. You have zero idea
Wait,
what the
yeah,
word
that's your
predatory
strategy. Hold on, wait, hold on. The strategy is that you let the girls approach you.
I let them get closer to me. Exactly. I'm not going to go trying to pursue something.
Doesn't that make them predatory then? Why does that
No,
make
that's
why
the
does it make men
natural-
predatory? Hold on. Why does it make
That's the
men
natural law
predatory
of
when they
things.
go after women, but then when women go after men, it's
Because
not
in the end, the
How
woman
is
is
that-
the one that chooses
wait.
the man.
If the woman's a gatekeeper, why would she be the pursuer as well? That doesn't make any sense.
Because she's rejecting all the guys that are trying to pursue her. Meanwhile, she's trying to get closer to the Chad, the
But
guy
that
she has
assumes
interested
that
in.
you're pursuing to some degree.
No, I'm just
So
saying
the
that
natural
if
way
I
of
see
things-
her, if I see her want more to get more interested and ask me certain questions, and I say, okay, she's interested, then I'll be like, all right, now I can start, asking her questions and see if there's a mutual attraction. But
Is
if
that
I'm the one
working
trying
for
to,
you?
that's how I've done all my life. All my life, that's how it's been. I've
No,
never
like that's
been out there
working for
trying.
you.
If that's working, of course. I mean, I have enough dignity and understanding that I have value, and if I'm around certain type of women, they're going to be interested. And they're going to want to ask more questions, and I can, figure out whether or not she's genuinely attracted to me, or if she just wants to get me to buy her drinks or whatever it is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Dating coaches don't have any of this sensory whatsoever. So if the girl says yes and it's okay, now he's going to be buying drinks. He's going to be doing whatever to get her to finally go back to his place, and she's
All right,
not. He's not going to understand if she actually likes him or not.
Let's get back to reality. So, the definition of predatory behavior means any conduct evidencing egregious, habitual, or continuing attempt to misuse power, authority, position, or situation to abuse or exploit others. So,
Yeah, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
no, you said what I'm doing is going out and just approaching as many girls as possible. That's not predatory.
That's the game. You're using, like MD would say, manipulation. You're using the dog. You're using all these different things to make you look better than you really are, in hopes that she will talk to you, in hopes
Okay.
that you can get her back to your place.
So, if I go out and I pick up girls without my dog, then it would not be predatory, right?
You're still in that position. You're still in that position regardless.
So, I'm
I
just
think
I'm predatory by default. No matter what I do, I will always be a predator.
Because that's your nature. You're a dating coach.
Okay, so I'm a predator because I'm a dating coach. So every dating coach has to be a predator.
That's the whole thing with the game. What are we talking about here, dude?
Okay,
What-
wait. Look, I
We're
need
talking
to
about your
simplify this.
fucking-
Hold on.
You're the most ridiculous definition of predator that I've ever seen. You just keep redefining the word predator over and over again to just suit your argument. First, a predator is someone who goes out and talks to a lot of girls. Now, a predator is someone who's a dating coach. Then, a predator is someone who's just
Because that's what they do. They go out and they try to get girls. Dude, you don't see what's going on here. I mean, you don't see the distinction here.
I mean, that sounds like literally every single guy. He goes out, he talks to a lot of girls,
and that's the issue. That's
so every
the
guy, so every guy's a predator.
When I say predator, we're talking about the game thing where you have to be the one to go out and thirst over women, and then when you get rejected, you're just like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. That's what a lot of these guys are going through, because the dating coach thing is trying to say, well, even if you're 5'1", it's gonna, like you said before, it's gonna take more volume. He's got to cut his hair and do all this shit. I'm telling you, none of that is gonna.
Okay,
So hold on. Even if he's 5'1", what
right.
should he do then? What should a 5'1" guy do then? Just give up? What should he do?
He has to stop being delusional, first of all, because he's going to think, well, this dating coach guy, if I pay him enough money, he's going to help me get the girl of my dreams, and that's
Women
the
with
fantasy.
dwarfism. I've got you.
That's the
Women with
fantasy we're trying to cut.
Right?
The what?
Well, 5'1" guy should go for women with dwarfism.
With what?
Dwarfism.
Dwarf? Dude, I never. That could be an option for him. I'm just saying that
There
we
you
have
go.
to break. We have to break this illusion that a dating coach can say, well, if you pay me $5,000, I can take you out to the club and I can help you pick up a hot girl, knowing that this poor guy's 5'1", he's balding, and all these messed up traits.
Look,
That's the
hold
elite.
on. There's some dating coaches that would do that, and look, if they can deliver on that, they're the greatest dating coach ever. If they can't deliver on that and they make false promises,
They're not
that's
going to be
a
able to
problem.
deliver on.
Hold on. You're making dating
You're so
coach as a
prejudiced.
monolith. Are there
So
different
funny.
are there different levels of dating coaches? I think so. There's some dating coaches I think that have integrity and won't lie to you, won't lie to your face, and will actually try to help you get results, like the guys on here. And then there's other dating coaches that would actually just legit lie to your face just to get your money, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same thing of like saying, oh, well, lawyers are slimy. Well, not every single lawyer. Maybe most lawyers, you could maybe make that argument, but there's definitely lawyers who are good people with like integrity, right? But anyway, all that's besides the point. I want to ask you this because it's really this simple. All right. If there is a girl at the end of the bar who's really hot, is there a better strategy for you to go up to her and to take her home? And is there a better strategy and a worse strategy for you to do that?
The only strategy that would exist in that is if you do go up there, that you act like a normal human being and you don't try to. You basically gauge the situation. You're trying to see if she's even going to engage in conversation. First of all,
okay, perfect.
I mean,
so hold on. So a lot of guys get nervous around pretty girls, right? So they actually are not good at acting like a normal human being because they get inside of their head and they get all nervous and they start to fumble over the words and all those things, right? So would you acknowledge that somebody who has
that is your instinct?
Wait. I haven't interrupted you. Just let me talk. Would you acknowledge that there's somebody who does that, fumbling over his words because he's so nervous and he's like shaking and whatever, right? And just saying stupid shit because he's like, he's
out of his league. He's out of his league.
Hold on, dude, come on. All right, let me finish and then I'll let you go. All right. Would you acknowledge that if somebody's going through that, right, as opposed to them being more normal and calibrated, that being more normal and calibrated and regular, whatever, is a better strategy than you just like getting all in your head and being all nervous?
Look, obviously, I'm understanding the question you're asking. I'm saying the reason that guy is that nervous and that, stumbling over his words is because he knows deep down inside that he should have never gone up there because this woman is not going to be interested in him. And his psyche,
there are good-looking guys that get nervous as fuck to approach. Like Alex and Denton can definitely like kind of confirm this. The guys who have the worst approach anxiety are usually the guys who are really good looking. Am I right or wrong, Denton?
Dude, if she's already looking at you and she's letting you know, hey, come over, let's talk, whatever. If you have any type of indication of anything like that, you're not going to be nervous. But if you're going up in a cold approach, you're going to be nervous as hell because you don't know the situation. You don't know if she's already there with a boyfriend. You don't know if she's already involved, whatever.
Dude, a girl can give you choosing signals and guys will still be nervous as fuck to go up to them. Maybe that's not the case for you, but there's definitely guys. I mean, let's see in the chat. Has a girl given you Has a girl given you choosing signals where you're pretty sure that she's like checking you out, but you're still really nervous to go up to her and talk to her? Yes or no?
That is like if you're still nervous too. It's like she looked at you, but you're not quite sure. That's what you're talking about. I'm saying sure as in she's already kind of in the group. You guys are talking with other friends. And then she has like an interest in what you do, what you like doing.
How does that happen? What? So what? Strangers just shouldn't meet ever. So game only works in the context of you already knowing each other.
I'm saying it works much better when you're already in a familiar situation with friends, and they bring other friends, and you meet new people.
Sure. Nobody's arguing against that.
And now you can gauge whether or not she likes you. But if you're doing this cold approach thing,
that's the difference between cold approach and warm approach, right? I'm going to ask you, hey, Natty, just one thing really quickly, because I think you just dodged this question. Which is a better strategy? You going up to a girl and being confident and being your true self, right? Or you being a nervous wreck going up to that same girl? Which is a better strategy?
Well, why do you ask me stuff that's so obvious, dude?
Answer the question.
I mean, why would you ask me something that's so obvious?
Answer the question.
Just so you can get a... Dude, you already know the
answer. That you got
obviously got what? No, you're asking something so basic.
Hold on. This is exactly what people do when they know that they're backed in their corner. Answer the fucking question. Answer it.
Obviously, if you're going to approach someone and you're not all stumbling and shit, that's obviously the position you want to be in. You want to be appearing.
And that's where game comes in, because the vast majority of guys are going to go up to the girl completely.
So how's game going to help you there? How's game going to help you in that situation?
It helps you feel like a more confident.
Not being nervous is having game, right? That's what you're saying.
That's definitely part of it, or being less nervous, having the courage.
You're going to change your biological, brain and your sensory to pretend that you're not going to be nervous.
What sensory things are we changing? What are you talking about? What are you referring to? Tell me the exact sensory.
If a guy is going to go up to a chick and he sees her and she doesn't really show any interest or even looks at him or whatever, he already instinctively knows in his mind, shit, okay, she could probably she's going to reject me because I'm already sensing that she doesn't really care if she's there for some other reason, whatever. It's like your mind's already telling you, don't do it. You're going to look like an idiot if you go up there and then you're hanging out at this place and you have friends there and other people are there and they see that. It's like these guys that go up to these girls in these clubs. It's like they don't understand they're ruining the reputation because they see that because these women go back to the club, and he goes back to the club. They're gonna remember that guy, the creepy guy that came over to my friend. You see, you guys don't even care about any of that stuff. And you're going up to all these people like, oh, I have 1,000 whatever bodies and all this shit. Yeah,
Dude,
your reputation is totally fucked.
That's the problem.
Your
That's
reputation
the problem.
is totally
It's fear of rejection. The entire point of what these guys try to teach
so
is to
it's
teach
understanding
you
what you can get.
No. They try to teach you to turn that fucking that voice off in your head that tells you you can't do it. Right? Don't you think there's some utility in that of you actually going after the things you want and not letting the voice inside of your head like stopping you from doing?
It's not being delusional and knowing what you can get. If you're just going up to any random chick because she happens to be hot at the bar.
Does your brain and your mind sometimes lie to you and self-sabotage you? Yes or no?
A lot, obviously. Yeah.
So this is one of those situations, right? How do you know that you're being completely rational here, and then your feelings that like, oh my God, I don't want to disturb this girl, I'm going to look like an idiot. How do you know that that's not just you self-sabotaging yourself and that's not actually based in reality at all? How do you know that?
Because mainly in that situation, I pretty much know my worth, and I'm not going to be going up like a dog and trying to go after all these women when I know for a fact
We're not approaching any women.
If that's going to happen,
approach you. You've already laid out your dating strategy. Women are the gatekeepers because of Evo Psych, but also they're the ones who have to be pursuing. So basically, men are like passive arm candies for women.
It's not that they're pursuing like the men are in the game. They're letting you're asking they're asking questions of interest.
Blackpiller's kind of feminist. There's a little giga chad. Like you guys are basically just saying like men, all you really need to be is like a little bit handsome, and like the women, they'll take care of you, baby, which is kind of cool.
I had this conversation with Lasagna. We had this whole issue. This guy called Lasagna, and I was trying to explain to him look, what's the best position you can possibly be if you're going to go out there and do this stuff. The best position for a man to be in would be for the women to show some sort of interest initially, so that he can just carry on and do his thing. If he has to be the one to go up there and get rejected by in front of his friends, in front of all these people, that is just going to diminish his,
he's
the way
never going to recover, because men are weak. They're weak and sad, and they can never pick themselves up from rejection, right?
You're not understanding. I'm saying if you believe the delusion that you can go up to any of these girls and pick them up, and you keep getting rejected, that guy, his psyche is going to get fractured over time. Something's going to happen.
What if you get lucky? What if you get one of these broken women, and she's like a 9, and she's broken, and she's like, you know what? I'll go for a 5.
At this point, bro.
Hasn't he won?
Why was this even? If we're going to talk serious here, you just want to troll. I mean,
I'm not even trolling. Literally, I'm using your logic against you at this point.
You don't understand my logic. You don't even know what the Blackpiller is. How do you understand my logic?
Because you don't have any logic that you're using. So
we also haven't defined
charisma. Don't even bring that.
Just laying that one out there.
Dude, you're just trying to troll. Don't even bring with that.
I'm not actually trolling. I'm
genuinely learn what the Blackpiller is. You want to learn? Ask a real question.
I'm using your logic that you've already outlined in this debate to basically say more or less this is the extent of what you're arguing for, is that men should allow women to passively come towards them. They basically just need to be a hot himbo, and women will osmose their way towards them.
No, again, you're exaggerating. Again, I said if there's any type of interest, as in she asks you a question, what do you do, whatever, and you see that there's some type of.
Why can't you ask her first?
Because I want to be. I want to be in the top position. I'm not going to be the first one to ask.
Wait, how is being the pursuer is always the top position?
No, it's not.
Of course it is.
It's the lowest position.
No, it
that's
means
what you
that.
Don't get. No, that's what you don't understand. That's why you ended up with a guy that's shorter than you. That's why you ended up with a dude that's shorter than you. This explains everything right here.
Look at nature. Who pursues, deer or lions?
Look, a real motherfucker is not going to be pursuing like that. A real guy is not going to be thirsty. A guy of high value is not going to be thirsty.
Who pursues, a lion or a deer?
Women are the ones that choose. This is how it comes out. I already
agreed with you that. I already granted you
the why you asking me that
argument. Because you're basically arguing that women have to show the indication first, and actually you're the alpha top dog if she comes to you first, indicating women are pursuing men and also gatekeeping, ?
They are the ones that select. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, women are the ones that put a guy in an instant category. She already knows in her mind whether or not she wants him as a fuck buddy. She already knows if she wants him as a long-term thing or short-term, or if she wants to marry the guy. They already, just like when she first sees him for that split second, she wants to have sex with him. You instinctively already know these things. But if a guy's going to go with game to change that,
How do they know
That
that?
is so slight. That's dude.
How do they
again,
know that?
Who's they?
You said as soon as women look at men, they know instantly whether they want to fuck them. How do they know that?
Yes, it's instinctual.
How?
You should already know this. We're speaking to a woman that doesn't even understand this simple concept.
Well,
I mean,
what instinct are you basing this off of? Are you using EvoPsych?
dude, a man or a woman, when they see each other for the first time, that instant understand, that knowing whether or not you're attracted to her happens within a split second. There ain't no, oh, let me talk to her and make sure. No, it's an instant. Do you like the way she looks? Do you like the way she's carrying stuff?
Sure,
Do you like
I already agreed with you with the prerequisite. Yeah, I already granted.
Why are you
the
asking?
prerequisite.
Why are you asking me that? Then, if you
Because I
already know
said
that?
the issue with the prerequisite argument is that there's a lot of exceptions, and it seems to be the case that particularly for women, they seem to select for things outside of looks a lot of the time. Number one, I would argue.
Really? Have you ever been on Tinder? Have you been on Tinder?
Of course, yeah.
So you're going to tell me Tinder is all about the fucking picture. You're going to tell me that women are not going after looks on Tinder. Are you out of, I mean, you see, this woman's
Of course, I'm not going to say that. Wait,
first time
what, are you going
woman
to try
that's
to argue? Are you going to try to
Unbelievable.
argue to me that Tinder is a good representative of regular life?
It proves the point. It's
It
all about
doesn't.
looks.
No, of
I
course
don't
not.
care about your fucking bio, man.
No, of
I
course
could
not.
care less about your bio.
No,
Just
this is the
the way she
problem
looks.
with Tinder is that it
why are
motivates
you
women
getting
to
so
be purely
emotional?
looks. Yeah, I don't know why you're getting so
Why do you
angry
think
with me.
Tinder is designed
I
the way
can
it is?
Wait, but
Why do you
the
think the
entire
ones that
time you've been
look good
talking
are
with
just
Alex
fine?
and Kevin and Denton, you haven't been getting emotional and angry. So why are you yelling at me?
Because you obviously don't know what you're talking about if you don't think the looks barrier is what the first admission is for a woman or a man to even want.
Sure. So let's go through the Tinder studies that you would probably argue proves hypergamy, correct?
Well, now we're talking about hypergamy. You said we're talking about the barrier of interest, which
Sure.
is
So let's look at the OK Cupid, where they would basically show that when women are like selecting through men, they basically select the top 20% attractive men, whereas men would typically select like kind of all of the
yeah.
place,
And
correct?
I mean, a
You're
lot
aware of that study?
where these studies, and I've also seen guys that do the catfishing thing. They go onto Giga Chad,
Sure.
and the Giga
So,
Chad is
hold on,
totally
hold on,
disrespectful.
hold on.
The
You're
woman
derailing
still
again.
wants to have sex.
Hold
No,
on,
you're not letting me
derailing.
finish.
No,
I'm saying
it's because you're
this is
going
a
down a pathway
proven
that doesn't matter.
statistic. It's a
So-
proven statistic. If a very high value dude looks good, everything is on there. He can get away with
Sure.
whatever. It doesn't
Sure.
matter what he tells her.
Sure.
And she's still gonna have sex with him.
Is social media a good representation of normal life in
It's a
person?
good metric to see what the majority is. Yeah.
No, of course not. Of course it's not.
Dude, if the majority of people are showing you these metrics that good-looking people
How
are going
does-
after the top
How
10%.
does Tinder, where you swipe through people's faces, in any way map on to like being at a gym together or being at like rock climbing
the
or in
looks.
class
The
together?
gym proves looks. If you're going to the gym and meeting people at the gym because you
No,
think I'm
I
like the hot chick.
understand you're engaging in motivated thinking, right? I understand that you're saying like, see, it proves my point. What I'm outlining to you is the issue with this study is that it doesn't generalize very well. So one of the methodological issues with the OkCupid study is that it doesn't generalize well to regular dating, especially IRL dating, because typically it seems to be the case for specifically women. Most women don't select through men IRL based on their face. In fact, men tend to do this
Really?
a little bit more IRL.
Really?
Absolutely not.
So the looks don't matter whatsoever.
No
what you
one
said.
argued this.
You just said that it's not based on their face, and that's what it's all about.
No, that's not at all. I've already granted you multiple times that looks is a prerequisite. Of course, looks matter.
Okay, so go back to the part. Go back to the part that's swiping, and you're saying the face or whatever. Go back to that part.
You want me to re-explain why the study doesn't generalize?
No. I'm just saying. A few 30 seconds ago, you were talking about the face and the Tinder and the swiping. Keep going on that.
So I outlined to you that the swiping on this, the issue with Tinder is that it doesn't map on well to dating IRL because it is not in any way similar. This is the problem with lab studies, for example. If say you have a bunch of people in a lab and you present to them a bunch of experiences and then you try to say, well, if you make this sort of experience happen to people, they'll react like this. The problem is that labs don't map onto real life very well. And Tinder doesn't map onto real life very well. Women distinctly seem to select for a lot of other things outside of charisma, outside of looks, which is why, for example, so many men who are like decently okay looking end up with extremely attractive women all the time. This happens all the time.
All the time.
Of course, yes.
So you have a
Absolutely.
billion different examples of this, of ugly men being with really hot women.
Probably thousands of
You see,
examples
the
of this.
exception to the rule
Absolutely.
does not fit the majority.
There seems to be so many.
What about all the guys who are 5'1", between 5'1" and 5'5", who can't even get a date? They go on Tinder, they get no ever, nothing.
Yeah, it's super
So
awful.
explain
Because I
that. So
already
explain that.
agreed No, I already agreed that there's a prerequisite. The issue is that typically, if a guy, for example, you already granted us that if a guy's 5'1", but has loads of money and she's actually selecting for money, she'll go for him, even if she's tall, because that works out for her.
No, we're
or
talking
for
about guys that
example,
do
if a
nothing.
woman is selecting for a long-term partner, she's probably going to select for a lot of other things outside of his looks. Of course, she wants to be attracted. That will be a prerequisite, but I imagine that she's willing to flex up or down from her attractivity based on other things like stability, things that he offers as far as like making her feel safe, making her feel cared for, pursuing her, making her feel desirable, right? This is what a woman who, for example, wants a long-term relationship is going to select for. If she just wants to fuck, she'll probably just select for looks.
Well, you just said it right there. But in the end, that's a big part of it. I mean, he has to be so much in the other side to have, again, like you said, so much money, so much charisma, all these other traits that make up for the looks. But
No one said anything about money.
He needs to peacock probably in some way to stand out, for sure. But you can peacock in lots of ways. You can be charismatic. You can be super gifted at music. There's a classic example of the
you know what the guys on Blackpiller tell me? Oh, just be super gifted at music, bro. Just be this. Just be an actor. Just be
no. You
a rock
peacock
star.
in some way. There's a million ways to be a peacock.
We're going around in circles again. We're just saying the barrier of interest. The initial thing is the looks. If the looks is not there,
prerequisite
not to say that it doesn't happen. Like you said, there could be people, an ugly guy that happens to be with a girl. Well, let's analyze that situation and see why.
Ugly broke artist. We all know that some guy shows up at a party. He's got a fucking guitar. He sings Wonderwall twice, and he's not even that attractive, and he slays.
He slays. What's your definition of slay?
He gets lots of women that are interested in him.
Lots of women. How many women is he getting? How many women is he getting?
What? In what world do you want me to give a number
when you
for
say
a
the guy is slain.
Sure, I'll give you a random number for a hypothetical. 12.
No, you just said slain.
Yeah.
So I want to know. I want to know in your mind what is the guy that slays? What exactly is he doing exactly? How many women is he getting with?
I'll give you a number. He gets 12 women interested in him. He gets 12 women's number in one night.
In one night. Okay, so it's a guy that gets 12 numbers, and he goes up there playing Wonderwall. He might sound good, and all of a sudden, all these women are lined up, ready to have sex with him. Again,
Absolutely.
It's a hypothetical thing. You're not saying what type of women are going up to him. You're not giving all the details.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Of course not.
Okay, what if all these women were Landwells?
Are they?
I'm asking you. You're not filling in the gaps.
Sure,
You're giving a hypothetical without explaining all the
situation. Do you understand the purpose of a hypothetical in a debate? Do you understand the purpose?
If it doesn't have the detail to actually prove a point, then it's bullshit.
No, that's not what hypotheticals are for. They're for testing the extent of your position. That's what hypotheticals are for.
But you have to back it up with all the information.
No,
you can't.
That is not how hypotheticals are used.
You're not giving enough variables. You're just saying X and X.
Go to real life.
So it must be this way.
Have you ever been to a concert?
Of course.
Have you ever been to like a kind of a low end concert? So it's like a local pub. So it's not like a big famous person. It's just like some random schmuck who's good.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You've been to those? Do you notice how after the guy plays, he often does really well with women? They often approach him.
Again, is this dude overweight? Is he ugly? Does he look decent?
Let's assume he's like pretty mid. There's like a 5.
Then it could happen because he's going by status. He's going by, okay, at least.
Matter outside of women will select outside of looks.
Again, it's not the norm. It's like these guys are going to tell you, the black pill guys, you say it to a black pill guy, he's going to be like, well, just be, a rock star, bro. So all these things you come up with, it's like they're just simply trying to find a genuine, a relationship without having to be all this, having to have all the status or being a rock star, whatever it is.
Without having to actually talk to girls. Let's get back to my relationship.
No, see, now you're bullshitting right there. Obviously, you have to.
Wait, I can prove right now that game exists. I can prove right now that game exists.
Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Just accepting all of your premises and stuff of just the girl needs.
Okay, so being a rock star is game. Being a rock star is game. Right?
That's not what I'm saying. Let me ask you this. I'm going to prove game exists right now. Hot girl walks up to you, say, "Hey, I find you attractive." What do you say?
Cool. Let's hang out. If I like her, I'll be like, all right, I want to get to know you more. And that's it. I don't have to do shit. Nothing. She's already attracted to me. Just like we had the whole argument about the seduction. You cannot seduce a woman that is not attracted to you. All right.
Do you think there's better responses than "cool, let's hang out"?
Why would I care?
What do you do after that? No. What do you do after that? Cool. Let's hang out. Okay, let's hang out.
I let her.
Scenario. What happens next?
I let her chase. Once she put herself in that position, it already lets me know she's going to want to get more to know me more.
Okay, so she chases, and you're the one that's being pursued, right? But you still have to respond to what she says.
Yeah.
So after that, you say, "Let's hang out." They say, "Cool, let's hang out." She says, "Okay, cool, let's hang out." What do you say next?
Are you serious? Dude, she's already in the submissive position. I could be like, okay, let's go check out whatever, a coffee or whatever. And at that point, you can say whatever you want. I already got validation.
Check out a coffee, even though in this scenario, you guys are at a bar.
Well, you didn't say that. I'm just saying.
I thought I did. Apologies. Okay, let's say that you guys are at a bar.
Okay, if you're at a bar, hang out with her, see if she's not some crazy bitch, and then if everything's cool, be like, hey, let's go, come hang out at my place. Even then, sometimes I wouldn't even be that thirsty because I don't want to show that type of thirst. I want to be like, okay, I know she's attracted to me. Let me at least get the phone number and see what's going on. If I want to, be like, all right, I'm going to smash her. I'm going to actually respect her. If I see that she's not one of these, hoes or whatever, she's actually a decent girl, I'm not going to fuck her on the first night. If she is that type of girl, then I'll take advantage. Like, okay, I'm not
take advantage.
Like
that's a little predatory.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on a second. You notice how in that whole scenario you were strategizing about what you should do given the scenario and given.
No, I'm not strategizing. I'm saying who am I dealing with?
Just strategizing. It was like, what would I want to do? I shouldn't do this. I should do this. That's what we call game. There is a strategy. There's a better way to do things and a worse way to do things. And you
oh my god, dude, she's coming to me. There ain't no fucking game. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, dude? That doesn't even make sense. If she's saying
there's still a way to fuck it up for sure.
How?
Say, oh, cool. Let's hang out. Let's go to a coffee shop. How the hell does that make any sense?
No. That you said you laid out the scenario. I said, "What's the scenario?" And I just said, "Okay." I didn't know you already said we're in the club.
Stop clicking your thing.
Yeah, someone keeps on.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm sorry, you didn't properly display the scenario properly. I didn't know you said we're at a club already. If we're at a club already, and I see that she is a genuine chick, I'm gonna treat her as such. But if I see she's a hoe or whatever, and I still want to, get with that, and, I already know that's going to be a one-night stand or whatever, then I'm not going to, treat her the same way. That's it. I mean, if you want to call that strategy, whatever, I'm just know what you're dealing with, and that's really all. I mean, but you want to categorize everything.
Hold on. Would you say that inviting her to a coffee shop, for example, would be a dumb move if you guys are already at a bar?
Dude. The reason I said that is because you never said that we were at a bar.
No. I'm saying, do you think it's a dumb move? I think you think it's a dumb move, right? I'm not saying that you would do that, but do you acknowledge that that's a dumb move?
I'm saying if I get the number at the club that night and I want to meet her up and she's a good girl and I respect her, then the coffee thing on a different day would not be a bad idea. And then we can go after that. We can maybe get something to eat, whatever, and see.
Sure. But in the moment, if you say, hey, yeah, let's go get some coffee, do you think that's a bad move? Yes or no?
Why would it be a bad move? I don't understand what you're...
No. You guys are at a club, right? She comes up to you, says, "Hey, I think you're attractive." You say,
"You're not going to be getting coffee right then and there." What the fuck are you talking about?
Of course not. That's my point. But there are some guys who.
That's your argument.
Really? Hold on. You just acknowledge that there's a better strategy and a worse strategy. A bad strategy is saying, "Hey, let's go get coffee." Right? A better strategy is whatever you just said. I wouldn't say it's the best strategy, but it's better than saying, "Hey, let's."
I mean, the only
there are some guys. Hold on. There are some guys who are so socially uncalibrated that they will ask her. They will ask her for coffee there because they saw it in a movie somewhere.
I mean, there is a situation for that. If let's say you're both pretty drunk and you still want to carry on, the night and say, "Hey, let's get some coffee to get a little bit more sober."
You can't even acknowledge that there's some strategies that are better than others.
What the hypothetical is.
I'm just telling you, depending on the situation, that could happen. But if it's just like, let's go get coffee for the fuck of it, that's stupid.
You are with a girl at a bar. She's down to go home with you. You have two options. One is to be like, hey, let's go to a coffee shop at like fucking 2 a.m. The other option is like, hey, let's go back to my place. That's what he's saying. One of those is a better strategy than the other one. You just said, why the fuck would you get coffee, right, when you spurred out? So that implies that you think the coffee thing is a worse strategy in that situation.
It's an idiotic strategy, and he's trying to use something.
There's a lot of guys who are idiots with girls. That's like most of the guys that like Denton and Alex try to help.
See, this is how I know this debate's already over, because if you're going after nitpicking after that stupid shit when you didn't say that we're in a club, and I said, okay, the coffee thing, that was assuming we already met up and all that. If that's your argument, you've already lost. All right.
No,
You've already lost.
That's so funny that you think that you're winning anything in this debate.
Yeah. Dude,
No, the fact you have to use that and not ask me a real question and ask me real things, you know.
The fact that you can't acknowledge that there's some strategies that are better than others shows that you're just an
Dude, life is about that. What? And it's not fucking game. You keep saying, well, this and that. What does that have to do with game?
There's some better dating strategies and there's some worse dating strategies. That's it. There's some better dating strategies. There's some worse dating strategies. Guys like Alex and Denton teach you how to do better, use better dating strategies and avoid bad dating strategies. There's game for you.
Right. And you're supposedly doing that, not knowing what type of girl you're dealing with, not knowing anything about the situation, just going up there in hopes that because I got my hair cut.
No, hold on. The situation here is the girl pursues you.
Hypothetical. In this example, the girl has pursued you. You are with this girl at a bar at like midnight or 2 a.m. or whatever, and you have two options, right? The first option is take her to a coffee shop, which you just said is like, why the fuck would you do that? The other option is take her home. Can we acknowledge that taking her home in that example is a better strategy?
If I respect her, I probably wouldn't take her home the first night.
Okay, let's assume she's one of your mythical sluts, a girl that you want to fuck.
Look at Kevin. Kevin doesn't even. That's how I know this motherfucker's thirsty as hell. You can't even retain yourself.
Stop deflecting.
What if she wants to fuck you and you want to fuck her?
Stop deflecting.
How are you disrespecting?
Wait, Kevin, let me just.
Because I'm not that easy, motherfucker. I'm gonna flip it on her. If I know I already got her, if I know I already got her, I'm gonna take that higher.
That night.
I'm gonna take that. I'm not thirsty like you are, man. That's why she's more attracted to me. That's why a woman will always be more attracted to me just by them knowing that. And you're that thirsty guy, you automatically get put down.
Right. I'm sure all girls are much more attracted to you than they are to me. Wait, hold on. Wait, please. This is important. Okay, hold on. Shit, I forgot my train of thought.
Let me just take over. Okay,
my bad.
Once again, Scribe, without any deflection. In that situation, you're with one of these sluts, a girl that you want to take home and fuck that person.
A slut? You just said a slut.
Yes, that's what I said. I'm using your language.
No, I never, dude. I said if she's a good girl, I'm gonna respect her. If she's a slut, then obviously I'm not gonna respect her.
Okay, fine. It's a chick that you don't respect. She's a slut. You're at a bar with her. You want to get laid. It's 2 a.m. You can either invite her out for coffee at 2 a.m. or invite her back to your place. You said, why the fuck would you take her out?
No, I would. If she's a slut and I'm horny that night, I'll take her back that night because I know that's what she's worth.
Okay, so that would be a better strategy than taking her out to coffee at 2 a.m., right?
Holy crap, man. You don't even understand the analogy. That was a misunderstanding at first. I said the only way that would ever happen is if we want to, if we're drunk and we want to get sober, that would be an option.
We moved past that like 20 minutes ago. We're not talking about that anymore.
Why you bring up the coffee shit? Why you bring up the coffee stuff?
Hold on. Wait. We talked about this literally like 30 seconds ago where you acknowledged that if the girl wants to have sex with you, but you don't because you think that she's trash if she does, and then you're just like not going to like try to take her back to your place that night, right?
No, I said that if I respect her and I want to get to know her more and I want to be one of these thirsty guys that tries to get in her pants the first fucking night.
Okay. So you respect her, you want to know her more, but she wants some dick that night and you're just being a simp, so you go home and then she ends up fucking some other dude instead.
You see, you don't know the difference between you having bad game, brother. You don't fucking know the difference between. That's what we call about having bad game. You don't know the difference between only bitch that wants dick that night is gonna be the hoe. Any respectable woman that has any dignity or respect for herself will not fuck you in the. Hold on. You're assuming a lot of different things. How do you that type of girl? No, she could be very respectable, very cool, whatever. But she also wants dick that night. Hold on. She might be very cool, very respectable. She also wants dick that night, and you just assumed because I don't know. Maybe you watch too many Disney movies and stuff. Oh my god, this is the girl for me. Whatever. Dude, this is opposite. Hold on. Disney is like you wanting to do the game and get and be horny and thirst.
Quiet. I let you talk.
Let me put more words in my mouth.
Hold on. Okay. So you're just assuming all these different things about her. But what if you were wrong? Your intuition, whatever is wrong. She just wants to fuck that night. So then you go back home being like, oh, I can't wait to have coffee with this girl tomorrow. Meanwhile, that night she just
Kevin, you don't.
Hold on.
Okay. I heard.
Quiet.
Let me explain. Go ahead.
Quiet.
Go ahead.
And then as soon as you leave the club, right? Because you're thinking again, please don't interrupt me. You're thinking, oh, I can't wait to meet up with her tomorrow. She's such a good girl. Meanwhile, that night she finds the next guy that she's more attracted to and she fucks that guy, right? You in that scenario is somebody who has terrible game.
No, this is the part you don't understand. If that happens, that means she's a hoe. Okay, the likelihood of her doing that.
She's a hoe that fucked some other guy and didn't fuck you.
And if she wants that, and let's say at the with your example that's the exception. Okay, she's a good girl, but she really wants to for some reason have sex with you that same night, the same night you meet her. The guy that will be like, you know what, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna go, but I'll call you tomorrow, whatever. If you have enough fucking self-worth to do that, which most 99% of men aren't going to do that because they're horny motherfuckers, she's going to be more attracted to you. You understand that? You understand this dynamic? Because you're saying I'm better than you. You understand that?
No,
you're saying I'm better than her, therefore she has to work more to get me to fuck her.
Okay.
This dynamic you don't get.
She went to the club that night because she just had a breakup or whatever. She's looking for some dick, right? She might be like, this guy's great. Also, I'm horny. No, this guy doesn't want to fuck me, so I'm going to fuck some other guy instead. So you just self-sabotage.
You don't know how to distinguish women. That's your issue. That's both you guys' issue. You don't understand who you're dealing with. Therefore, you use the same strategies on different girls and wonder why it doesn't work.
Classic Scribe deflection. Let's let Natty speak because she's been waiting. Wait, Erudite, can I just let Natty speak for a few minutes?
Ask any of these girls if I'm wrong about that. If a guy isn't so thirsty that he wants to fuck you the first night, he's like, you know what? I want to get
in this scenario, the girl comes up to you first.
Yeah, you already said that
I find you attractive.
Yeah, you already said it's based when a guy gets pursued by a woman. So she's actually setting the terms because typically the pursuer is the one that sets the terms.
She can set the terms, but I'm saying that if I bow down to those terms, it puts me at a lower, in her eyes, it's going to put me at a lower scale to where if you're a real man, you command when you want to fuck, when you want to go out, what restaurant you want to go to, what you're going to put your money on. You're the man, right? If you allow a woman to sway your opinion on what you should do, then you're not a man. And that's what Kevin and Alex don't understand because they're not fucking men. They don't understand what their value is and what they can get away with.
I'm sorry.
They say we're not men.
We gotta let Natty go.
I can vouch for Alex being a man. I can vouch for Alex being a man.
Well, they say we're not men, and we're the ones that actually willing to show our faces.
Let's bring Natty into the picture. So Natty's my girlfriend, if you haven't figured it out. So Natty, Scribe believes that there's something shady going on behind the scenes. He believes that, I'm either giving you some kind of free clout or giving you money. What exactly do you think is going on behind the scenes? Because you can ask my girlfriend live on air.
Okay.
What type of money? You're one of the cheapest people I've met. Like, honestly, for you to even get me sushi, it's like a fucking nightmare. So, like, there's no money behind this relationship because if it were, I want to see where it's at. Please. The other one, it's cloud.
She's not a public figure. She doesn't have a YouTube. Her Instagram is set on private. Yeah, she doesn't have any of that shit. So what exactly do you think is going on behind?
So let me ask you. So Natty, so he's saying that you're in an open relationship that only he can actually go out and bang girls whenever he wants to, and you have to stay, loyal to him.
Yes.
Is that the case? That's the case.
That's
so it's
how
okay.
our relationship works.
Okay, so you're fine with that. So you don't go out with any other guys. You only stay with him.
I don't.
Right?
No. Nor have I done that since we started dating. Okay,
so for you to accept that, there must be qualities about him that are so beyond any other guy you can get, unless you like him going out there fucking other bitches. There must be something so special about this guy that you'll put up with that shit. What is it?
Why people assume that it's just me accepting them? Why can't I just be okay with that and even promote it?
Because it means you have no value at all.
Why does that say that I have no value? Why is the value?
Because you're saying that he's a cheap motherfucker. He can't even buy sushi. He doesn't do anything. He's not the guy I really want. But yet I'm still with him, and it's okay. He goes out and bangs other women.
I am the guy that she really wants.
When I say like he doesn't.
Yeah, she's just saying. Yeah, I am the guy she really wants. She's just saying there's no money.
I'm trying to find out what the positive traits are.
Just me like joking around. Of course, like when we go out, he sometimes invites me and I sometimes invite him, like any normal relationship.
Well, the positive traits are. I mean, I know you think that I'm like a predator or something like that, but I'm extremely confident, charismatic. I fuck really well. I'm really supportive. Overall, I'm a great guy. I don't know. There's many things that are positive about me, but you think none of those things matter because
that's you. I don't want to know about from your perspective. I want to know her perspective. What makes her in her eyes that value?
Why are you assuming that it's just me taking in and accepting things, right? Why can't I just be the type of person who?
Maddie, he's asking, what do you like about me?
Well, first of all, I want to set clear that it's not something that it's been imposed on me. I'm in a one-way open relationship because I honestly am not a promiscuous person. And two, I'm the type of person who believes that everyone has the freedom to do whatever they want as long as you're honest. So that's why we're in a one-way open relationship. Two, what do I like about Alex? There are many things. I like that he's honest. I like that he's a transparent guy. I like that he's fun. I have a lot of fun with him. And I also think the chemistry, we have great chemistry.
Okay, so you don't, in your mind, you don't have any future like, oh, I want to eventually take this, to a more serious thing and maybe marriage and all that. So none of these things come to your mind, right?
But why are you assuming we're not very serious? We're highly committed.
I'm asking you. So do you have?
We're very serious about each other. If I wasn't serious about Alex, why would I be in a relationship with him in the first place? Why would I give up other options if I wasn't?
No, I'm asking you. Do you want, eventually, do you want him to stop going out and doing the game and be with you and all that?
He can do whatever he wants. I'm not someone who's here like in a hoping game. No, I don't really care. It's his decision whether he wants to continue doing game.
Okay, how many relationships have you had in your lifetime? Real quick.
With counting Alex, I had 3 relationships.
3. Then did the other 3? I'm sorry, 2. Did the other 2, were they all open relationships or were they?
The other 2, no, they were not open relationships because how we started was completely different.
Okay, so with those 2, it was okay if they cheat on you as well?
It's not cheating.
Oh yeah, hang on, it's not cheating. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not
Cheating
cheating.
is when you break the rules of the relationship.
We have rules in our relationship, so that's not cheating.
So what made it different with Alex? I assume the other 2 guys weren't dating coaches, right? For a living.
No, they were not.
Okay, so to put up with this, you're saying that he's.
Why you continue saying that I'm putting?
You're just inflicting your own ethics on Natty right now. You're saying, well, if I was dating this and so, I wouldn't want them to go out and do this and that. So you're just assuming your ethics apply to Natty, which they don't.
No. I'm saying there are men that have multiple women that those women would rather do that because he's such a high tier guy that he's very rare. But you're not. You're like sub 5. So I'm trying to figure out what is it about you?
But it's just like
Whose game exists then? If Alex is a sub 5 and he gets any amount of women, what is it that gets him that amount of women?
That's a good point,
He's accepting it. I'm saying.
So let's just assume
I'm not accepting them because I'm completely on board with it.
Let's just assume I'm a sub 5. Okay, like Scribe says. But yet I am in a one-way open relationship. So how do you reconcile those 2 things? Because
it's not a real relationship, bro. It's like unless you had all these girls coming after you, they want to be with you, and yes, they don't like you cheating, but that's all they can. That's the other guys they just don't like them.
Why is it not a real relationship?
How can that ever be a long-term relationship?
Hold on.
If you're not on that top tier and you're at sub 5,
keeps derailing, and you guys keep biting on it. It's really this simple. Alex, how many women have you slept with in your life?
I don't know, 300, 400.
Okay. So Alex is a sub 5. That means that on an attractiveness scale, he's 5 or lower. Explain to me how that's possible, Scribe, if he is like by definition ugly, by your own definition, he's ugly.
Wait.
And yet he slept with 300 women. Please tell me how that's possible.
I'm sorry.
Delusional.
But to the
he's
people
delusional.
I want papers,
So he's delusional. Therefore, he slept with 300 women.
So
I'm saying he doesn't understand what it means to have a real relationship. He doesn't understand what it means to.
As opposed to you definitely do, right?
Wait, what do you think is better, Scribe? Do you think it's better for the guy to be in a relationship where he can only have sex with the girl that he's seeing? Or do you think it's better for the guy to be in a relationship where he can have sex with other girls? Which one of those do you think is more appealing? And which one of those do you think is more
you're preaching to the choir. I mean, that's the reason why in my case, I never, I've had women that want to marry and all that stuff, and I just can't, since I'm in that position where I can get more girls, it's like, do I settle down or do I just keep going? The answer is always keep going. It's the same situation with Leo, where once the girl gets 25, he's going for the next 18-year-old, supermodel.
All right, Scribe. So if
he
I
knows,
have
he knows his value, and he knows that these girls would be okay with him cheating and all this stuff. But you're not that guy, and you're trying to say,
hang on,
Are
hang on.
you
Scribe.
that guy? Are you that guy?
Wait, hang on, Kevin. Please let me finish.
well, I'm closer than he is. I can tell him that.
I'm sure you are, Scribe. So if I have the kind of relationship that you want, why is it not a real relationship? You
It has
just
to be
said
mutual. It has to be mutual.
What do you mean it has to be mutual?
Why? Why do they?
I think there has to be genuine. There has to be a genuine something there for it to go long term.
Okay, wait.
Wait, why do you assume there's not a genuine desire in our relationship?
Because unless you're Giga Chad and you got several women like you're claiming, I can see that working. But if you're in the position that you're in, how many guys in your position that look like you, that are like you, are dating multiple chicks and have a girl that is okay with him cheating and doing all this stuff?
Well, first of all, you keep using the word cheating. I'm not cheating. Cheating is when you break the terms of
Okay, he's going out with multiple girls and she's okay with it. He's having sex, How many dudes in your position do you see doing that?
I don't know, not that many. But if you're saying that this is the kind of like the relationship that is ideal, and you see proof right in front of you that I have this relationship, yet I'm a sub 5, then you have to go back and say, you know what? Maybe either one, Alex is not a sub 5, or two, what I thought about, looks being tied to a relationship. Maybe you don't have to be a Giga Chad to have a one-way open relationship. You have to change one of those positions because those two are not reconcilable.
There's a lot of variables. It depends on the quality of women. If you're dating land whales,
Okay, clearly Natty's not a land whale, so there goes that.
Okay, I want to say something because a lot of people are saying that I'm here for because I need a green card.
Yeah, Natty's a U.S. citizen.
I'm a U.S. and an EU citizen. I have
Well,
3 citizenships.
you're with him for some reason. You're with him for a reason.
I need him.
What reason do you think she's with me for?
First of all, she's not even with you in the camera. That already tells me,
Because
Hold up. Because she's not staying at my place at this very second, that means our relationship is not serious.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, not to interject, but he basically completely blew up his own worldview when he called you a sub 5. So if you guys want to keep circling the drain, I'm just getting a little tired of circling the drain.
I agree. I think this conversation,
he can't even say internally consistent. So it's just obviously Smash
this
doesn't
is the
believe in
most-
anything. If he thinks
is
that
the most
Alex is
insane
sub
logic.
5,
How do I not believe in anything?
300 women.
That's your
bring it on.
position. You got with a guy shorter than you. Therefore, you don't understand the higher tier guys and the higher tier women. Okay, so just because you don't understand it doesn't mean
just because you're attacking me now when I actually haven't really attacked you.
Oh, and you didn't attack me just now.
In what way did I attack you? I said that we're circling the drain and you're not being internally consistent. I didn't say that basically there's something broken about you because of your partner.
No,
See
you
how
just
these
said that
things
there's
are
something wrong with me because I said Alex is a sub 5. I'm like, well,
I said that your worldview is not internally consistent. You broke your own worldview with that statement. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. That means that the argument is
telling
kind
the
of
truth,
over. Yeah, but there's a
trying-
difference because now you're attacking Alex and his girlfriend, and now you're attacking me and my partner when I've just pointed out, dude, you're just not internally consistent. It's fine. Just read some books.
right.
Go
Saying
to the
that is not
drawing
attacking,
board.
right?
You
So your
got this.
definition of
I
attacking.
don't think any amount of books is going to help Scribe. Scribe.
You just don't understand. You just don't understand what attraction is. That's what's so funny. You're being probably played by her all this time, and you don't even know how to detect it. You're
What do
just
you
going
think-
with it because you think that.
What do you? Oh, okay.
Hold
Well,
on,
let's
hold on.
address this.
We're
I
just
need
going to
help
keep
now.
going. Smash TV, thank you so
Wait,
much for coming
Wait,
here.
no.
Wait.
Kevin.
No.
Right there,
no,
Kevin's
we should
defeated.
probably
Kevin's very
move on
defeated.
at some
What do you
point.
mean you're
Yeah.
Dude, I'm
Not
doing you a
defeated.
favor.
What do you think? What do you think?
Who
Natty's
here
saying?
thinks that Kevin that Smash TV came in and smashed us
let
and
me just
defeated our
address
arguments?
some of
I think
the-
he
No,
did
I wanna-
super
I wanna
well.
hear
And to
what-
be honest, I'm convinced. I'm a black pill now. I did it.
Yeah,
I
me too.
want to know
Scribe,
what
you are the
Scribe-
greatest debater I've
Wait,
ever
hang on,
met.
hang
I'll
on.
prevent it. She
Can we
accepted
move
it.
on to a different thing? If you guys want to fight about your relationship, we could do that in another
I
podcast or something.
I just want to know what I'm being played for.
I just want to address some things that he was saying, such as I was matching other guys. No, that has never happened since we started dating. 2, that Alex pays me money to be with him. No, he's never paid me a dime. Nor has he paid me for any of the videos I've done for him. I do them happily. 3, people saying that I'm here because I need the green card. I'm a US and EU citizen, so I don't need the green card. If anything, Alex needs me more in that sense, so I can give him the Spanish papers.
I don't give a shit about the Spanish papers. Scribe, what do you think? What do you think Natty's playing me for? Go ahead.
Well, you would know that. I'm not dating her. You would know that.
You're the one that made the claim. You said she is playing you.
So I have to head out soon. So if we're gonna keep going like bait maxing with this guy, I might have to dip just because like I
totally
don't care
agree. This is getting so old.
Scribe,
thank you so much for coming on.
Wait.
Maybe we can continue this conversation. Alex, please.
No. Before he goes, I want to see that info.
Yeah, Kevin knows I already won, so that's why he's trying to get me all this. That's okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
you
You just came in here and
definitely-
IQ mugged all of us. You're totally right. I'm terrified.
Dude, Alex is trying to. This is Alex's channel, and you're trying to kick me off. So I already know
Crushed
that you
it.
got.
I'm not
Giga
trying to
Chad.
kick you off.
There you go.
I'm not trying to kick you off, dude.
No, I said Kevin is.
I'm trying to
Kevin
kick
is.
him off. I'm trying to kick him off. His
Scribe,
200
Scribe,
IQ
this.
is just
No, Kevin,
mugging us, and
leave
I'm
him on for like
terrified.
another 10 minutes. Scribe, can I see that infield? You've had an hour and a half to find
Oh
it.
my god. Okay, I'm
Should
gonna
I?
go, you guys.
See ya.
Scribe, can we see that infield?
Alright, I haven't found it yet. I was looking for it. I mean, we can bring it up again. If we have another debate, I'll bring it up. I'll have it ready, prepared,
We'll do it
loaded.
next time.
It took you an hour and a half and you still can't find it?
No, stop looking for it. I wasn't even
I
going to
mean,
do that.
in fairness, he was being
I'm being-
dogpiled for like.
Yeah, I'm
an
being
hour and a
dogpiled.
half
So you
straight,
expect me to
yeah.
be doing that shit. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could that be because that infield doesn't exist and you just pulled it out of your ass?
Okay, if that's the case, and you have the balls to do another debate, I will bring it prepared, hand and ready.
I don't know, man. You kind of IQ mugged us here. I'm kind of scared to debate you again.
That's true.
I don't know.
Well, that's obvious,
You can
Kevin.
come on my
We're-
stream though sometime, and
You're,
we can.
you're the most formidable
you can blackpill
debate
me.
opponent I've ever had. So I don't know if
Dude, it shows, man. It's like Alex's. This is his
I know,
channel, and
right?
you're the one that's trying to kick me out. That's what's funny. Alex is cool. He's asking questions, and you're the one.
All
Oh
right.
man, yeah, that's it.
Who's next?
Dude, it's because I'm
we're-
scared of you, bro.
Rob, we're
You're
doing
one of the
streaming
smartest
right
people
now.
I've ever met. I'm
Thank you,
terrified of you, and that's why I have to ask you to lead because you're so smart
I appreciate
and
it.
you're
Thank
clearly
you.
more intelligent than all of us combined. So thank you so much for
Hey,
here, and
you
maybe
said
we
it.
can
You
do.
said it yourself. I'm not making that claim. You said it. So
It's true, man. I mean,
it's kind of
one
a
of the
bitch
smartest
move
people I've ever
because
met.
I thought Alex would be commanding the stream and not you, and this is his channel, and it's
Okay,
I
he's
said
just
as a
bait maxing again. Can we
disrespecting
just
him.
kick him? Like, just
I mean-
kick
I mean,
him.
Alex-
He's just
we're
bait
doing-
maxing.
Hang on. We're dual streaming right now, so it's dual streaming to his channel. Scribe,
Okay.
I will say this, my closing thoughts. I appreciate you for coming on. I think it takes balls to do stuff like that. I think you're insanely disgenuine. I think you lie out of your ass, but you know, at the very least, you have some balls, which is more than I can say about MGTOW Dictionary. So if you want to come on again, you're more than welcome. You can bring MD. I don't think he's going to do it because he's a little bitch, but if you can get him to do it, that'd be awesome.
I mean, you're trying to bait me right now. It's cool. You can say that. It's all good. I mean,
it would be
yes.
cool. It would be cool if you can find that infield because
I'll bring it, and dude, we'll analyze it.
Okay.
We'll look at it.
You just
and we'll let
literally
the
made
people.
that
We'll let
up.
the chat. We'll let the chat
Sounds
decide.
good. Sounds
you know.
good. We need to move on,
Bye.
Scribe. We need to move on, Scribe. But thank you so much. You're one of the smartest human beings I've ever met, and I've never
Appreciate
gotten
it, bro.
destroyed in a debate harder than I did in this debate.
Appreciate it,
You
man.
totally
you should have brought Coach
We're gonna
White.
call
though.
you
We're gonna
11
see it,
now.
You know.
11. L for 11.
All right, guys.
Bye. Have
All
a good
night.
night.
All right, you guys take care.
Go to church.
What's
Meet a
Scribe?
Christian lady who's a dwarf. All right.
What the
Why
fuck?
did you guys
Guys,
wanna
I've never gotten smashed that hard before.
Denton,
Wait, why did
you
you guys
woke
want
up.
Figuratively or literally.
get rid of him? I
I'd
thought
be
it
on a
was-
Because that was so painful by the end. He was just bait maxing you guys like hard and circling the drain.
Yeah.
My feelings are kind of hurt. I haven't. Oh God, that hurt. He's such a good debater. Shit.
I thought it was interesting how many like lies I caught him in. The infield doesn't exist. Spent an hour and a half looking for it. Oh, we got this infield. You following girl to a store. Okay, pull it up. Couldn't find it. Oh yeah, just give me 5 minutes. Couldn't find an hour and a half. We got that. Then he's got the oh, my girlfriend is using me and taking advantage of me. Okay, what is she using me for? Oh, I don't know. That's your situation. Oh, it's just like it's ridiculous how much bullshit like we just called that guy in.
I really do think he believes what he says, though. Like he's not. I think he could be like just honestly just a shithead, like pathological liar. But I think he does believe what he's saying. I just think that
agree.
when you invest so much time in believing something, it's kind of difficult to unhook yourself. Like if you spend like years being like this shit doesn't matter, and everybody else that doesn't believe this is an idiot, he based all his confidence on the belief that this is true. Like for him to believe this, he'd have to have a crumbling ego death. There's no way he's gonna like ever listen to any of us or actually listen to reason.
That's true.
Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. All right, let's bring. I guess let's go for another like maybe half an hour and bring on people who want to debate us. I was heavily entertained with that.
You just kept very like we were trying to stop it. You're like, wait, just one more thing. Just let me get this last punch in. Like,
dude, because
like okay, Alex, here you go. And then it's like, wait, just one more. Like,
well, that's because he was making personal claims about me that like my girlfriend is using me, that I'm a predator, right? That's a pretty strong one right there. But
not just you, like all dating coaches are predators.
It seems like his definition of predator.
I don't know if you
it seems like his definition of predator is anyone who goes out and talks to girls. That's a predator. Anyone who doesn't wait for the girl to talk to them is a predator. So he uses that word very, very loosely. That I have no.
I guess that means then that every guy that doesn't do that is prey, right? I guess if we're going off of that dynamic, that makes sense.
Well, my thing was like, if the girls that like it when you approach them are all sluts, does that make it less predatory, or is it still predatory because they don't know what's good for them? Is it kind of demeaning towards them? Is it like, they don't know what's good for themselves? So
we'll never know.
Also, he did the most predatory shit ever. He's like, oh, if I sense the girl is a slut, I take advantage of her.
I know. Yeah. Super cringe. Well, we never found out what charisma is, so good thing Denton's back. You can tell us, Charisma King.
Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna drop the link. Please only come on if you like want to keep it on topic. Like, don't be like, hey Alex, take a look at my Tinder photos. I'd be happy to do that any other time. But
do we want it to be specifically about the black pill?
No,
it can be anything.
It can be pretty open as long as it's not about John Anthony. Okay, we got a few guys backstage already. Yo, what up, Brad?
Yo, what's up, Alex? How's it going?
Pretty good.
So I want to say something first and then bring up a possible debate topic. So this is something I want to tell you, Alex, very respectfully. You have to get way better with your boundaries because that is 2 hours down the drain on a complete moron. So I was watching the chat, everybody was getting bored. They wanted him kicked off. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm a big fan of you. I say this with respect, but your boundaries seem very weak. He should have been kicked off in the first 20 or 30 minutes. This was a huge waste of time. So anyway.
Well, let me counter to that, Brad. And I don't take it personally. I know you're a fan of the channel. We've had discussions in the past, so I know you're making this statement from a place of good faith. We had 330 live viewers. Our viewers were higher during this than any other segment we have ever done as a group. So maybe there's a few people in the chat saying they're getting bored of it, but clearly the overwhelming majority seems to enjoy it. And I frankly enjoyed it as well. I found it quite interesting. So yeah, I mean, it's just your opinion.
I think it was good until the last maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And at that point, it just started to get a bit
Yeah, my viewers dropped pretty quickly after the last 30 minutes.
Dude, mine kept going up and up. Mine just kept going up and up and up. We hit 330 at speak.
Yeah,
I'm jumping back up already. I'm already back up.
That's what Scribe meant by you being a predator, Alex. Is you just siphon Erudite's viewers.
This has nothing to do with boundaries. This has everything to do with me providing entertainment for my audience and the kind of entertainment that the audience wants to see. If I was seeing the viewers drop, I would have cut it much earlier.
Okay, but how many? Oh, you're talking viewers on your side, right? Not from his side.
Yeah, from my side. I don't care about his side.
Okay, then. Well, yeah, I mean, I said my piece. I think the guy's a complete moron. But anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a complete moron too.
Yeah.
So what's the debate topic that you want to bring up?
So unless you guys want to debate something else, I'm open to debate anything, but you left it pretty open. So I would like to debate Fresh and Fit. I'm not a Fresh and Fit fanboy. I think I've said this before many times. I'm really a fan of anybody in the manosphere that I feel is trying to help men and just people in general. So I would toss it to you guys first. What is your main issues with Fresh and Fit? And I want to get to know your official position on them because it is confusing at times because sometimes I see you guys and other people kind of shitting on them, but then they kind of backpedal and they say, well, I agree with most of what they say. It's just some of the stuff they say. and it's kind of all over the place. So, what's your
I can
official
answer this.
position on them?
Yeah.
And do you think
So,
I should follow them?
We're all
Do
going
you
to have
think I should
different
not follow
answers,
them?
but yeah, we can.
we're going to have different answers, but I can give you mine. My answer is everything wrong with Fresh and Fit has to do with how they pedestalize Rollo Tomasi, and they use him as an example to justify all of their views that they already have, right? So if they got rid of the Rollo Tomasiisms, the rational maleisms within their show, I mean, in a way, it's going to kind of crush sort of a lot of the fundamental premises of their show. But if they got rid of that and it was purely just entertainment and that's it, and they only focused on fitness and finances and some of the dating stuff, and that's fine. That's really the main problem I have with them, and which is the reason why, right? I remember like 2021, people were making fun of me saying like, "Oh, I'm the Fresh and Fit hate channel." Once I sort of realized that the real problem is Rollo Tomasi, I haven't really made any. I don't think I've made any Fresh and Fit videos this entire year, actually, right? But I still have made videos on Rollo Tomasi because I found out that he's the actual problem. So,
Well, your
stop
content.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say your content has gotten better this year because you've been focusing more on original videos. You know, your channel used to just be an attack channel, and I don't have anything against you as a person, but your channel used to be an attack channel, and the content has recently gotten better because you've been doing street interviews on the Las Vegas Strip, and you know it's been interesting topics. Some of the videos, so it's gotten better in that way. I would agree.
Well, I appreciate that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with channels that primarily focus on, you know, as you put it, attacking. Especially if you're attacking bad ideas, then I think that's a good cause. So that's not the main reason, because I still attack bad ideas all the time. I still attack Rollo Tomasi more specifically. It's just that what I thought was the problem before, which was Fresh and Fit's ideology, I didn't realize how that was almost all of the bad parts of it was rooted in the rational male. And so once I realized that, I was like, well, why the hell am I attacking these bozos? I should be attacking the ideas within the rational male. And I still continue to do that. And because I can still continue to do that, Rollo still keeps dodging every single debate with me, even though he's the one that came after me first. But yeah, that's my answer on it. I think Fresh and Fit, if they just want to, you know, show a bunch of Miami hoes being silly, I mean, fine, whatever. It's more so when they start to try to explain why all women are like this based on what they read in the rational male. That's where I have a problem with them.
But even that statement right there, like, again, I'm not going to like defend everything they say. Like, nobody's perfect, and you know that's fine. Like, constructive criticism is fine, but it has to be fair, objective, and honest. And even that statement right there, I've seen plenty of their podcasts from beginning to finish, and I've never once heard them say all women are like this. They might say most women are like this, and you could disagree with that, but they've never once said every single woman.
So
like
hold on.
this.
So what about when they say things like men love idealistically, women love opportunistically? How am I supposed to perceive that?
Well, they're talking overall.
That's a blanket statement about all men, all women.
Okay, so first of all, they're talking overall, and second of all, you cannot, when you're doing a live show, and this is another problem as well. When you're doing, these guys go live like twice a day, 5 days a week, every single week. And when you're doing a live show like that, you're not always going to word things perfectly, and you can't always provide tons of context to everything you say. And if you have to understand too, a lot of the people who watch their show are regulars, so they've already heard the explanation in a past show, most likely. So
let me give my answer. Maybe it will add more to the picture. I actually wrote down 5 things that I don't like about Fresh and Fit. I think there's more, but these are like the 5 top of my head. And I made videos on this. Number 1, they give bad advice. Not all their advice is bad, but some of it is pretty bad. An example of this was when they were saying that if you got a girl back at your place and she's not putting out, it is because she's playing a game, and what you should do is call a different girl in front of her, or at least go in the other room but let her hear that. That is bad advice for several reasons. One, a lot of the time when a girl's not putting out, it's not because she's playing games, just because she doesn't feel comfortable enough, right? She needs a little bit more comfort, or she has an answer, concern, objection. And what you're going to do by calling another girl in front of her is just piss her off and have her storm out. So that is bad dating advice. And there's plenty more of this, but that's just the one example. The second thing is I think they are disgenuine. And there's several examples of this, but the biggest one is they're always
Can we do one at a time? Because
Sure.
if you go over all 5, it can get one at a time.
Sure.
So that one I think is actually pretty objective and fair on your part. I think you actually have a good point there.
Okay.
I will say this to be fair. I think it probably depends on the girl. Like when you do that kind of move, I'm sure some girls it would piss them off and they would leave, and some girls it would work on them.
Brad, but it would not work on the overarching majority of the girls. Yes, could I see 1, 2, 3% of girls that would work on? Sure. But the vast majority of girls, it would not work on. The vast majority of girls would get pissed off, think you're an asshole, and just storm out of your place.
Right. So I'm not necessarily going to like defend that advice. But one thing I was going to say is I suppose it would also depend on what type of guy you are, because some guys, if a girl is, being difficult at the place, they have the patience to run the long game. And other guys are just like, okay, she's being difficult. Like, all right, I'm out. So it depends. Like Myron obviously has a low tolerance to, I'm not saying that's good or bad, but he's admitted it himself. He has a low tolerance to that type of stuff. So
really quickly before we move on, I think it's important for us to get Denton and Kyla's opinion, especially Kyla's on Fresh and Fit, because she was, the legendary leather jacket girl. So I want to know what you guys think about.
But Kyla, I don't want to put you in an awkward position because I know you probably have like more collabs coming up. So if there's something you prefer not to say, that's totally understandable.
I guess so. One thing I would say for them, like to give them credit, is there's a lot of like the H3 also put out there that they like get girls drunk before the show. There was like none of that at all. So it's possible that they maybe did in the past and changed, but they were like pretty straight edge for the most part. Mostly we're just handing out water. You could request like a White Claw, but they were pretty clear that they'd only give you like one. And it was pretty intense when you first came in. But I would say, like, for example, like my interactions with Myron and Fresh, like they were actually really, really respectful. I think the biggest issue is they like lean on Evo Psych really hard. And it's a pretty weak field. Like it's not the most empirically sound field. And so they're making a lot of like pretty intense claims that are not super borne out in science. And I also think like, this is my main critique of them, which is essentially like they give dating advice that essentially like selects for women who are, in my view, most likely to be what I've redefined fatherless behavior as essentially like women who look at men as a wallet and only as a wallet. And the issues of the dating advice that they give these men is to become that wallet and then keep her anxious enough that she never leaves. And the reality is like, this isn't really a good dating strategy. And you're also telling men essentially how to get types of women that most of these men don't want to be in a relationship with anyways, because it's not a fulfilling relationship for one person to be a fleshlight and the other person to be a wallet. So that would be my biggest critique of their kind of dating advice.
Well, let me just comment on what you said. You're right. That is a recent thing because I've had multiple girls that have been on my podcast that have been on Fresh and Fit like 4 or 5 months ago that literally said, yeah, they would just like feed us alcohol. And I don't think they're doing it for like the purpose of like trying to bang them. I'm not making that claim. I think they're doing it because it's going to be more entertaining.
Okay, but this is another example. Like, who cares? These are grown women. Like, did they put a gun to their head and say, oh, you better drink this alcohol? Like, personal accountability, brother. Like, these are grown adults.
Yeah, I don't think it's illegal what they're doing. I don't think they should be punished for it.
No, it's not. It's not illegal, but it's almost. It's like, are these
it's a little.
kids?
But Brad, I do think it's a little disgenuine when you get a girl who's 18 years old, you get her drunk, and then you trigger the fuck out of her, and then she flips out, and then you kick her out, and then you're like, well, this is what all these bitches are. Like, I do think that's a little disgenuine. You set that up. You were very meticulous about setting that up. And it's like, I think, very ethically borderline doing shit like that.
The issues like when I was there, they weren't doing that. So like maybe they've done it in the past. I'm just like, there was none of that. Like literally none. They said, if you want alcohol, you can ask for it. But they weren't like.
Ben, did you want to say something?
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Good to see you, man.
What up, brother?
Yeah, Brad was actually shooting infield for me Monday.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been talking with him for a long time. So my thing is like, I don't absolutely agree with the ethics of them 110%. I would I be friends with them? I don't fucking know. Do they do some squirrely shit on occasion? Yeah. I didn't like what they did with Ab and Preach. That shit was a little bit wild when they started going after the guy's wife. However, I think that like for what helps one guy out doesn't help another guy out. So I've been coaching for a very long time, and I feel like sometimes people need different things. So where like somebody like us where we're at right now, we don't need Fresh and Fit. Like Fresh and Fit would be like a little like they're but for like a hardcore blue pillar who is not looking at girls in a very honest way, he might need to swing the pendulum and find his alternative. He might need to swing into the opposite direction and like get a little bit more realistic. Whereas somebody's a little more red pill needs to become a little bit more empathetic, or becoming a little bit more less victim oriented and more winner oriented. So everybody, like, even though it might not help us out where we are, it's probably helping out a lot of guys.
I understand that
it's
mentality,
definitely
but hold
helping out a lot
on,
of
Brad, wait. I understand that mentality, but couldn't you make the argument though that if you can go too far down the rabbit hole to the point where you can't get back up, that you become so ideologically driven by, especially these young impressionable men, right? Because let's be honest, within the red pill space, guys discover the red pill after something emotionally traumatic happened to them, whether it be a divorce, they got cheated on. That's usually the most common culprit. They are in a very emotional state where they can get manipulated in a way, or if somebody tells them certain things, they're very susceptible to joining an ideology, right? That's what happens with people who join cults, right?
Well,
Usually something bad happens to them, and then they offer a solution. Brad, hold on. So, yeah, no disrespect, Brad, but again,
good.
Okay, yeah. So, couldn't you make the argument that Fresh and Fit possibly are doing more harm than good, given that possibility?
Okay, so let's see.
No, I'm asking Den, not you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, what's that, Brad? Here, I'll let you get into this. All right, so here's my thinking about this. It's like, what if that guy didn't have that outlet? Would that guy become like the school shooter, or like the like people need like some form of like I think that they give a certain level of guys an outlet. Like just because it's not like the best answer, it's an answer. It gets them a little bit higher up, gives them a little bit more control. So there's this thing. It's Erudite probably knows what I'm talking about. It's like levels of transformation. It's what's the term for this? It's so when you're going through self-development, you have to go through stages of self-development, and you can't skip stages, and you have to go through them. Yes, you can get an ego stuck in one layer, and that's where the evil is of each layer. You get stuck in a spot. So you get stuck with like Fresh and Fit, and then you don't want to evolve and get an ego base, which is like the last guy we were on the phone call with. That guy got an ego based ideology, and he was stuck in it, and you can't convince that guy of anything else. That is definitely a fucking evil. But I mean, it's they're trying to move their way up the steps. They're trying to get to the top. I mean, just because it got stuck like at one step, it's a lot better than we were before. I feel like, even though I know that like, you know, you and Alex are not like, I love the both of you guys. You guys are fucking dope as all hell. But I'm a very open-minded person too. I'll put it that way. I understand where they're coming from. I understand how it could help out like guys that are stuck in the Disneyland view of relationships to another level, to help them out a little bit more, to make them a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that.
If they get stuck, and that's fucking them up. If they get stuck there and they don't want to keep evolving, that's fucked up. And that is evil. That's, you know, they're in the trenches. They're never going to get out. And they like the same way that the Blackpiller we just talked to. That guy's never going to get convinced that he's not right. There's nothing we could have said. We could have had empirical data, like sheets of it, like with stats.
Yeah, we could have Natty on the lie detector machine administered by 10 FBI agents, and then you'd be like, "Oh, bro, I'm like,
dude, I'm just about to start sending."
So hold on. So all of us, Alex and I especially, have really interacted with Fresh and Fit fans, especially back in 2021. They are exactly like Scribe, except, you know, supplant the things he talked about with like high value men this, high value men that. What do you mean?
Okay.
Like, what do you mean, dude?
No, because that was before you added like replace with this, and I thought you meant exactly.
No, they're not black. They're not black pilled, but they're still ideologically driven and very unreasonable to the point. It's like a different. It's the same symptoms. It's just like a different shade of it, right? Of what you just saw with Scribe, for example.
Okay.
Put aside the fact that Scribe clearly destroyed all of us, right? Just put that aside. Put that aside.
I want to say real quick. My favorite part was when, I mean, most of it was like super boring, but my favorite part was when he said that Alex is fucking all these hot girls only because he's desperate.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean,
So
that's
then-
just him
It
for
makes
the
no-
IT bugging us. But yeah,
it makes
let's
no
bring it back to the
fucking
fresh
sense.
and fit thing, though. All right.
Yeah.
So
let me
so-
just finish.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
I just want to go through like the points. So I said 5, so I gave the first one. So the second one is they punch down. So the only kind of people they debate is drunk 18-year-old girls. So for example, there was a stream where they were doing like hater calling, and Vegan Gains called in. Now Vegan Gains is quite a quirky guy, but he's a pretty good debater. I've debated him personally, and he called in and he made a very articulate argument about why one of the things they're saying is wrong. It was a very good argument, much better than anything that had been said so far. What do you think Myron did? Do you think Myron addressed it? Do you think he, addressed his critique? No, Myron put on like a fucking weird costume and started dancing like a weirdo and said, "This guy's a clown." Next. And then the producer was like, "Myron, do you want to like address what he's saying?" And Myron's like, "Nah, this guy has no idea how men and women work." Next. Like, that is extremely disgenuine shit. So they're always punching down. They never punch up, which I think is something you should strive for as a YouTuber. You're not going to see me I guess you could make the claim that me debating Scribe is punching down. But generally speaking, I don't try to punch down. Like, I'm open to debating people equal to me, above me. Like, I've debated Destiny, Vosh. I'm trying to debate Lawyer and Southern. I'd love to debate Ben Shapiro. I'm not punching down, but they only punch down. So that's my second issue with them. The third issue is
Can we do one by one? This is like a lot.
Hold on. Let's have him listed out first.
All right,
Because if we just do one-on-one, that's going to be like a whole hour. So Alex, keep going.
Okay. The third one is they set a bad example for men in certain ways. And the biggest one is with the kind of attitude you should have towards women who are being non-compliant. So this idea, and it's like permeating to my channel, is if a girl is like giving you any sass or like maybe teasing you or just giving you anything, the right decision is to be super confrontational and potentially kick her out. That is horrible advice for game. And do you notice that I have never once on my podcast had to kick a girl out, but they have to kick a girl out like literally twice a week?
But there was twice you should have.
In your opinion, Brad. But granted, let's just assume that I did kick those 2 girls out. That's still a fraction of the kickouts they're doing. There's a reason that girls disrespect specifically Myron, because they can sense that he's not the kind of guy that commands respect. He's the kind of guy that's super sensitive and takes everything personally. And those are the kind of guys that girls are going to push their bunts. They're not going to push the bunts of a guy who's just calm, chill, at ease. So I think they're setting a bad example when it comes to that and a few other things for young men. Number 4 is they encourage sugar daddy behavior. Myron says, "Oh, we want genuine burning desire." But at the same time, he says that women's sexual pleasure doesn't matter and resources is a big part of the equation. So if a woman's sexual pleasure doesn't matter, you're not fucking her well, and you're using your resources, what are you getting? Sugar daddy behavior. You're getting sugar babies. And that's something that I'm not in favor of. And the 5th one is actually really easy. They hacked my Instagram.
Oh, yeah. They hacked my Instagram, too. Fuck those guys. And they tried to copyright strike my channel. But then they failed at that. So, yeah, I forgot. All right, put the personal – I'm willing to – hopefully, maybe they've learned from their mistakes and they're nicer people now, right? Maybe they are. And honestly, if they are, then they should be commended for that. But also, you have to admit that you hacked my Instagram. Until you do, then fuck you guys. Okay, so I think we should bring one more person on. Are you, Brad? I'll let you respond in a second. But are you guys down to have like one more person on after Brad, and then we'll kind of cut it there?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Sure.
Okay. I'm having fun.
So, yeah. So Brad, you can say whatever based on what Alex is saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fans of all you guys, so I won't comment on number 5. So anyway, so yeah, let's go through it one by one. That was a lot. So the first one was what was the first one again?
Let me pull it up.
I think you guys discussed the first one already, but you had like 2, 3, and 4, whatever point 2, 3, and 4 is.
Yeah, the first one was gives bad advice. The second was punching down. Third one was setting a bad example. Fourth one was encouraging sugar daddy behavior.
Okay, but there is one thing I wanted to touch on that I think is very unfair that they get criticized a lot for is this idea that they're quote unquote getting girls drunk. When you're 18 or older, you're an adult and you make your own decisions. So they've never gotten girls drunk, quote unquote. You go to somebody's house, you're a guest, they have alcohol there. You make a decision as a grown adult to drink alcohol or not. Okay. So that's first of all. And then.
But let me respond to that, Brad.
Hold on. Didn't you guys already cover this a while ago?
Did we? I
Yes.
don't think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. Yeah. So let's move on to the next. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one was you were saying they give bad advice.
Yeah.
I think most of their advice
Sometimes.
is pretty good. Yeah, I think. Yeah, go.
Yeah, some of it is good, some of it is bad. I'm calling out the bad advice. Of course, they have some good advice.
Yeah, so I think most of it overall is pretty solid. I do think some of it is too extreme or could use more nuance. I will admit that. But even the example you gave where Myron's like, oh, her sexual pleasure doesn't matter. There was a podcast where I think it was a call-in show where somebody asked Myron about that. And they were like, dude, if you want to see the girl again, shouldn't you give her a good time in the bedroom? And then Myron realized his mistake. And he was like, oh, yeah. Okay, what I meant was if you don't like the girl, then whatever, just like bust a nut and go to bed. But if you do like her, you want to see her again, then yeah, like give her a good time, obviously. So that was Myron's fault for not clarifying the first time.
But Brad, do you really think he meant that, or did he realize?
Of course, bro. He's not. Come on, bro.
Dude, he thinks going down on a girl is beta.
Yeah,
ironically.
Okay. Did he really say this?
No, I swear to God, he's told me that personally. Me and Myron used to go out like back in the day before he started Fresh and Fit. He was a big fan of playing with fire. Yeah, he told me that personally. We had like a little quasi debate about it.
Okay, I completely disagree with him on that. So
yeah, I don't know. You might be right. I think it's him just trying to save face, but I can't prove that.
Yeah, well,
dude, if you go down on a girl and make her come, she's gonna realize how much of a simp you are of trying to like give her pleasure, and then she's gonna leave you for a high value man like Fresh. We all know that's the case. So that's just be careful, you know.
Yeah,
think about that next time you think that you're gonna be a simp and go down on a girl.
I mean, like I said, Myron. There is stuff I disagree with him on, and he does have a temper. His patience is low. He's admitted that. But overall, I think
I will give him credit. I will give him credit. He's gotten better with his patience, although there's still a lot of work to do on that front. I want to ask Kyler a question. So you're in a successful marriage. I'm assuming the reason for that is because your husband never went down on you, so you never thought he was a simp. So you were able to keep respect for him. But if he had made that crucial mistake, you would have realized that he's beta and submissive, and you would not be together with him, right? That's correct.
Yeah, the worse he treats me, the more I want him. So, yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
There you go. Myron was right all along.
It's just biology. I can't help it.
Yeah, evil psych.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
What were the other ones, Brad?
You had a list of like 5, and I think we just covered 2. But one thing I do want to touch on real fast, I've touched on this before, is they get a lot of criticism for the Frank Castles. And this is what's so mind-boggling to me, is they get all this criticism like, oh, they disrespect their guests and they're disrespectful to their guests. But I've never seen them just kick. I've never seen a time where a guest was being very respectful and then they just flip out and kick them out. I've never seen that. It's when a guest is being disrespectful that they get kicked out of the house. Okay, what's wrong with that?
Brad, do you think it's a coincidence that Fresh and Fit, let's not use my podcast because I'm not as popular as them. There's No Jumper, there's Joe Budden. There's a lot of podcasts who do have a similar format as them. Do you think it's a coincidence that Fresh and Fit are literally the only ones who are mass kicking out guests? No Jumper has maybe kicked out 2 or 3 guests in their career. It's happened, but it's really, really fucking rare. But they're kicking out. Oh, there's some feedback.
Yeah, someone's reverbing hard.
Yeah, but
did anybody just? I think it was Denton.
But
damn it, Denton! That's such predatory behavior, bro.
They're literally kicking
How dare
out
you?
like twice a week. So I've watched a lot of the kickouts, and I'll admit I have like a weird fascination with watching these dynamics, and some of them are actually fairly well deserved. But I would say 70 to 80% of them are not deserved. What typically happens, and you're right, the guest is never like 100% innocent. But what typically happens is they're discussing something that's very, very, let's just say, intense. The guest gets a little animated. They further provoke the guest. The guest basically spurgs out, and then they're like, "Yo, you're fucking disrespectful. Get the fuck out of here." They directly provoke that whole thing because it is good for their views, because that is what their audience wants. They're not doing it because they want to respect themselves. They're doing it because that is what gets views. That's what gets clicks, right? And fair enough. That's their strategy, but I just don't think it's a really genuine strategy, honestly. Like, I think that's just kind of like a little bit of shitty behavior on my part.
So we would disagree on the numbers for sure. From what I've seen, about 80 or 90% of the time, the guests did completely deserve it. And probably about 10% of the time, Myron overreacted because he does have a temper.
I would say it's the opposite, but
what podcasts have you been watching though? Like, so okay, here's what's interesting is you're saying that 90% of the time the guest is respectful and Myron just flips out for no reason and kicks him out.
No.
But then you're also
he didn't say that. He said that Myron, they get a little uppity and rude, and then they see that and they provoke it. And I would agree for the most part. Like, they pretty intentionally ask questions to get like rises out of us. They absolutely create like a situation and a dynamic that's like highly tense. And then like if a girl speaks up, there'll be like two guys, sometimes three, that like jump down their throat or like laugh at them in their face. So it's like, it's definitely not a situation that's like catering towards like seeing the best in like all of the behavior. They get so many views for those kick out like clips that like there's some motivation to keep doing it, like because their fans really like watching it. So they probably are doing it a little bit.
Whenever there's a kick out, they make the title "Dumb Ratchet B Word did this and I kicked her out." It's always directly in the title.
That's just marketing, brother.
Sure, but we can't deny that there's like a big incentive for them to do these kickouts.
Dude, did you ever watch like RSD back in the day? Did you see their titles? Like,
yeah, dude, I have no problem with.
Yeah, there's clickbait. You're agreeing with that, but the behavior is still happening. They're still riling the girls up to ideally get one mad enough that they can
I have no problem with clickbait. I have a problem with intentionally provoking your guests to bring out the worst in them and then kick them out and make it seem like it's their fault by gaslighting them, basically.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about, so I want to make sure we're on the same page. So here's the thing. Myron says something that is usually true in my opinion. But here's the thing. He could say it in a much nicer way that would get a better reaction from the females on the panel. But Myron chooses to just be very blunt and raw and just say it straight up. And usually that pisses them off. They get pissed off. They act disrespectful. They get kicked out. So you could say it's Myron's fault for saying the truth too blunt, but I don't say that. So
that's not what's happening, Brad. I'm also very blunt, but the difference is that when I'm doing a podcast and I said something that the guest is like getting worked out about, I try to consciously bring the tension down. Right. I still say the truth. I'm still very blunt, but I try to de-escalate, which is a crucial skill you need to have as a media person, as a talk show host, is de-escalation, right? Myron does the opposite. Instead of de-escalating, he further escalates up.
So with that being said, it seems like your podcast, you're having a conversation for the women and for the audience simultaneously. I know in Fresh and Fit, they're having a conversation mostly for the audience because they want to display the point, especially Myron does. They want to display the point that most females, if you tell them the truth straight up, not sugar-coated, will get triggered. So how could they display that point if he's going to sugarcoat what he says?
I'm not saying he should sugarcoat it. I don't sugarcoat shit on my channel. I'm extremely straight up also. But there is a little tact that you can use when you say it. And it's not just telling the girl the truth. It's what you do afterwards, right? So you tell the girl an uncomfortable truth. She gets like a little riled up. You can de-escalate the situation, right? By just being like, it's okay. Take it easy, right? Or you can further escalate it by being like, yo, why are you getting disrespectful? You woman can't handle the truth. There's de-escalation. There's escalation. And I think as a good podcast host, you should de-escalate. What they do is the opposite. They escalate further.
Right. Yeah. So and a good example, hold on really quickly. Like good example is like a while ago, there were a few times where you sort of interrupted me, right? And I was like, wait a second, Brad, right? Where
Right,
if
you
you were
gotta
a
be-
girl
you gotta
on
be
Fresh and
kidding me.
Fit and I was a minor, I'd be like, did you just interrupt me? And then you say something again, but wait, you just interrupted me again. And then eventually I would kick you out and get, millions of views for the Frank Castle, right?
Bro,
So
I let you guys speak for like 10 minutes straight.
No, I know. He's just making an analogy, Brad. He's not actually saying that you're like.
no.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying is I wouldn't kick you out, but I'm saying if in this scenario, if you were a girl on Fresh and Fit and this was Fresh and Fit and I was Myron, I could use that same, just a fairly innocuous thing, like you speaking out of turn by accident because you just wanted to say something. And I say, hey, hold on, man. Right. Instead, I could just be like, wait, did you just interrupt me? How dare you? Guys, should I type one in the chat or if I should Frank Castle her? Right. That's kind of what we mean. It's like,
Yeah, and you're like,
hey,
you're
sure.
like, what the fuck? I just came on here to have a discussion. You guys said, yo, open panel. I fucking drove, like, let's just assume this in studio podcast. I just drove 40 minutes to have a discussion with you guys. And now you guys want to fucking like kick me out? Like, what the fuck? Like, fuck you. Right. That's like a pretty natural reaction. If someone's just like being like really combative towards you, it's like, fuck you, man. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So I've watched plenty of their
everybody's the chat's hilarious. Everybody's typing one in the chat.
But the
We're not
difference
going to Frank Castle you, Brad. Don't
the
worry. But
difference between
I
me
do
and
want to
Open
wrap
Fit
up.
is-
We could rotate though, yeah. I
I do want to wrap
yeah.
this up soon. We want to make sure, ideally, we
Okay.
keep this under 3 hours and we have at least one more person. So if you have any other closing thoughts, anything else you want to talk about, please say it now, and then we'll move on. We appreciate you, by the way, bro. I know you're fans of all of us.
I'm just thinking. I guess the only thing I could really say is like, does Fresh and Fit deserve constructive criticism? Sure, everybody does, but they're making the red pill or this knowledge, whatever you want to call it, they're making it more mainstream than anybody ever has. They're working their ass off. They're going live like 10 hours a week, every single week. So it's like, constructive criticism's fine, but so much of it I hear is so unfair. Like if it's something fair, then that's fine. But it seems like they can't do anything right sometimes, like damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. So,
well, don't you think that they kind of dug their own grave from that standpoint of the things that they did before, like making fun of Abba and Preach's wife, challenging them to a fight, then backing
making
out,
fun
and
of
then going around
all the Haitians.
Yeah, and then going around copyright striking everybody. Hold on, and then going around copyright striking everybody who is critical of them, and then going after their Instagrams. Like, it's kind of like it's hard for me to feel sorry for them when they've kind of.
No, I'm not saying feel sorry for them. I'm not saying feel sorry for them. I'm just saying that.
But you understand why people are going to be a lot harsher toward them based on their past actions, right?
Sure, but I mean, is anybody perfect? I mean, the thing is,
I'm not asking you to be perfect. We're just asking you to not be a massive piece of shit.
Yeah.
No, but the same people who are targeting them. Come on, man. They probably have so much shit they've done that nobody knows about. So like,
well, that's where it gets interesting, right? Especially if there's like people who are far left. A lot of people don't like Fresh and Fit. People who are very far left feminists, and they only don't like them because they're ideologically opposed, right? They're not actually. Some of their takes are rational, but a lot of it's more so just because, like, oh, you're not on our side, And then there's other people like I would like to think like us here. I don't want to speak for everybody, but our critiques of them are much more based in reality and not due to us being like, well, they're the manosphere and we're feminism, therefore they're the enemy. There's a difference. But anyway,
let's get the next person on.
Erudite, thanks so much for coming on, Brad. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Let me just say one last thing on this matter. I do agree with you that they work really hard, and that is admirable. I have nothing but respect for their work ethic. I would say that my criticisms of Fresh and Fit have all been very fair, and there's been certain times where I've taken their side, like when that chick basically on H3 was saying, oh, he sexually assaulted her. I was like, no, like there's nothing that went wrong here. He didn't do anything wrong on that date besides potentially having bad game. So occasionally I do take their side on certain things when I think is justified. Abba Preach took their side too. But you know what Myron's response was to my criticism? When I was fucking filming Infield, he fucking spurred out and like started basically having a bitch fit. Why are you criticizing me? Blah 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 blah. So these are guys who are really really bad at taking criticism. But yeah, those are my final thoughts on that. Appreciate you, Brad. Definitely
Brad.
come on again, dude, and we'll have more of a combo.
For sure.
Let's
Thank you,
have
guys. Appreciate it.
let's have one last person on.
Okay.
We'll try to keep it relatively short. My brain's getting fried here. Yeah, I guess the topic of the stream is debate. So please, although we appreciate guys coming and be like, I love all of you guys, that's great. But the topic of this is to have a little bit more of a disagreement debate. So make sure that when you come on, you have definitely have takes that disagree with us.
Well, I figured that would be interesting because his username is Looks for Life. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clear some things up. So I think you guys are putting not enough emphasis on how important like looks truly are. And when I talk about looks, I'm talking about like height as well. Like if you'll notice, for example, all our presidents, like I believe like 50% of them are over 6 foot.
Yeah.
Meaning like higher leadership positions, like people will respect you more. So like, for example, if you're a short man, you won't be respected by women. Like they'll just look at you and like not respect you. So they won't even consider you as like a potential mate. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So no one on this panel is denying that looks are important. I think everyone on this panel is like, with the possible exception of Denton, maybe, I don't know if he's revised his position on that, think that looks is important. You should looks mask. The disagreement was in the first debate was we think it's not just looks. We think it's your charisma, your personality, your game.
Okay. But the thing is, like, if you're good looking, like you will develop charisma because you're like there's a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of.
That's not true.
That's not true.
I've had countless really good looking clients who suck with girls.
Okay.
Some of the most awkward, weird people you will ever meet are male models, like the one that you have there, unless that's you, in which case, congratulations.
Well, I have similar bone structure, but let's not get away from
well, that's good. No, but look, there's a lot of models are notorious for being just freaking weird.
Okay, but what percent do you think is higher? Do you think it's the incels?
I guess the question I'd pose you is like, yeah, I would agree. Like halo effect seems to have a bit of a self-reinforcing. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like when you're pretty, people tend to think you're nicer. They tend to treat you better. And so it's like easier to build social skills because you've been reinforced. But if you think that charisma is a trainable skill, then you can build it. And so like, yes, pretty people have an easier time. Pretty privilege is real. The issue is that like you can still systematize it and improve it for yourself. And so yeah.
Okay, well, where do you think confidence comes from?
I think confidence is the gap between your like ideal self and your perceived self. So I think like confidence is typically mostly like a downstream experience of perceived competence.
So you don't think that confidence is based on your results? Like you don't think the only way you can be confident in something is to be good at something and receive good results over and over again?
Yeah, getting your reps in is definitely one way to build confidence.
It's not just competence. Reps, though. It's like receiving positive results.
Of course, that would be part of putting in your reps, right? Like if you try something once and you're bad at it and then you give up, well, that's not a shocker. But if say you like go to the gym and you work out every single day and you're following a good routine, you're going to get gains eventually. You're going to get better at something. So like perceived competence is like other people believing that you're like decently skilled at something. And most people can be decently skilled at something.
Right. I mean, you could go to the gym like all you want, but you'll still be short. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like certain things you can
there's other things you can do to peacock then.
Oh, I'll jump in after this, Terry.
Wouldn't that be seen as compensating, for example? Like if you notice a guy who's short but ripped, you would assume he's compensating because of his height. Like,
yeah, but if she's into it, it doesn't matter. My husband's short and he's quite jacked. Yeah, I'm into short guys. My husband's shorter than me. He's super charismatic and he's ripped.
Community. Like most women prefer tall men. Like
I would agree with that, but the issue is what I'm saying is that just because I'm niche doesn't mean that there's just no hope, right? Like the idea of being like, oh well, it's niche, so like basically never bother trying. It's like, what if you find a niche girl who'd be into shorter guys? What if you find it's just a really short girl?
Yeah.
And what other choices do you have? You can either
can go to a different country.
Okay. I mean,
if you're rich enough, I suppose.
No, you can go to a poor country like Thailand or something where like everyone's super short. Like that's actually
coach
like
white pill max. You can
Yeah,
banana
there's
max
something
over
to
to
that.
Southeast Asia.
But why not combine that with getting jacked and maximizing your charisma?
I mean, you can
everything
combine
else?
it. Yeah. I'm not saying you can't combine it. However, imagine like you do all that and you still get no results. Imagine like the
I'd
type
be
of
shocked. I would be shocked that if a shorter guy who got really charismatic and maybe also jacked could pull no women, I would be genuinely gobsmacked.
Well-
I don't know if I believe it, especially if he cultivates within himself characteristics that would make him a really good partner. Like, no shot that some girls just like, the reason women are divorcing at a super high rate is they're dissatisfied with the quality of men. So like, even if you're short, it might take you longer. You might not find a girl at 22, but by 35, there's a very high chance you found somebody who is interested in you, that's willing to invest in you, and that you get along with and that you're attracted to.
Okay, how do we explain the 1 in 3 incels in the US? You think they're just not putting in the work? Like they're just all lazy?
They're afraid of
So many
rejection.
different-
You're absolutely afraid of rejection.
Like that's just such a easy thing to say though, right? That you can just blow it off as, oh, like
Well, you can ask the incels. Hold on, you can ask most of the incels themselves how many cold approaches have they done, and usually, the honest ones will tell you barely any. So much of your relationship with, because like, look, let's look at it this way. Okay, so a Chad who's, I don't know, let's say he's like the guy in your thumbnail, and he's also 6 feet tall. All right,
right. This guy
for
doesn't
every
need game. He doesn't need game.
Hold on. I'm getting to that. For
Okay.
every 100 women that he approaches, let's say it's something crazy, like he gets like 70 dates, right? Okay, so because he's like a 10 out of 10, right? So let's say, for example, a 7 out of 10 guy who's still a fairly good-looking guy, he's still probably going to fail more often than not. But he's still, let's say he gets like 30 out of 100. All right, so some guy who's like not good-looking at all, or let's just say he's like slightly below average looking, because we all agree, like, if you're fat and out of shape, the first thing you should do is become unfat, right? Try to looks max the best way that you can first. So a fully looks max guy that's reached his genetic potential, he still might, let's say he gets to like, he's just really got a bad luck of the draw, and he's only able to get up to a 4 being fully looks maxed. Okay.
Right.
So like Mr. Giga Chad over here, he can approach 100 girls and get 70 numbers. This guy, with all of his effort, he can approach 100 girls and maybe get 10, right? But so he's going to put, hold on. He's going to have to put in a lot more work. Of course, we're not denying that. But the thing that's limiting him from having any sort of dating life is that the main thing that's stopping him is his relationship with rejection. He is automatically going to face way more rejection than Giga Chad. All of us will agree with that here. Yep. But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't do any approaches.
All other factors being equal.
I think it's going to be much less than 10. I think it's going to be closer to 0, if 1, and it would be a land whale as well. Like, let's be real. Like, women have tons of options, right? Why would they settle for a subhuman male when they have like?
Okay, so look. I disagree with that, but let's just accept that premise. So, what's the alternative then?
The alternative is literally getting surgery or moving to another country. Like,
I'm actually not against getting surgery. One of my favorite self-help books of all time is Psycho-Cybernetics, where it's written by a plastic surgeon who actually literally says at the beginning of the book that some people, they think that all of their problems are going to be solved when they get cosmetic surgery. And sometimes they do. But the entire reason that he wrote the book is because to explore the vast majority of times where people get plastic surgery and they're not happy at all. In fact, they get worse because now they lost hope. Right, they're still miserable after getting their plastic surgery.
Yeah.
So it is a viable option for some people, but it's for a lot of people you might think it's a viable option, but it's actually not.
All right, and here I still want to jump in on this too. So just Kevin, are you done?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So looks for L.
Looks for.
I take it you're working. All right. Yeah, I got you. I take you work on everything else, right? Because looks like you're hitting the gym super hard. You're doing your diet.
I actually don't hit the gym. Like I'm already 6'3", so I don't need to do anything. But that's kind of like my point.
Whoa! That's exactly why you should. If you're 6'3", you don't hit the gym, you're gonna look like a beanpole, bro.
I mean, look, I could increase my results maybe by like 20%. But the whole point is, I'm not putting any type of effort in, right? You just hop on a dating app. Girls will see the number.
Sometimes
look for L. What are your results with women like? Just be
good.
But like, give us more info.
Like, what do you want to know?
Well, I don't know. Like, how many do you have a girlfriend? How many girls have you hooked up with? What's the quality of the girls?
Like 400 plus.
Are you
And
happy?
that's a good question.
What? Let's
not address that right now.
Dude, if you
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
hooked up
no,
with
isn't that the
400
point?
plus women,
But that's
you
not the
would have
point.
your
No,
camera
this
on right
is
now.
the point. This is the point, right? Is like we've convinced men, first of all, that the thing that they want most is to just like increase body count. So we have like lots of skills for men about how to get like laid. And especially if you have some pretty privilege, you can get really fucking good at it. The issue is that like men are still depressed, they're still becoming addicted, they're still killing themselves, and they're still homeless, right?
Yeah.
These things are still very real because men are swapping basically intimacy for sex. They believe like I will feel valued and intimate if I have sex. And the reality is like typically you get that by having some level of commitment and stability in relationships, right? So I'm not trying to say like you must become a monogamous male, but the reality is like if you have this high of a body count and you're this dissatisfied with life, something's missing.
Who said I'm dissatisfied with life?
You said, "Are you happy?" And you said, let's not talk about it.
Well, that's irrelevant to my point. Like whether I'm happy or not. I'm just.
Looks Pharrell, is that your real face in the profile?
No. That's
Okay.
not me. But like it resembles my bone structure. I don't want to like have my face on here for obvious reasons. Like
Yeah.
Like,
have you really? I don't know, dude. Like, I don't want to make the
I
claim.
have no incentive to lie. I'm just pointing out how like because I have friends who are short, who are not good looking, who like actually struggle, and like denouncing it as, oh, you haven't put effort or you haven't done this, that. You guys just truly are understanding like female psychology and the female gaze. And
well, here,
look Pharrell.
Can I throw something in here, man?
Yeah, sure.
Just really fast. I'm sorry, Alex. Okay, man. So, yeah, dude, I absolutely understand where you're coming from. I understand why you'd think that too. Do you ever go out and approach girls at all? Like, do you ever, or is
it's rare? I mean, like, why would I approach when I can just meet them through online? Like, it's just a waste of my time.
What do you say? Like, so, okay, so you never really interact with girls outside of like dating apps, usually, unless
like it depends, bro. You might see a girl and then be like, okay, I'll go talk to her. But like, you have so much more selection online. You don't even have to leave your room. You can like order them to your room. Why would I go outside? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Alex, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, no, I mean it's fun sometimes to go out and chat with girls. I mean, sure, if you're all about efficiency, yeah, I sort of see where you're coming from.
It's all about like efficiency. Like, why would you have to like
if you're like really busy working on your business, then I get it. If you have like no free time, but me personally, I enjoy occasionally going out with my friends, chatting up girls, like occasionally approaching a girl in a coffee shop or something.
It's occasional. That's what I mean. Like, if you see a hot girl, then you can go talk to her. But in general, like, you could just meet them online. But what was this point?
Personal preference.
Okay, so do you think that guys and girls find each other attractive in the same way they do each other? So let's say a guy sees like big tits and whatnot, and then a girl sees a big chest, right? Does that affect the way that they see each other? Like, does they see each other the same way? Like, so does a chest on a guy attract a girl the way that it does on a?
I think you're overrating how important like body is versus your face and height. Like, I think face and height holds like way more value than like a good physique.
But it's absolutely looks, right?
I'd say like 80% looks, 20% not being autistic when you talk to the girl. Like, all this game talk that you guys are mentioning.
Oh, so your argument is that it's mainly looks, but then the charisma.
Yeah, as long as you don't fuck up. Like, charisma is just a nice way of saying you're not autistic around women. Like,
no, that's not true at all. That's not true at all.
Like,
charisma is so much more than that.
Yeah, I'll put it this way, man. So, all right, so go to a club for a year and do this, okay? And every day you go out, write down how you felt throughout the entire night, okay? Do this for an entire year. When you do this throughout the entire year, what you're gonna find is there's like an emotional correlation, or like a correlation between the emotions and the way that girls react to you. Sometimes when you're in a really fucking charismatic, very confident headspace, the girls react so much fucking better than the opposite. And when you're depressed and you're sad and you're going up and approaching girls, you might still be hitting the right notes, but like saying the right things, kind of. I mean, whatever the hell that means, because game is only 20%, so it's not that big deal what you say, right? So let's put it this way. If you compare the two and you look at it, it's vastly different, dude. I go out so fucking much. I go out like 5 days.
Dude, I'm not saying you go approach them like being sad. I'm just saying like game. I'm obviously simplifying it here by saying not be autistic. But the point is like, it's not that hard to like just not mess it up, Like all these tactics you're mentioning, like the earlier caller who was like, "Oh, you guys clowned him a little bit for the coffee shop thing." I think that was a little bit of a miscommunication, but you know what I mean. Like, you just wouldn't say something stupid like that. You would just keep it cool and like, it's just not that hard. It's not like a strategy to not be autistic. That's kind of my point.
Yeah, but hold on. There's a lot of, especially if there's a thing that you want. So, Kyla brought up sales a while ago, and then also Alex and I brought up sales in our debate before with MGTOW Dictionary and Scribe. A good salesman, a lot of times, especially a beginner salesman, they're going to be so attached to the result that they want of getting the sale that they come across as unauthentic or inauthentic, I should say, and they start to say some really stupid, weird shit, right? It's a similar thing with you really wanting a girl. Hold on. You wanting a girl. A lot of guys will be like so awestruck by how hot the girl is, they will literally just start acting weird. So there is some utility in learning how to act, how to not have the girl have a lot of power over you and start acting normal. So that way you can, close the deal, similar to in sales, how you have to learn not to be so attached to the end result so that you can actually genuinely present the product in the right way.
Well,
So we're simplifying you're simplifying something that's actually very deep and not as easy as it seems on the surface is what I'm
Let me expand on that, because there's so much more to sales than just that. I did sales for like 4 or 5 years. Yes, psychology.
That's scratching the surface, yeah.
Right. But like, okay, when I first got into sales, the mistake I would make is I would try really hard to sell the product, right? I was selling solar panels, and I would spend like an hour telling the client why these solar panels are awesome, why our company is awesome. If you think about that logically, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, like, convince the person. And I was getting a grand total of 0 sales. Then my sales manager sat me down, and she's like, Alex, no one gives a shit about your logical explanations about why this product is right for them. Sales is an emotional decision. It's not a logical decision. So instead of talking about your company or about the panels, ask them questions. Ask them leading questions that get them to come to the conclusion that you want them to, which is basically buying the solar panels is right for them. And when I started doing that, my sales just skyrocketed. I started selling a lot more. That's because I started adopting a different sales strategy that was a lot better. So you would think that if you can improve your sales closing ratio, then you can improve your, interactions with women following a lot of the same style. Like, instead of talking about yourself for 2 hours, you said, ask the girl a question, make some jokes, right? Have some fun with it. Instead of being logical, you hit her more on the emotional side, right? So it's like, of course this shit exists.
Okay, look, first of all, I don't think you can directly compare sales to women because it's like very different, right? Sure, you can have
really similar.
I mean, come on, bro. You can't really try and say it's the same type of shit.
It's very similar. Can you tell us why it's not similar?
Okay. So,
well, I mean, like a yes ladder would work in a game situation, or like always be closing, either or question to get a close. I mean,
attraction is emotional. Sales, buying and purchase is emotional. So many things are overlap.
There are some things that overlap. I would agree, but for the most part, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say those are like hand in hand. Like, some skills overlap. I would also like to argue that with more experience of you doing it and succeeding, you also became more confident, which leads you to get more results. You understand what I'm saying?
I feel like what's going on. So one thing I want to empathize with is like, short guys do have it rough. Like, a lot of women do have some level of prerequisite. They do. But the idea that basically there's no hope at all isn't true. For example, like I've already said, my husband is shorter than me, and I'm going to be honest, he's very good with women. He was doing very well with women before he met me. In fact, the reason why I didn't want to date him is I thought he was a fuckboy because he did so well with women. So like, I get it. Part of what I'm hearing is like, you're 6'3". You probably have a bit of survivor bias. I'd be curious to know if you think you're charismatic. I don't know if you think you're charismatic or not, but like, the fact that you're underselling charisma to me suggests that probably you're not that charismatic. You're tall. And so like, you're really underselling.
It's silly to assume that.
Well, I've talked to you now for like 30 minutes as well, right? And like, nothing about anything you've done has like suggested me being like, this guy's a really charismatic guy. It's not a hit on you. It's fine. It doesn't matter if you're not charismatic. The issue is that if you don't actually have much of the skill in it, then you are going to underappreciate it, because essentially like, you're a novice at charisma and then like judging it from the outside. Short guys.
This is
No, I'm not being
disingenuous.
silly. Don't be dismissive of me, right? Short guys have it super rough. It sucks. It really fucking sucks. But there's a lot of heavy lifting that charisma can do, like being super funny, getting a girl to smile and laugh. A lot of girls will say 6 foot prerequisite, and then they'll date like a 5'7" guy who like makes them laugh and that they like really enjoy being around. And it's a super good flirt. Absolutely, this happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens all the time. Look, I'm not trying to be charismatic over a debate. That's not really the point. Obviously, I have some social awareness. It's clear that I understand what you guys are saying, but I'm not trying to like win anyone over here, be charismatic. That's not the point. I'm just like outlining what really matters here. And I'd like to say it's like overwhelmingly looks. Like when a woman sees you, she'll
No, it's
already
just
be
not.
happy
You're just
that you
wrong,
approached
right?
her.
Like you're coming into this and basically being like, it's just overwhelmingly looks. And we've presented a number of situations where looks is completely outcompeted for. This is why I always bring up Austin Summers, because that motherfucker is one charismatic guy. He's so funny and interesting and unattractive, and he slays with
He's
women.
unattractive.
Yes, he's
Oh
not.
my God,
Come on,
Bruno.
he's not an 8. He's
not
not an 8.
but he's
No.
above average.
Yeah,
Austin,
but
you're always an
Slightly
8 to
above
me.
average. I mean, that's
he's
kind
not
of
super attractive. Again, my husband's 5'6.5". He's not tall, and he does very well with women. And I know we see this. Being short sucks. There's more you have to do. When you're 6'3", you can basically kind of coast. Based. When you're short as a dude, you have to do more. But to basically like doom or pill short guys and be like, there's basically no hope. It's just looks. It's just like, it's just not reflected in the dating pool. Like you're actually kind of disconnected from reality.
This is like silly. I've given countless examples on how like taller people are paid more. They're in higher leadership
Obviously,
positions.
do you
No
know
one's
why?
denying
No, wait.
that.
Do you know why this is the case? Do you like?
Because people respect taller people.
No, because
more
being tall is correlated with better nutrition and stronger genetics in
better
general.
genetics,
In
yes.
general, people who are taller also have slightly higher IQs. They tend to live longer. They have a number of factors that predict for success beyond just height. So this idea that like because you're tall, you're just suddenly magically better is actually more of like basically like a secondary factor creating this correlation.
I mean, you can put it that way, but like
I'm
people
just telling
look
you
at-
what the statistics show.
I mean, I've just mentioned the statistics. So if it's a secondary correlation, irregardless,
Yes.
it's related to tall people. So they're doing better in all walks of life.
Okay, let me tell you another correlated thing. Did you know that crime and ice cream sales go directly up with each other? Do you think that ice cream causes crime?
This is like disingenuous again.
This isn't disingenuous. This is precisely what you're doing. Do you think ice cream causes crime?
Obviously not.
What do you think is actually causing the relationship between ice cream sales and crime?
Tell me.
What do you think it is? Take a guess. What do you think
Well,
the
I
Z
wanna hear what
factor
you
is?
have to say.
Well, I know the answer. I'm wanting to see if you have an idea.
Well, tell me with your high IQ what it is.
I'm not trying to dumpster you. I'm going to guess that you know this. The answer is temperature. When things get warmer, people tend to get more irritable and they tend to be more willing to move around outside. So crime increases. Same with ice cream sales. So the fact that height tends to correlate with success isn't because height predicts success. It's because there's other factors going on that drive both of these things upward.
What I was saying is that women desire good genetics in a partner. So obviously they're gonna try and seek out the like most desirable men, which would be
To
tall,
some
strong
extent.
men.
To some extent, but women also desire partners who treat them well. They desire men who treat them with like respect, that they feel safe with, that like tend to provide for
Right,
them.
of course.
Yes. So
So do
height
all the
doesn't predict
above.
for these things. No, height doesn't predict for whether or not you're a good father.
No, but like out of
No, of
those
course
tall
not.
men, women can select the ones that they like the ones that will treat them well. Maybe like the dicks will just like
Okay,
fuck
well,
them and leave.
if
and
that were the
regret
case,
it
then
later.
why is there such a high rate of divorce that are initiated by women? It seems like maybe they're not actually getting a chance to select all of
Well,
these
why would
amazing
women-
Giga Chad tall men.
Well, here's the thing: like Giga Chad tall men typically don't like to settle down with one woman because they have a lot of options. Like this is something you should highly consider. Look at Alex, for example. He somehow managed to get his girl to let him fuck other girls. Like this guy's living life, bro, on camera, and everyone's seeing it. What a halo effect right here. Like this is gnarly that he can
But
do
are you
that.
saying I'm a Giga Chad or?
No, but you're using your status to your advantage. Maybe you're like a 5 to a 6, but like
Well,
that's good enough.
What status do I have?
You're joking, right? Like, I mean, you're not like insane status, but you have a YouTube channel, right? You're charismatic. whatnot. You're also a white guy with blue eyes, around 6
Well,
foot.
well,
You have
those,
a lot of
well, hang on. The YouTube channel could be considered status. The fact that I'm charismatic is not status. That is my personality. That has nothing to do with
Well,
status.
the thing is, you're a white guy with blue eyes at around
that
6 foot.
Right, but blue eyes is not status either. That is just your
No,
look.
this is not related. I'm just pointing out that there's like a lot of factors with you that like worked out nicely.
No, I know I have a lot of awesome things to offer, but this
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But this idea that I'm getting girls through status is like pure nonsense. I have like close to no status in Miami. Like, you think these chicks who have like millions of followers and have celebrities DMing them care about the fact that I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which are predominantly male, and I talk about pickup? Half the time, I don't even tell girls what I do. It's just fucking nerdy ass shit. Like, the girls don't give a shit about. They don't find it that impressive what I do. Like, no one gives a shit about like the shit that I do. They're fucking hanging out with celebrities and shit. When I met Natty, I had like 20,000 subscribers. Like, I didn't even tell her about my YouTube channel until like 2 or 3 dates in, because it was like, yeah. So
okay,
this,
Alex, the other thing I wanted to mention is that like you also have a good physique, right? But a lot of your photos, like especially the ones you've been posting recently, are like heavily edited with FaceApp, which obviously makes you look much more attractive than you appear on like right now, which is kind of like faking it. It's like wearing makeup as a woman. Like, you don't really want to be like that. My point is like women will find you more desirable.
Fundamentally disagree with that. I think that if you are a woman, you probably should wear makeup because you want to put your best foot forward. And I think if you're a man, you should do a reasonable amount of editing on your photos to basically put your best foot forward. I don't think you should like totally edit the fuck out of your photos, which is something I don't do. But I think a little bit of editing to fix the lighting, have a filter on, is a good idea because, again, you want to put your best foot forward.
You're using FaceApp. Like, I know what that app does. It makes you look like noticeably better with like a full head of hair too. And like,
I've only used FaceApp on like 10% of my photos at best.
The most
we're losing track a bit here. Look, it comes down to this, all right? So there's plenty of guys out there that have even bluer eyes than Alex, better hair, taller, better looking, higher status, that haven't had nearly as much success in their dating lives as Alex has. So, like, how do you explain that?
I mean, I'd like to see it, honestly. Like, also, this is a lot of what Alex does, right? He has a YouTube channel. So he's like out and about talking to girls all the time. Maybe some guys.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's definitely a factor.
Wait, so would you say that he's like more skilled at talking with women?
No, he just does it more. When you put in more volume, you're going to get more results.
But that's fundamentally not true. I actually spend less time talking to girls than probably the average guy in the pickup community. I'm pretty content
in the pickup community, yeah. But we're talking about an average guy who's just.
Nowadays, I don't really do that much. I'm banned off all the major dating apps. I go out maybe once a month. I'm not really out there.
But I don't see how that's relevant. Doesn't the effort matter? It's like somebody saying, "Oh, you're only better at basketball because you practice more than me." Like, yeah.
No, but
like
you were just mentioning a guy who's better looking than him. Maybe he doesn't pursue women to the level that Alex does. That's my point.
No. So the comparison here will be there's two guys who are equally talented at basketball, and one of them practices a ton and has good technique. The other doesn't practice at all and has no strategy at all. So therefore, the guy that practices a lot and has good strategy will end up just destroying the other guy. That's the comparison here.
Yeah, I want to just direct your attention to something. This is a really good buddy of mine. I've gone out with him personally. I think we could all agree this is a really good-looking guy.
Well, right away, I've noticed he doesn't look very tall. Like, right away.
He's 6 feet. He's slightly taller than me.
Look at his frame. There's no way this guy is 6 foot. He's definitely good looking.
I'm telling you, I've gone out with him.
I'm gonna be honest. Based on your statistical knowledge, I'm not super confident in like your mathematics, like evaluation skills.
His frame.
Dude, I'm telling you.
What about his frame? He could just be slim.
I know him personally. He's 6 feet.
Yeah,
I know.
I've gone out with this guy. I know him pretty well. He's definitely 6 feet. This guy's pretty fucking good looking.
Yeah.
He's not good with girls. He strikes out time and time again.
There's always outliers to the rule.
I love this guy. Not trying to shit on him, but he's not that good with girls. Why is it that me, someone who's less attractive than this guy significantly, is getting much better results than this dude who actually spends a lot of time trying to pick up girls?
I don't have an answer for you, honestly. I was assuming he's short based on his frame.
He's not.
But he must like just not know how to talk to women in terms of like being autistic when he talks to them. Like,
Not autistic.
then I have no idea. Like, where does he live?
R.I.P. Dan.
He's lived in Vegas. He's lived in the major cities. We've gone to Poland together. Yeah.
Here's the question: Is there
Okay.
any amount of evidence that we could provide to you to show you that you might be wrong?
It's unlikely because I've looked at a lot of
So
statistics.
then why are we talking to you? If you're engaged in motivated thinking, you've already lost. Like if you're engaged in motivated thinking, you're just doing bad thinking,
What makes
which
you
is
think
fine.
that like you're right and I'm wrong right away?
But the fact is that you could present me with enough evidence that I would change my position. Like if you presented me with,
shown
you haven't presented with me with any evidence. You gave me one study and I outlined to you why your study wasn't actually suggesting what you were saying. That's the only evidence you've given. I've given you statistics. I've dismantled most of your positions. And you're basically saying there's nothing you could say that would change my position, which is fine. That's a choice that you can make. But then there's no point in talking to you further. If you're wanting to engage in motivated thinking,
this is a discussion. I've mentioned how taller people are more respected, more well paid, more desirable to women due to better genetics. How can you dismantle these points? These are literally just statistics you can read about online.
Sure, I've already told you, first of all, that height is a prerequisite. I agree that height does better. If you are taller, you will do better in general in relationships. However, that doesn't mean that if you're short, you're basically fucked and you should move to Thailand. That's not really true, and it doesn't map onto reality very well.
Well, you clearly haven't like talked to a lot of struggling short men. There's men who like
literally talk to struggling short autistic men for a living.
Okay, and you can tell how depressed they are because they don't get results. Meanwhile,
they're depressed for lots of reasons, right? Like
okay,
it's
but why do you think
kind of
people like shoot up schools and shit? I guarantee you a lot of them are incels who can't get any
That's
women.
true. And why do you think people become incels? Because life is incredibly hard
Become
to be a man.
incels. It's your genes, bro. You're
No,
born
it's not
a
your
fucking
genes.
incel.
No, you're not born an incel. That's so devoid from reality, right? Like
Okay,
there are,
I mean-
if you will look at the things that are common to incels, typically they come from incredibly broken homes, oftentimes single parent homes, right? They often have high levels of trauma and social rejection through their early childhood. They often also have very high antisocial personality traits, which both are somewhat inborn, but are also highly developed. And so this idea of like, they're just born this way is so vastly untrue.
Well, I can give you an example related to like a tough upbringing, right? So, are you aware of this guy named Jeremy Meeks?
No.
Yeah.
You know who he is,
He's
right?
the
Kevin? He's the hot mugshot guy.
Yeah,
He's the which guy?
he's the. Remember, like I think maybe like 10 years ago, there was this like light skinned dude that there was like a mugshot of him, and then every girl went crazy.
I know.
Basically, he went to jail for like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was for like a long time, and it was battery and I think robbery and shit like that. And then his mugshot got leaked, and women sent him over $100,000 in the mail. Now he's a runaway model. Now he says you can do anything you put your mind to. Like, bro, he didn't earn shit. Like, it was all his genes. And
how do you define a short guy? What's short?
5'7" and less.
5'7" and less. Okay, so my husband's 5'6.5".
Right. I mean, that sucks. Your
Yeah.
children will come out short. Your son might be an incel, but it's okay.
So the issue is, so he's 5'6.5". He's managed to get me, I would say I'm decently attractive. I'm a pretty good catch for the most part. He's also been very successful with women. I'm taller than him, by the way.
Okay.
So how do you explain this?
I'm a little bit baffled. Yeah, you could do a lot better in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
So what do you think's going on that made me choose him instead of, like, for example, my tall ex?
And a bunch of other girls too.
That's true. How come all of the other women are really into him as well? How come when like he goes on Tinder and whatnot and chats with women,
this is an anecdote, right?
very into him? Well, you were just about to give me an anecdote,
But
so
they
clearly you
are
don't care
sitting
about
right
that.
There. Like we can verify this anecdote. Like they're literally both in the frame.
Do you want me to stand?
No,
Do you
I'm
want to see
saying
how
the
short he
outlier
is?
doesn't make the rule. The exception doesn't make the rule.
Of course not. The issue is that if there's one exception, there's 2, there's 4, and there's 30. And short men, all of them should strive to be the exception. Women are dissatisfied in relationships. And one thing, I talk to women as well about dating. I tell them, height doesn't matter. Who cares about height?
Height is a mentality.
It's such a cope. I haven't heard
Not
a
a
stronger
cope.
cope in
How
a
is
while.
this? How is this a cope?
It's something that you make
I'm
yourself
married
feel
and
better
in
by
a
saying. The height thing. Like, obviously...
Oh, wait. Hold on.
You're
Erudite, you're muted for some reason.
Let's
I don't know
unmute
how
you.
that happened.
You're muted, Erudite. I can't unmute you because you muted yourself.
I think you might have clicked something.
Yeah, but I can make a point real quick.
Oh no. I think she's good now.
Go ahead.
Like you're basically saying that we're having a giant cope when it's like, I mean, look at my wall. I have multiple degrees. We're extremely happy in a relationship. We work out 1 to 2 hours a day, both of us. We've got an extremely healthy sex life. We're very happy. We make good money. He's a personal trainer. Like, in what world are we coping?
No.
Trying to say
The cope is saying that,
just
like,
be depressed and sad.
the cope is like, oh, being short is okay. Like, I'm sure if he could choose right now to
No
be over
one's
6
saying
foot,
that. Literally, no one has said that.
you just said that all short men should strive to, like, sure, like, you can
Of course
try.
they should. What's their option? Should they just kill
I
themselves
just
instead?
told you the options. Like, there's something called leg lengthening
Fly
surgery.
to Thailand.
Or
is
you can
is
go
your
to-
solution.
But like I've dated a bunch
No,
of girls
flight
that are taller than
lengthening
me too. I
surgery
don't
is
know.
not a good option, dude. That shit, you become
I
a
know, it's-
cripple for like
yeah,
4
yeah.
months. It costs $100,000. That is a
I
very
know. I've read on
So
it.
why has he been successful with other women? So maybe I'm damaged goods. Sure. What about all of his other exes? Most of them taller
Look,
than him.
I'm not saying you're damaged goods. I've never mentioned that. However,
That's fair.
it is.
I'm saying you said something might be going on strange. So let's assume it's me. I'm willing to just bite.
No, I'm willing
What
to grant
about
that.
all of the other women?
Yeah,
I'm
what's strange
willing
about
to
me?
grant that this is an outlier scenario. Like, most
So
of the time,
he's the outlier all the time.
It's
Not
just
all the
game and
time.
physique. That's all there is to
Damn
it.
it, physique. Jesus.
And
Based.
Well,
I mean, good
think,
on you,
I think
brother.
a really nice head of hair probably helps as well. Okay, looks for L. Let me use myself. Okay, when I was 18, 19, I
I've
was
heard the story. I've heard it, Alex.
okay. So what's your response to that?
Well, you were less fit when you were 18. That's one big one right off the bat. You also didn't have a facial hair growing in nicely that, like, suits you better. And you didn't have, like, you were broke too. Like, there's so many factors. Like, obviously you improved yourself to the point to where you are now.
Well, I mean, I would say my sexual market value was similar. I had a lot more hair, and I had
You had
a
more
lot
hair,
more-
but you were thin. You were, like, very thin.
Yeah. But so you think the only reason I went from being totally dog shit with girls to being very successful is because I got fit?
I think that's a huge part of it for you, at least, for sure. Also, like, you were using, like, FaceApp and things like this to make yourself appear even better. So I think you're discounting that. Like, the fact that you're even using FaceApp just shows you how, like, important looks truly are.
But no one's saying looks aren't important, but I've picked up like over 100 girls in real life where FaceApp doesn't play a role. I've gone out 2 bars and 2 like coffee shops and picked up well over 100 girls in my lifetime. So you can't use FaceApp as a factor. Okay, let's use myself when I was 27, 28, when I was getting sick with Lyme disease and I lost all my weight and I was like 135 pounds. When I got through the worst of my disease, I was still going out and hooking up with girls. What's the difference? Because I was probably weighed even less at 28 than I did when I was 19 or 18, right? So I was like 135, 140, less hair. Why was I doing so much better at 28 than I was when I was 18,
Thanks for
19?
dismissing me, Dan.
I'm not sure because, like, again, I'm taking your word as is, but
Yeah,
assuming you're good fit, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you why.
But you don't think it could be potentially that I used to be really bad at talking to women, and through massive amounts of practice, I got a lot better?
That's the thing. Like, you received positive reinforcement. You started to actually, like, not getting rejected,
bro.
and that
Come on.
boosted your confidence. No, the way you get confident in something is receiving results over and over and over again. If you're just so basically, like, confidence is the result of success.
Well,
If you're not
Do you
getting,
think you get more skilled at
Oh,
things just because you do well, or do you think also fucking up helps you improve a skill? If I'm learning how to throw darts, what's more meaningful, when I hit the bullseye or when I don't?
I mean, when you hit the bullseye over and over and over again, you can actually
So that's evidence of my
not be
skill.
delusional,
But if
and
I
then you can be confident.
But
Because
if
if you're not,
wait, stop. Just engage with the hypothetical rather than coping. If I
I'm
throw
coping, yeah.
darts, of course you are. If
you're
I throw
funny.
darts
You
all
definitely
the
have an
time-
attitude. It's kind of cute.
Yeah. So if I'm throwing darts and I'm really bad, and then you come back in like 4 weeks and I'm really good, what do you think happened?
You must have put in the work.
Yeah, and do you think that when I failed and missed the bullseye that was important?
Sure, I see your point. But for you to miss the bullseye and then be like, yo, I'm gonna hit the bullseye next time, even though I missed the bullseye last time, is just delusional. Until you
Nobody's
start
saying
hitting.
that. Nobody's
But
saying that.
the point is,
Hold
Alex
on, it's not
started.
delusional. It's not delusional.
Why?
It's actually rational. It's rational if you know that you missed it and you keep missing more and more. If you think about it rationally, you get more of those reps in. Your brain's going to start to
But you're
adjust. 'Cause
missing,
actually,
homie.
hold on. No, yeah, you're missing, but you know that you're still getting closer to that goal. You know that the only way for you to get better is to continue, and more than likely, you continuing is going to result in you
You're saying
absolutely
more than
missing more
likely.
times.
You're saying more than likely, but like if you go out and approach and you get rejected every time, and you're not getting closer to success. The only
Of
time
course
you
you
get
are.
Sure,
Maybe
you
the
are.
first time you get rejected, she's like, "Holy fuck, you stupid creep, go away." And maybe the fourth time that you get rejected, she's like, thanks, but no thanks. And then by the fifth time, she's like, I don't know.
That's just women trying
I
to
think
be
I'm
kindly
busy.
rejecting
No,
you.
that means that you're doing better. Maybe the sixth time she like laughs, she's super engaged, and then you ask her out, and she's like, "Oh fuck, I'm so sorry. I'm actually dating. Like, I'm so sorry, but I had a really good time." Right now, you've gotten even better. And then maybe by the time they hit the eighth girl, she's single, she's interested. You figured out how to make girls laugh and take your L really well. And then she bites, and she's like, "You know what? Yeah, I do want to go on a date with you." This is just like throwing darts.
Oh my, well, you're talking about the same girl here or different girls?
No, they would be different women.
Right. So what makes you think that they're gonna get different reactions? Like what makes you think it's gonna improve?
Well,
You
I
learn. So, for
improved.
example, if I went up to you and I was like, "Hello, my name is Jerry, and I like women," do you think that they're going to be into that?
That's called being autistic. I've already gone
Okay,
over
yeah,
this.
I would agree. I think women would not be into that. But say that maybe the next time I went up and I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry to bother you, but like you look really cute today." Do you think that that's going to do better?
Of course. This is called not being autistic. I went over this
No,
earlier.
this is called charisma. So again, now you could probably take that, "Hey, sorry to bother you," and a compliment to an even higher level, right? Where you turn up a little bit of charm and flirt, you make her smile. These are all throwing darts at the board and getting closer to the bullseye.
Yeah, but this is assuming you're not taking into account looks at all here. You're considering if you're
Of course, in
charismatic.
this type of thing, I'm excluding the looks because we're
looks
talking
But it's
about
so
skill.
important. Like looks are part of your
Of
personality.
course, but we're talking about skill growth. So now you're just coping by going back to your
Not
other
coping
argument.
because it's
You
so
are
relevant.
coping, but
It's
I
very
just
relevant.
outlined to you that you can obviously grow in skill and charisma. So now you're just falling back to being like,
The
"Yeah, but
skill
looks
you're
matter." And
outlining-
it's like, we've already bit that bullet, bro. We've
Okay,
already
but it's
said
such a big
that
bullet. You
looks
can't
matter.
just like dismiss this bullet. It's related.
I'm not dismissing. We've
No one's
all
dismissing.
agreed with you. Literally everyone on the panel has been like, "Yes, looks matter," but
Okay.
there's also more.
A woman will respond more positively to your quote unquote charisma if you're good looking. The man, for example, if you're ugly and you say something, a woman might consider you creepy, right?
Stop. Yes.
But a
we've
good looking
already-
guy saying it would be outgoing
Yes.
and charismatic. That's my point.
Yes.
That like your
Obviously.
looks determine how a woman like views your quote unquote charisma.
But that's not the part we're disagreeing with you about. Going back to the example I gave earlier, you said that the reason I started doing better was because I became more confident. So if I can become more confident with girls and have better interactions, why can't another guy?
Well, I think you got more confident because you started seeing results, not
But
out of
Why did
nowhere.
you start seeing
Why did I
results?
start seeing results?
I think you started being less autistic talking to girls because you mentioned.
Oh my
before-
gosh, thank you. We did it, guys.
Yeah,
Done.
but that's
All right,
not
this
like
is a wrap.
skill. That's not
We're
skill.
there. We
though.
got
I
it.
was-
We got
No,
it. All
I was
right.
never artistic,
You
dude.
told me that. I mean, I've listened to your streams before, and you said like you had no idea what to say to a girl.
Yeah, I had
like,
no
at
idea
all.
what to say, but I wasn't autistic. I understood. I had friends all my life. I wasn't
Give
like
it
a
to him.
fucking
He's
massive
already basically
weirdo.
agreed with us. He said
No.
basically, Alex, you got better at being more
I mean, he
skilled
got
with women.
better,
You got
but he was
more
never bad
charismatic,
looking.
and that's why you get more
You don't
women.
understand.
Give
Yeah,
it, Chad.
he
You
got
get it,
less
guys.
autistic. So hold on.
That's it.
You
That's it.
agree? Hold on. No. This is why Kyle is completely correct. If there's a scale of completely autistic to charismatic, and you end up shifting this way a bit, that means that you improved.
Alex self-cured his autism. But that was a funny chat. But first of all, you have to understand he's already at a good point. Like he can only fuck up, right? He's not an ugly guy. But imagine him, but like 3 points less, right? That's where it actually starts to matter. Like Alex is obviously not a bad-looking guy, so all he needs to do is like not fuck up, right?
Well,
And
the
that's-
previous Blackpiller said I was a sub 5. So
Well, you're not a sub 5. That's ridiculous.
Well, hold on.
You're almost-
Wait. So also, you think that fitness and looks and stuff aren't malleable, or you think that
Well-
you improving your fitness won't change your looks?
No, it will. But I just think it will improve it less than your like face and height, things that you can't change.
Well, sure, yeah, those things you can't really. Well, you can change your face actually.
You can
I take
with
that
surgery.
back.
I mean, there's
no, you can change it with your body fat too.
That's true. You'll lose body fat in your face. It's
Yeah,
actually
and the
one of
vast
the big reasons to work
exactly,
out.
exactly. And here's the thing: is most guys who consider themselves to be, I don't know, sub-5 normies or whatever. A lot of it has to do with them losing body fat off their face. When I'm bulking and I have a more of a chubby face, people are like, "Oh, Kevin's like a normie."
That's
and then
true.
now, yeah, and then now when I have like less so, some Blackpillers even call me a Chad Light,
Yeah,
right? So it's like,
in my opinion, like
okay, well there you go, right? So I'm a Chad Light now because I'm leaner.
But you already had the
before.
bones
I was more
in
like a
your face.
normie.
Like
I know,
yeah,
I get that, but a lot of people have the bones under their face. They've never
just
been
can't show
under
them.
like
I agree.
15% body
You
fat.
should definitely try to lose body fat in your face and your body before you complain about anything. That's something I completely agree with you.
base. That's the best thing you said here today.
I'm not like like you should give up right away. Like I'm saying, once you've done all these things to looks max and then you still have no results, which I'm sure there's a good amount of men.
No. That's where I'm going to push back. The vast majority of guys who complain about their looks online and identify as incels are not even close to being looks maxed. And we've even interacted with these guys where they say like, "Oh, I'm a low body fat and stuff." Like Alice, you talked about this, and then you actually see their
none of them
pictures, and none of them are jacked. None of them are low body fat at all.
That's a shame. Then they haven't done enough. But yeah, I think
I totally agree.
Let me make one final point.
Sorry.
No, sorry. How would you account for the fact I did a video on this? So I have a client. He has cerebral palsy. His face is like partially paralyzed. How would you account for that guy going from only being able to get prostitutes to getting his first girlfriend ever from Tinder?
Well, I think it's a little out of pity, honestly. Like it's kind of really hard for me to actually like believe that, Like when you have a disability, it's like 1,000 times worse than being a sub-5, It's like
it's
really,
tough.
really bad.
But you think this girl is just dating him out of pity?
Man, it's like, I don't know. I guess you could land. Obviously, it's not going to be like a high caliber woman, but at least he got something, right? But then you would argue, like, is it even worth having a girlfriend if you don't even find her attractive? It's like,
well, no, he finds her attractive.
Hey, Alex, when you're finished up too, I want to go over 1.2, but keep going.
Yeah, he finds her attractive.
I mean, good for him. All I have to say is good for him.
Right, but the difference between this guy and most guys is when we started working together, I told him it was going to be really hard. I didn't sugarcoat it, but he's like, dude, I'm willing to put in the reps. I'm willing to do whatever the fuck it takes. And like, that's the kind of attitude that made him an outlier, right? He was determined to be an outlier. So I don't know why anyone who's not like, who's not good looking would not want to strive to be an outlier, because you can be an outlier.
Yeah, but not everyone can be an outlier. Just like not everyone can have high status, like, and be a celebrity. Like that'd be so easy to say, like, oh, just become like a millionaire and just become high status, bro. Like just be a Chad. Like it's not quite that simple.
Those two are not the same thing. You can be an outlier if you reverse engineer what the other outliers did, which is putting in a shitload of fucking work. Like this guy works like crazy. Like on literally every aspect of his life. He sees a speech therapist. He does, practices doing cold approach. This guy does more than fucking I do, honestly, in terms of like his, self-improvement. Reads massive amounts of books. He does a whole bunch of things. So it's like, why would you not want to just strive to be an outlier rather than just giving up, being like,
I'm not saying you should give up. I just think you have to have reasonable expectations within your confines. Like, I think a valid solution, I don't know why Erudite dismissed this, but I think that if you're a short guy, considering moving to another country where the average height of men is much lower, you'll have a lot better success with women. It's like
I'm not against that. I just think not everyone has the luxury of moving. Like some people have families, some people have like 9-to-5 jobs. They have to.
It's about what you value more. If you've never been laid your whole life, I'm sure you would leave your family so you can go get fucking laid, right?
I don't know. If you're like taking care of your sick grandma, you're gonna like fucking leave so you can bust a nut and your grandma dies. Like I don't know, man. That's just comes down to.
Okay, I mean you're outlining a scenario that's like very like. Come on.
I'm just saying, not everyone has. I agree with you that if you have the luxury, you should probably move to a place where it's easier. It's just a lot of people have like 9-to-5 jobs where they have to show up at an office where they're like, for example, I don't know, maybe they're an engineer at Boeing, right? And they're trying to like climb the corporate ladder. Maybe they're trying to be a scientist. Maybe they're trying to work for NASA. There's a lot of jobs that don't allow you to like basically move to a different country. So that's just, we got to keep that in mind.
Of course, there's that to think about as well. But ideally, you get a job where you can work from anywhere. I mean, but that's like a whole nother discussion. But
yeah. But yeah, I do want to kind of wrap up. Denton, you had a
Sure.
point, so I'll let you go while I take a piss.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, man. Honestly, I don't even have a problem with the fact you believe this. From my,
I'm just a realist, homie, because I've seen it. I've seen the shit these people
can
face.
self-lie, man. No, hear me out. Like, people self-lie. I could be self-lying too. I'm not even above that, dude. One of us is self-lying. I mean, maybe it's somewhere in the middle, honestly. Maybe the answer is somewhere in the middle. I like the fact that you're like, that at least you're working on what you can and you're focusing on it. My big thing is like, so with my clients, I've coached thousands in person by this point, probably a little less, probably around 1,000. I do like a boot camp almost every weekend. And how do I put it? So look here, I'll put it, all right. Let's say like you can't, that charisma is, you said charisma is like 20%, right? Like around.
Yeah, well, I think it's very correlated kind of with your looks. Like a woman will respond better to you if you're better looking. That's what I mean.
Okay, so, but if you have charisma and you're ugly, it still doesn't matter if you're short.
Still doesn't matter, yeah. Because you can't change like how a woman perceives you. Like instantly, a woman will know if she's attracted to you or not. Which is why I don't think men should lead with their wallet. I think it's a big mistake. Like a woman will know she wants to fuck you like within the first like 5 milliseconds of seeing you, as long as you don't fuck it up.
I've seen short guys kill it too, and I've seen guys of all different nationalities. Bradicus is an amazing example of this. Bradicus, I love the fuck out of Bradicus, and this is the one thing. This is the reason why you can't ever bring this stuff up, because all the guys that aren't exactly necessarily attracted to do great with women are always the coolest motherfuckers that you like and think are dope to hang around.
Yeah, they have to do that in order to have some sliver of chance of getting a girl.
Otherwise, hear me out. Let's. My biggest thing is that I just always want people to know they have an out. Like if you want a certain quality of girl, if you want a certain quality of this, that. Shortness, ugliness, that stuff's honestly not going to stop you. And if you think that charisma doesn't that big a deal because now you're ugly, there's like, you can hit the gym. You can do even men's makeup. Men's makeup is very like, you can't even see it nowadays. You can do little heels, make yourself a little taller. You can work on your fashion, so you make your chest look a little bigger, and your hips look like more narrow. You can work on your status. Girls like guys that are liked by other girls. You can surround yourself with a bunch of girls. I know guys here in Vegas, photo shoots, and they're surrounded by models, and the girls eat this shit up. They love that stuff.
As long as it looks like it would make sense, you know, and it's not I can't think of the word. It's actually like, as long as it works, as long as it's believable, you know, you wouldn't believe like a 5'4" guy is like surrounded with like 1,000 women.
The porn industries out here actually do that. So what they'll do is they'll groom the girls, and they'll have one main guy, and like the guy's surrounded by girls because they know that if they're surrounded by more girls, the other girls are gonna be more interested in the guy. I've had it before where like one girl starts hitting on me. Because one girl hits on me, the others start chasing me.
Yeah, this is just pre-selection. Like I'm aware of this.
You can set up like if this one doesn't matter, you can set up systems where you're pre-selected, where around. Like it's just like just because you're short doesn't mean you can't get the results. I mean,
yeah, a really good example of this is Justin Mark. He's a 5'3" Indian guy with a high-pitched voice, and this fucker slays. And for a while, I wanted to believe that like it wasn't true because I'm like, I just can't believe it.
Even you couldn't believe it, Alex. Even you.
But I've seen so much evidence from like mutual friends and him that I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. And what I've realized is that he's just like an extreme go-getter, and he sets up his life in a very strategic way. So he has parties at his place with like a 5-to-1 ratio. So there's no way he can not get laid. So it's like, yeah, of course. Like if you're a shorter guy, that sucks and that's rough. But you can, you know, bitch about it and complain about it, say how much you're fucked, and try to like go to a third world country, or you can make the best of it and try to make the situation work, you know, where your community is. And there are ways to make it work. It's just not easy. It just takes more work.
Yeah, I think it's just really easy. Whenever you like, if you're like a short person, it's a lot easier to make excuses for why you're not like getting what you want. I get tired of like people always trying to make excuses for why somebody isn't doing good. Like you mean well, man. I know you mean well. But there's some guys out there who like when they hear you, they're like now because of what you're saying, they're making excuses on their side. Like I knew that I couldn't improve, and then they're never gonna actually do all the shit.
Well, you shouldn't give up until you've look maxed as much as you can. Then maybe you can give up or go to a third world country.
Maybe it'll work. Maybe working on the charisma will also work.
Who knows? Like,
Who knows?
until you've done all that, then you can't give up. But
see, I used to suck with girls. I mean, like, I repelled them. I had no friends, no girls. I was a virgin to like 20. I started gaming around like 18 and a half. I started actually taking it seriously. Girls would run away screaming from me. My very first approach, I remember it because it fucking made me curl my toes. I walked up to a girl that was in the mall, and I said about 3 sentences to her, and she started running away screaming that she had a boyfriend. Like, that was my very first time. Now I have over a dozen infields of me on my thing, of me picking up hot girls. I think it's like, I just don't like it when people get into this orientation. Like if looks maxing like fucking does it, fuck yeah, dude. I looks max. Hell yeah. I just think it like from
you guys all looks max. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, dude, why not? Dude?
We all believe looks matter. We just don't think.
I just don't think you guys are putting as much emphasis like as it really. Like,
dude, I say looks is the most important thing. I'm a personal trainer. I literally help people looks max to their max.
And that's what I like about you, Kevin. Like, this is the one thing you do very well. So
well, here,
appreciate it,
I'll
man.
put like this.
Yeah. I got a really awesome video about carb loading coming out tomorrow.
You should really tell guys to work out so they get a thicker neck and so that they lose fat in their face, because those are the most important things, in my opinion, that come from
you know, building like this yoke area, yeah,
like the thicker neck, along with like no fat in your face, like no loose hyoid skin or anything.
Yo, guys, I do want to wrap up because we're 3.5 hours in. Let's do closing thoughts.
Okay, go
I'll
ahead.
let you guys want to just keep going for another half an hour.
I think the argument is like I do agree with you in some sense. I just think that you put way too much. So you think I put too much weights in the charisma? Like you?
No. I think charisma is important. I don't know this notion.
Wait till I'm done. Then
okay.
Here. I want to finish this thought, dude. Okay. My mind goes really quick. Just here, give me 1 sec. Okay. All right. So yeah. So you think that charisma is not that big a deal? I think looks is a big deal, but it's not going to stop you. So, like, do you remember the NBA back in the day when they did granny shots?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So back then, if you took a guy that was like 5'2" and gave him LeBron James skills, that guy would fucking fly over people and dunk on them. So my thing is like, I just don't think the guys are doing as much as they think they are. And when I focus on everything that a man could do, even if charisma isn't such a big deal, I can see anybody honestly getting results. And I've never had anybody actually take my advice who didn't get results if they actually did the advice. A lot of people hold themselves back. I've noticed that like a lot of guys that like, so me, when I was younger, I was afraid to wear clothes that looked good on me because I was afraid it would draw attention to me because I wasn't that guy. So I'd wear like tents, like giant fucking shirts that were gray so nobody look at me. I'd have my shit all fucked up. I had shoes that were falling off of me. I smelled like crap. And it's because I didn't think I was worthy of being that guy. There's this funny thing that when you get more confident, how you start dressing nicer, how you feel cool being clean. Like, dude, I have a weird look, but it's because I'm fucking confident about it, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm a bad motherfucker. I'll dress how the hell I want. And to me, that's like, sometimes you sub-communicate to the world what you think you're worthy of by the way you dress and look. So if you're somebody that looks max, usually it's because, dude, I'm a badass, dude. I'll dress and look the way I want. I think it looks sick. I'll dress that way. And you start naturally just kind of cleaning up. Anyways, what are you gonna say, man?
Oh man, there's so much to say. Well, first of all, you guys all know how like athletes are like heavily desired by women, like all across the globe. Like when a woman sees like 6'5" athlete, whatever, like this is obvious, bro. Girls will do anything for an athlete, you know, like a basketball player, football, whatever. So anyway, that's out the way. And the other thing I wanted to say,
that's sexy. Well, status too, man. So if you're
bro, come on, status. Like it's not just status. Like
yeah,
like it's of course it's some status, like of course, but like
status, dude. Being a like, it's a lot of status,
dude. They're like 6'6", 6'7", like pure like alpha man. I don't even like using that term, but it really is like the ideal man. You know, strong, tall.
Who do you think would do better at a bar, me or Jonah Hill? Jonah Hill is ugly as fuck.
Jonah Hill is ugly as fuck, bro. Of course you could do better than him.
No, I think Jonah Hill would slay way more than me.
No, bro. I mean, I don't know how much weight he's lost recently, but like he was fat as fuck. He was getting clowned even by the media. If you notice,
even when he's fat, because he's got massive status.
Dude, but look, he's like the laughing stock of the internet. Like people are clowning him online for being fat. Like even Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was. Like he roasted him on live. Like this is what I mean. Like if you're ugly, like society doesn't give a fuck about you. Like they'll roast you to your face. Everyone will laugh at you. So you don't want to be like that. That's my point.
If you're an ugly man, for sure.
Yeah, ugly girls can still get it, because like girls can get laid whether they're obese, whatever the fuck. Even Alex did some experiments. I already knew this. Like, it's the struggle is for men, not women. Like, women can get laid 24/7. So yeah.
All right, anyway, let's wrap up. Any closing thoughts, Luke's Pharrell?
It's looks for life. But yeah. Closing thoughts. Yeah, continue looks maxing. I think charisma is important, but I think charisma won't help you if you're not good looking. I think you should try to looks max as far as you can before you give up. And yeah, I don't know where this notion came from that I'm like don't value charisma. I do. I just think like it'll matter only if you're a 5 and above. So you need to reach that first. Anyways, it was a good chat, Alex. I might be back on like at another stream.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. You're always welcome.
All right.
Take care. All right, cool. Any closing thoughts? This has been fucking long. My brain is fried.
I guess all I would say is looks maxing gets most men a lot of the way because most men don't even bother even slightly looking at their aesthetic. So if you like even just like are somewhat intentional in how you look, you're already above like 80% of the game, which is like why looks maxing is so potent. And so I think like just that like obviously that's like has a huge benefit. I imagine as like men start looks maxing more, we'll start to see like the effect of looks maxing wear off, and then again, charisma is going to probably be like the most standout thing.
I want to comment on outliers. I cannot stand this defeatist attitude amongst Blackpillers that, well, you have to be like the average. I always strive to be an outlier. I'm assuming I don't know statistics on this, but I'm assuming most businesses fail, right? I knew that when I started my business. I want to be the outlier. I want to be that person with a successful business. I have Lyme disease. I know most people with Lyme disease don't get better. I want to be the outlier. I want to be the person that gets better. And it's the same thing with girls. Like, I don't care if I was like, yeah, I'm fairly decent looking. But if I was like 5'5" or whatever, I wouldn't just be like, well, the average guy who's 5'5" doesn't get laid. No, I would want to be the outlier. I would figure out what the outliers are doing and mimic that and reverse engineer that so I could be like one of those outliers. So I think this just has to do with your attitude and whether you are, you wanna, like you're determined to succeed or just willing to accept failure. And I think this idea that, you should just accept failure and just settle is very, very disastrous. So I would highly encourage everyone to fucking wipe that mindset from their brain.
You caught me, bro. That's why I kept leaving. I had to go inject some SARMs in between sessions. Yeah, so I think the best way to describe this just game, I guess, is I always like to use basketball because it's such a beautiful sport. So let's say, for example, that a Giga Chad, right? Somebody who just is stunningly good looking, best genetics or whatever, that's equivalent to a guy who's 7 feet tall. All right. If you are 7 feet tall and playing basketball, you honestly don't need to have that many great skills in order to just like be in the NBA. There's some incredible statistic. It's something like 33% of guys or 33% of people who are over 7 feet tall in the world right now have played in the NBA. It's crazy, right? Now, does that mean then that you should give up if you're not 7 feet tall? No. When you look at the NBA, of course, the vast majority of the best are going to be, 6'4" or higher, right? But you still have outliers, guys who are, 6'3" and below. Even some guys like Allen Iverson who are like 5'10", and Muggsy Bogues who end up making the NBA, and that's at the elite of the elite. Okay, there are still some incredible basketball players that are not even close to being 6 feet tall, but have played at the college level, semi-pro level, whatever, right? There's a lot of those guys who, although they are not as genetically gifted as a guy who, let's say, is like 6'8", they would still destroy them in basketball. Are they the outliers? Yes. Do they have disadvantages by being shorter? Yes. But like Alex was just saying, you should aim to be the outlier. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And here's another thing too. The vast majority of guys do not study game. They don't try to get better with women. They just sit around and mope around all day, hoping that they find the one day, because the vast majority of people are blue pill. So just by the very virtue of you trying to get better at this stuff, by watching like Alex's content and Denton's content, and then my content for just general self-improvement, looks maxing, all that type of stuff, you are already setting yourself up as an outlier. So just keep working at it and become that outlier. I think that's the best message that everybody in some way or another has talked about today is like, yes, we're talking about the outliers. Become that fucking outlier.
Yeah. The one last. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely fucking agree with that. So in my opinion, like what he was talking about with the like, dude, it's not an easy thing to become that kind of guy who's that kind of charismatic to get a lot of girls. The amount of effort that I did put in alone, which I'm gonna say I should have got way more coaching. I should have went to a lot more mentors. I got some really amazing mentors, but I should have done a lot earlier. I think like it's not going to be easy to become an outlier. It is very difficult. And yes, but you do become an exception to the rule type guy. You become something that's a little bit different. Like I've seen people of all different ethnicities, all different ages, heights, this, that, blah, 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 get the results that I want and even better. And I just don't. It's a lot easier to get there than you think it is once you understand like the direction or like the path. Once you understand the path or what you have to do, it becomes tenfold easier. I think it's just a lot of people who are stop focusing on what you can't control, focus on what you can control. On what you can't control, of course you're gonna fucking get stuck. Of course all this shit's gonna matter. Like stop focusing on the fact you're short, you're this, you're that. Shut the fuck up. Like legit. All the guys I've ever known in CrossFit life who kill it, who are like it's irrelevant. You know the number one key factor that I've seen in guys that crush it with girls? They believe they're supposed to be good with girls. They believe girls are supposed to, they just believe they're sexy, regardless of what people say. Regardless of height, race, this, that. They're like, fuck you, I'm sexy. They talk to a girl and it comes because now they believe they're sexy. They say things in a more charismatic way. They say things in a more certain way. They're more dominant. They're more expressive. They're more a leader of men. They don't mind being the guy that goes and says hi to a girl in a calm, cool way. And to me, it's a very rare guy that does this. It's extremely rare, especially when you're comparing different guys, which the internet is doing. It makes you not focus on. It makes you lack gratitude in yourself and who you are. Like focus on what you have going for you. Like, dude, I thought my nose was too big. I thought my hips were too wide. I thought I was too fat. I thought that my lips were too big. I was wearing like, I thought that I was ugly as all hell. And if I just had this advice right here, just stop focusing on this dumb shit that's not helping you out. You guys are so stupid. All you guys that want, like, I'm saying this from a place of love because I did the same thing. But you need to break out of that shit. Stop focusing on it. It's so dumb. Focus on that which you control. Literally make a list. What can you control? What can't you control? Cut that other piece off, burn it. Never fucking say that shit ever again. Never focus on that stuff that you can't control. Fuck it.
The last thing I want to say, I found it really funny how the first guy, Scribe, kept saying he has an infield of me waiting outside a grocery store on chips, and then hour and a half in, he still can't produce it. Why fucking caught? Anyway, that's all I have to say on that. All right, cool.
That Scribe debate was legendary.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Support Erudite. Check out her channel. Support Kevin. Support Denton. Yeah, we're gonna do these every Monday. Tomorrow I'm gonna be doing. Oh, tomorrow Kevin's gonna be debating Ashley. So we got that right.
I didn't wait. That's time tomorrow. I think I should be able to do it. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool.
I have some coaching calls tomorrow night, but I think I can do it. What time?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I thought you just volunteered me. You're just like, Kevin.
No, sorry, my bad. I thought we agreed on that. Maybe I texted her and I forgot to text you.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I should be good with that.
Wednesday, we're going to do speed dating. Erudite, if you want to jump on for that, I'd love to see you at work. And Thursday, we're going to do Mr. Slave versus Andrew from the Crucible. That should be really, really interesting.
Nuh-uh. Dude.
How's
that's
fun?
going to be legendary. Oh, my God. Wait, so you're moderating
BPF?
Oh, my God.
You're moderating, sorry, BPF and who?
No, Mr. Slave, the guy that's been on my channel who wears like a slave mask with Andrew from the Crucible.
What are you guys debating?
Dude, those two are so fucking different. I don't know. It's going to be a shit.
Is it like Christian nationalism or promiscuity of men or?
I think Andrew is just going to be dunking on Mr. Slave the entire time.
Yeah.
Dude, that's going to be more entertaining than look, I want to hype the Ashley and me debate's probably going to be a fun time, but the Andrew Mr. Slave debate, I would pay to see that. That is going to be hilarious
because it'll be on my channel for free. But yeah, cool. Awesome. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time.